Thought you come and work with me. I'll pay you a salary, how about that? Let's not do it. There's a saying that goes, a little bit of kindness can turn into a grudge. If I follow you, it will affect my mentality. What Xiao Yang didn't expect was that Lu Xing directly refused. After that, he opened his phone, 3 million, and there are more than 516,700 left. Give me your bank card number. Xiao Yang was stunned for a moment. Then waved his hand, forget it, you've worked hard tonight. Come on, 500,000, you? Take it. Xiao Yang interrupted Lu Xing and continued. Don't tell me nonsense, I don't know your family situation. You didn't go to college because your family couldn't afford it. Lu Xing hesitated, but ultimately said nothing. He patted Xiao Yang on the shoulder. Thank you, brother. So, if you're brothers, don't say those things. Quit your job tomorrow and come with me to Jiangdu. Xiao Yang patted Lu Xing. Lu Xing was very clear about his family situation. His parents were healthy, but the family situation was complicated. He had a younger brother and a younger sister who were still in high school. His father was working outside, and his mother worked in a cloth factory. That's why Lu Xing chose to go out to work after graduating from high school, because his family couldn't afford to send 3 children to school. Xiao Yang naturally wanted to lend a helping hand to his childhood friend and good brother. After thinking for a while, Lu Xing nodded and agreed. After all, life still has to be a reality, even if not for yourself, but for your parents who work hard day and night, and your younger brothers and sisters who are still in school. Okay, from now on you will be my boss, Lu Xing said with a smile. Just call me Lao Xiao, Xiao Yang said happily. And what do you want me to do? Let me make it clear first, I don't know anything. Lu Xing spread his hands. It's okay, just help me draw first, how about that? No problem. Lu Xing raised his eyebrows and didn't ask about the salary. He didn't want to get paid anyway, he didn't know how many months' salary these 500,000 would be worth. To be honest, I've wanted to drive your car for a long time. Lu Xing rubbed his hands. Others may not be able to see it, but he knows very well that this is a luxury car worth more than 2 million yuan. Why didn't you say so earlier? Isn't it Zhang Yan who has been in the passenger seat? How can it be that I am driving? When mentioning Zhang Yan, Xiao Yang looked into the distance again, but the person had already disappeared into the night. Zhangde University Business School. Xiao Yang muttered a few words, hoping that he could return to Jiangdu to find her. Just from her tone, it seems like there's no chance. Are you going to study abroad? Xiao Yang shook his head in annoyance. This little goblin really took control of himself. Just then, the phone rang. Hello? Xiao Yang, I'm King Xuanton. Is Zhang Yan next to you? She's not here, what's wrong? Xiao Yang felt a little strange, these two people were basically arguing when they were together. Why did she call him today to look for Zhang Yan? No, that's good enough. I just saw your video posted by someone else. It showed a confession of love in the night view of the middle building. Did you do it? King Xuanton asked with a changed tone. Yeah, I did it. Damn it, she got there first again. King Xuanton cursed in a low voice. How romantic. Xiao Yang, can you also confess your love to me? King Xuanton thought for a moment and said, no, I heard that the price of the middle floor is very expensive. How about you choose another way to confess your love that is more economical? Xiao Yang was stunned for a moment, he didn't expect King Xuanton to call in just for this matter. Wait, it was you who confessed to Zhang Yan, and she likes you. You wouldn't. King Xuanton's voice became increasingly shocked on the phone. Xiao Yang, you guys are not checking into a hotel right now, are you? Where's Zhang Yan? Is she taking a shower? Xiao Yang rolled his eyes, thought for a moment, and said softly. She's gone. Gone? What does that mean? King Xuanton asked in surprise. Gone means gone. Xiao Yang did not explain, or rather, he himself did not know how to explain. While King Xuanton was still not able to react, Xiao Yang hung up the phone. Let's go too. Xiao Yang patted Lu Xing's shoulder. Lu Xing sent Xiao Yang home just as he was about to hand the keys to Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang waved his hand and said with a smile, you are my driver now. Of course you drive. Remember to pick me up tomorrow morning. Let's go to Brother Yu's wedding banquet. Become. Xiao Yang, are you back? It was already 1 o'clock. But I didn't expect my mother to still be sitting on the sofa. Where is Shai Kaun? Why can't I see her? Xiao's mother asked, puzzled. Lai. She went home. That's fine, Huang Daji Yui's daughter. It's no big deal for her to always live in our house. I'm telling you, Shai Kaun is a good girl, she's pretty and well educated. You have to make the best of it. Got it, Xiao Yang replied casually. Remember your cousin's wedding tomorrow. At the same time, in Jiangdu City, inside a luxurious manor. Mr. John, have you found out who is buying our company's shares? The visitor shook his head. Bang! A teacup fell down. What a bunch of idiots, they're buying up our company's stocks in such large quantities. You tell me you can't find them? Mr. Zhang, we suspect it was the Fang family. Fang family? Is it necessary to be so anxious? The middle-aged boss's face was full of anger. Okay. Did you pick Zhang Yan up? The young lady is already on her way. Well, when Zhang Yan comes back, keep an eye on her and don't let her run away again. Yes. Chapter 35 Wedding. Xiao Yang was woken up by his parents. He ate something and then called Lu Xing, who was also on the way. Within 2 minutes, the car stopped outside the house. Mom and Dad, Lu Xing is here to pick us up. Isn't this your car? Why did you let Lu Xing drive it? He doesn't have a car. So lend it to him for 2 days, Xiao Yang said with a smile. After all, it was a wedding of the Xiao family, so Xiao's father and his wife were dressed quite formally, while Xiao Yang was dressed more casually, but his clothes were all picked by Zhang Yan. So he looked quite energetic. By the way, Xiao Yang, have you prepared any red envelopes? Xiao Yang was stunned. I didn't prepare any red envelopes. I sent them a car. After hearing this, Xiao's mother nodded thoughtfully and said, the gifts are quite good. In the past few years, your uncle's family helped us a lot. Xiao Yu was busy running around and even took care of your father in the hospital several times. Father Xiao also nodded repeatedly. Xiao Yu is a good child. But I didn't expect that he would get married so soon. By the way, Xiao Yang, have you met Zhang Yan's parents? Why is Zhang Yan involved again? Xiao Yang held his forehead and said helplessly. What's your progress? I'm still in college. I'm not urging you. But you have to make sure of your status. Besides, you can't find a girl as good as Zhang Yan even with a lantern. As the saying goes, a three-legged toad is hard to find. A two-legged men are everywhere. I finally got the seal. Now I feel at ease. Have you stamped the chapter? Xiao Yang touched his lips. Damn Zhang Yao Fairy, she left and stole my first kiss. Seeing that Xiao Yang didn't say anything, Xiao's mother could only end the topic and turn her attention to Lu Xing. Lu Xing, do you have a girl you like? Lu Xing. Half an hour later, the car arrived at the wedding venue. At this time, quite a few people gathered here when they saw Xiao Yang and his companions getting off the car. Many people came over and greeted them. Brother and sister-in-law. You are here. Many of them are from the Xiao family. And Xiao's father is the eldest in the family, so he is naturally the eldest brother. Hey brother, you look much better than before. Yes. Are you cured? Yes, with God's blessing, everything is almost fine now. Father Xiao greeted everyone one by one. This is Xiao Yang. He's already this big. Hello, Furthant. Xiao Yang also greeted a few people. However, compared to Xiao Yang, the relatives were more interested in Xiao's father and wanted to know how his illnesses were cured. Fortunately, Xiao Yang had told them not to tell anyone about the elixir. So Xiao's father just gave some vague answers to the question. The elders were in order, so Xiao Yang did not join in their conversation. He followed Lu Xing to say hello to his peers. Xiao Yang, you drove here, did you buy it? Yes, Xiao Yang knew the person who greeted him. He was a high school classmate, although they were not in the same class. They were neighbors before and they knew each other. His name was Chen Bi. Volkswagen, that's good. I also bought a car 2 days ago. A BMW 3 Series. From now on, I will have to pay a large monthly payment every month. Chen Bei said with a smile. Thank you for your hard work. I can't help it in today's society. If you don't even have an entry-level BMW, you all look good in front of your friends. Now when I drive this car to those technical schools, there are always many young ladies who stop the car to ask for directions. Take care of yourself. Lu Xing also smiled and did not explain about the car. Don't worry, Buddy can handle it. After chatting for a few words, Xiao Yang came in front of Xiao Yu and his wife. Xiao Yu and Lin Yan were also wearing wedding attires. They were a perfect match, and they entertained the guests along with a few of yesterday's friends and some of the bride's relatives and friends. Xiao Yang, you're here. Brother Yu, happy wedding. Thank you. Lin Yan smiled and handed to red ribbons to the two of them. At this moment, Lin's father and mother also saw Xiao Yang and came over and said, Xiao Yang is here, come sit inside with us for a while. No, I can just sit with my friends. How can that be possible? You are Xiao Yu's brother anyway. Really? I have friends outside. Xiao Yang politely declined and walked out. However, what he didn't notice was that shortly after he left, a girl with stunning appearance walked up to the bride and groom. Sister, brother-in-law, happy wedding. Xiao Yu, I didn't expect you to come. My sister is getting married, so I must come, the girl said with a smile. Thank you. Lin Yan smiled as usual, frowned and asked with concern. Why do you look absent-minded, and you have dark circles under your eyes? Did you not sleep well last night? No, the girl shook her head. The two talked for a few more words and then the girl left. I didn't know you had such a beautiful sister, Xiao Yu said with a smile after the girl left. What? Lin Yan narrowed her eyes. Xiao Yu waved her hands quickly. How is that possible? I'm just curious, aren't you an only child? She is my cousin. Lin Yan knew that Xiao Yu didn't have the courage, so she was just joking. My cousin is very picky. She is now studying at Zhongbi University of Finance and Economics. If Xiao Yang didn't have a girlfriend, I would have wanted to introduce Xiao Yu to him. Lin Yan felt it was a pity, otherwise they could have been closer. That's really a coincidence. Xiao Yang also studies at the University of Finance and Economics. Maybe they know each other. This is none other than Lin Qiyu. Just like Lin Yan said, Lin Qiyu looked a little depressed at this moment. And the reason was, of course, because of a boy who confessed to her 99 times and then ran away. After confessing to Xiao Yang last time, Lin Qiyu felt that as long as she persisted and confessed to him 99 times, Xiao Yang would definitely agree. And after this incident, their relationship will surely last forever. After all, that adds up to 198 confessions. Such a romantic thing is unprecedented. But who would have known that the next day, when she went to find Xiao Yang again to confess her love, Xiao Yang had disappeared. Yes, in this way, Xiao Yang was not seen for several days in a row. All the preparations were like a punch to the head, causing her to feel listless for the past few days. Her best friends all said that she was suffering from love sickness. It's still unrequited love. She really wanted to refute. What is unrequited love? It is obviously mutual love. Xiao Yang also likes her. But after not seeing Xiao Yang for several days, even she herself began to doubt herself. And just now, she saw a figure who was extremely similar to Xiao Yang. It can't be that I'm really in love with you. It can't be that I'm hallucinating because of it. Well, it must be because I didn't sleep well. Lin Qiyu shook his little head. Chapter 36 Daughter-in-law, which one should I choose? Please vote for recommendation. Beauty, looking for someone? Just as Lin Qiyu was looking around, a figure appeared in front of him. Lin Qiyu frowned and said coldly, I don't know you. What does it matter whether we know each other or not? Meeting is fate. I see you are not in a good mood. How about I take you for a ride? Chen Bei shook his car keys. The BMW logo, very clear. For Chen Bei, this BMW is almost invincible. BMW 3 Series. Although it is entry level, but many inexperienced girls only recognize the car logo. And once they get on the car, everything else becomes easy. Chen Bei looked at Lin Qiyu and couldn't help swallowing. To be honest, this was the first time he had seen a beauty of this level. She was even more beautiful than those stars on EV with double the filters. Lin Qiyu frowned. She didn't know how many times she had seen such a situation, and how many times she had refused. She didn't even look at the car keys, but said calmly, if you have nothing to do, don't bother me. Seeing that Chen Bei wanted to say something, Lin Qiyu said directly, has anyone told you that you are ugly? The corner of Chen Bei's mouth twitched. In fact, he is not ugly at most. He is the kind that would be completely inconspicuous in a crowd of people. Even if someone says that they are ugly, they only say it in private and no one would say it openly. His face darkened, but he didn't say anything more. He snorted coldly and retreated. There are flies buzzing everywhere. Lin Qiyu sighed and decided not to stay in the outer hall anymore. He turned around and went back to the inner seat. Everyone here is relatives of both the bride and groom, and they are having a great time sitting next to their elders. No one disturbs them. As noon approached, the noise gradually died down. Everyone was seated, and on Xiao Yang's side, almost all the people sitting were his high school classmates. Although they were all Xiao Yu's classmates, they also knew Xiao Yang. So they were all friends. At this time, everyone was talking about their dreams and their work. By the way, Xiao Yang, did you seal the red envelope just now? Why did I see you coming in and walking around? Isn't that a bit inappropriate? Someone suddenly said. As soon as the voice fell, everyone's eyes fell on Xiao Yang. I didn't bring any cash. Xiao Yang smiled. I think some people are just thick-skinned. Even though others have given them red envelopes, they still have the nerve to come in empty-handed and can still brag here. I really admire them. Chen Bei said from the side. Xiao Yang frowned but said nothing. He has always been too lazy to explain. Let alone giving a luxury car as a gift. I'm afraid no one here would believe it if I told him. However, Lu Xing felt a little uncomfortable, but he didn't know that Xiao Yang had given him a car. He just thought that Xiao Yang really didn't bring any money. So he said, Ren and Xiao Yu are cousins, do you have to say whether to give a red envelope or not? Mind your own business. At this time, a boy couldn't stand it anymore and said, stop talking about this, today is someone's wedding day. Why are you guys arguing here? Although he couldn't bear to see Xiao Yang not giving a red envelope. This was a wedding after all, and he couldn't disrupt other people's festive atmosphere. Yes, we are still brothers. I have never seen brothers like you. Chen Bei snorted coldly and said with a crooked mouth. Did you eat shit this morning, your mouth? Before Lu Xing could finish his words, Xiao Yang reached out and pulled him back. Don't make trouble with him. This is Xiao Yu's wedding, let him do whatever he wants. Chen Bei shook his head frivolously. In fact, he was not very happy with Xiao Yang, because when he was in high school, he pursued a girl, but this girl told him that she liked Xiao Yang. Of course, it's all in the past, and Chen Bei didn't take it seriously. Just now, Lin Qiyu called him ugly, and he was in a very bad mood. When she returned to the table and saw Xiao Yang's handsome face again, she couldn't hold herself back anymore. However, no matter how uncomfortable he was, he couldn't disrupt other people's festive wedding banquet. So Chen Bei just made a few sarcastic remarks and then kept quiet. As for the other people at the table, they were looking at Xiao Yang with strange eyes. After all, Xiao Yang didn't refute it, so everyone believed it. Although I didn't say anything, I still despised such behavior in my heart. As a result, the atmosphere at the table suddenly became quiet, and everyone stopped paying attention to Xiao Yang and Lu Xing. At this moment, Xiao Yang felt as if there was a nail on his chair. Fortunately, he was of a calm nature and didn't feel too bad. Lu Xing chatted occasionally, talking about interesting things in Jiangdu. But after a while, the wedding began. The place suddenly became lively. Music started playing, and the wedding MC began to introduce the bride and groom and preside over the wedding ceremony on the stage. This wedding was still very traditional. After kneeling to pay respects to both sets of parents, the bride and groom began to give their speeches. First of all, thank you my father-in-law and mother-in-law, thank you for giving birth to such a good daughter. I will definitely treat Yanzi well in the future, Xiao Yu said word by word, and Lin Yan's eyes were full of love. Secondly, I want to thank someone. If it weren't for him, there might not be this wedding today. This person is my cousin, Xiao Yang. When the voice fell, everyone at Xiao Yang's table was stunned for a long time. However, Chen Bei muttered, I've been so grateful, but you didn't even want to give me a red envelope. TSK. Xiao Yang smiled. He was too lazy to get angry with a clown like Chen Bei. It was not very interesting. At this time, Xiao Yu and Lin Yan's eyes also fell on Xiao Yang. After thinking about it, Xiao Yang stood up. Someone handed me the microphone. Congratulations, and I wish you a happy wedding, a long-lasting happiness, and a baby soon, Xiao Yang said with a smile, then returned the microphone. What he didn't know was that in the innermost seat, a girl was stunned for a moment. The astonishment in his eyes quickly turned into joy. Xiao Yang. Why is Xiao Yang here? She was about to stand up when a middle-aged woman beside her came to her senses and asked, Girl, do you know Xiao Yang? Yes, auntie, we are in love. Lin Qiyu said politely. Talk about love. This was none other than Xiao's mother. She looked at Lin Qiyu with a confused look on her face. I silently put several labels on it in my mind. This girl is pretty, cute, sensible and not noisy. It is quite suitable for Xiao Yang. You know, she has been sitting next to Lin Qiyu, so naturally she knows what this girl has been doing during the wedding. She just stayed there quietly, very quietly. Like Xiao Yang. She likes quietness and simplicity and is a girl who just lives her life. Most importantly, he's handsome. At least the descendants of the Xiao family are guaranteed to be good-looking. Only, Zhang Yan and this girl are both good. If she really is my daughter-in-law, which one would I choose? Before she could think about this question, when she turned around, she found that Lin Qiyu had stood up and left her seat, walking towards Xiao Yang. Chapter 37 Second Confession at the Wedding. At this time, Xiao Yang didn't know that Lin Qiyu had set his eyes on him, and he was just busy playing games with Lu Xing. But it was different for other people. Especially Chen Bei. When he looked up and saw the beautiful girl he wanted to chat up just now walking towards him, he suddenly became excited. But it be that after thinking about it, he decided that BMW must be the scent? There is a saying, I would rather cry in a BMW than laugh on a bicycle. Very realistic. If a girl like this could get in the car with me, it would be awesome. He tried hard to control his excitement and silently pushed the BMW key in his pocket onto the table to make it more conspicuous. At the same time, she couldn't help but touch her hair. Sure enough, she is looking at me. Chen Bei thought Kokethus lie. The brother next to him also noticed it and patted Chen Bei on the shoulder and said, Damn, brother Bei, she's a goddess-level beauty. Chen Bei smiled. No matter how beautiful a goddess is, she still has to kneel in front of the BMW car keys, right? Here it comes. As people got closer, Chen Bei's heart kept beating wildly. If possible, I would be willing to live a few years less if I could marry a beauty like this. He could hardly contain his emotions and had an urge to rush forward. But he held himself back. He was not afraid, as he would have plenty of time to play slowly in the future. But all this was broken by a clear voice. Xiao Yang. The voice is sweet and the person is sweet too. At this time, Lin Qiyu had a smile on her face with curved eyebrows. like a fairy in the sky. Just by walking over, he attracted the attention of people at several tables. When Xiaoyang heard the voice, he was obviously stunned for a moment. Why do I seem to hear Lin Qiu's voice? It's an illusion. It must be an illusion. At this moment, Lu Xing on the side had already urged him. Xiaoyang, what are you doing? Come on, don't sell me out. Xiaoyang's eyes fell on the phone again. Here she comes. Wherever Mimi Yamoto Mishashi goes, no grass will grow. Xiaoyang said in a very childish way, his head buried in his phone again, not noticing that the girl was already behind him. Seeing this scene, the smile on Lin Qiu's face disappeared instantly. Good job. The reason I didn't confess last time was because I was playing games with my roommates in the dormitory. This time, I'm still playing games. An internet adept. Right? No woman's knife is faster, right? Suddenly, Lin Qiu was so angry that she pursed her lips and patted Xiaoyang's shoulder. Xiao Yang. Xiaoyang suddenly shuddered, turned around, and froze in place for a moment. Lin Qiu. It's really coming. Why are you here? Xiaoyang was stunned. Everyone else also looked at the two of them. And at this moment, Chen Bi, who was sitting opposite, twitched his mouth and was speechless for a long time. Ayu. Lin Qiu was still angry, but when Xiaoyang turned around, all the anger disappeared. She found that Xiaoyang seemed more handsome than before. In the past, I could only say that I was better looking than others, with a more delicate appearance and more appealing to the eye. But now, I don't know why, there seems to be an attraction to me. In addition, she hadn't seen Xiaoyang for several days. And at this moment, Lin Qiu forgot what she was going to do. She looked at the girl next to her and smiled. Can I have an extra receipt here? The girl was stunned for a moment, then quickly said, sure. After saying that, he took the initiative to go to the side, fetched a chair and joined in. Lin Qiu smiled and thanked him. To her, these seemed to be commonplace. Don't think that only boys care about appearance. When the appearance reaches a certain level, it can attract both men and women. Few girls would be jealous of Lin Qiu's looks, because the jealousy is not much different, and they are both at the same level. But when you find that the gap is too big, jealousy no longer exists, only envy. After all, one is in heaven and the other is underground. The person underground will not be jealous of the person in heaven. He will only shout, wow, fairy sister. Lin Qiu is such a person. She sat on the chair, looking at Xiaoyang, who was still confused. And for some reason, she suddenly burst out laughing. She pinched Xiaoyang's face and felt that Xiaoyang was so cute at that moment. Staring at each other, Xiaoyang moved Lin Qiu's hand away and asked nonchalantly, why are you here? Of course I'm here, the bride is my sister. What a coincidence, the groom is my brother, Xiaoyang replied. So, you came back to attend the wedding, why didn't you tell me? Lin Qiu had forgotten what kind of torture she had been going through in the past few days. She waited under the boys' dormitory every day, and all the classmates in the school called her the husband-waiting rock. Why should I tell you? Xiaoyang held his forehead. Lin Qiu was choked by these words. She said, agree, I have been waiting for you downstairs of your dormitory these past few days. Xiaoyang was slightly stunned. He didn't expect Lin Qiu to be so persistent. Thank you for your hard work, Xiaoyang smiled. But Xiaoyang's words, Lin Qiu suddenly felt that all the hard work of the past few days was worth it. When you go back to school, take me with you, Lin Qiu suddenly said. Okay, Xiaoyang agreed without thinking much. The two of them chatted with each other occasionally. For some reason, everyone was originally talking about their own lives, but now all attention was focused on Xiaoyang and Lin Qiu. And the situation Xiaoyang was in just now was exactly like Chen Biyi's situation at this moment. He felt like he was sitting on pins and needles. After chatting for a while, Lin Qiu suddenly asked Xiaoyang to wait for him, and got up and left. As soon as Lin Qiu left, everyone turned the topic to Xiaoyang. Lu Xing didn't say anything, but his other friends were full of confusion and asked, Xiaoyang, who is that person? Didn't you hear it? It's Lin Yan's cousin. Lin Yan's cousin, someone said in surprise. No wonder. It seems that the Lin family has really good genes. Both sisters are very beautiful. It's quite beautiful. Xiaoyang nodded. Hey, what is your relationship? Upon hearing this question, everyone pricked up their ears, including the guests at the neighboring table, who unconsciously stopped talking and wanted to listen to what Xiaoyang had to say. Classmate, she is from our school. It's still the same school. It's normal to know each other. Xiaoyang didn't reveal anything, just said casually. As soon as he finished speaking, Chen Biyi's expression lit up. Just classmates. At once, his thoughts became clear. Just imagine, if you don't have many friends you know at the wedding banquet, then when you see your college classmates, it is only natural to come over and chat with them. If so, then everything makes sense. At the same time, many boys also had their own ideas. Since we are classmates, it doesn't matter. Regardless of whether you can seduce her or not. It's not too much to ask for her contact information. Opportunities are reserved for those who are prepared. For a moment, the boys couldn't help but use their hands to tidy up their hairstyles, and some even took out the perfume they carry with them and started spraying it. When Xiaoyang saw this scene, he couldn't help but laugh. But after a while, Lin Qiyu came back. She walked towards Xiaoyang step by step with a smile on her face. At this time, everyone was ready to move. Some boys had already started to clear their throats and adjust their voices to the best condition, ready to go forward and chat. At this moment, Lin Qiyu suddenly took out a bouquet from behind her and looked at Xiaoyang affectionately. Xiaoyang, I like you, can you be my boyfriend? A sound is not loud, but it spread to all the guests at these tables. Playing. Someone's hand trembled and the dishes fell to the ground. But it doesn't matter now. Chen Bei felt extremely uncomfortable, his eyes full of disbelief. At this moment, Xiaoyang was also standing there in a daze. What happened? Bite. Mission Lin Qiyu's second confession. Option 1. Accept the confession and receive a reward of 2 million yuan. Option 2. Reject the confession and get a 10x cashback card. 1 is reward. Chapter 38. The goddess is a dog. At this moment, everyone looked at Lin Qiyu. Is this girl crazy? With such a pretty face, is there any need to chase her? Damn it, I'm numb. I just wanted to go up to her and confess my love for her. But you told me that she was preparing to confess her love to another guy. The boys present all felt jealous. At this moment, many people feel that they have broken up. But at this time, Xiaoyang was led astray by the system. 10 times cashback card. Note, consumption within 1 hour will be refunded tenfold in cash. That is to say, if I lose 10 million within this hour, and if I use the cashback card, the system will reward me 100 million. This is too exciting. Xiaoyang let out a long sigh. Then looked at Lin Qiyu, who was holding the bouquet in front of him. Qiyu. We can't be together yet, I'm sorry. Xiaoyang sighed and rejected Lin Qiyu. When the voice fell, the whole audience fell silent. People have forgotten that this should be the wedding of Xiaoyu and Lin Yan. Rejected. No matter boys or girls, they all looked at Xiaoyang as if he was a fool. I'm afraid this is a case of brain damage. A girl with stunning beauty confessed to you. And you rejected her. Oh shit. This is no longer a question of whether it's scientific or not. It's just too fantastical. Everyone stared at the girl in amazement. Lin Qiyu was stunned for a moment, with a smile on her eyes. But she didn't seem too disappointed. She stuffed the bouquet into Xiaoyang's hand and said with a smile, well, this is a gift for you. Remember, this is the second time I confessed my love to you. A sound like a silver bell fell into the ears of everyone present. Men, women, young and old, all felt that their 3 views were shattered at this moment. If my chin was a little more fragile, I would have to pick it up on the ground. What is this fairy-like girl talking about? She said this was her second confession. This thing actually happened a second time. So, last time. You refused to, right? Depend on. Is this something a human would do? A goddess was rejected after she confessed her love. But she still insisted on confessing it a second time in front of so many people. What kind of behavior is this? This is dog-licking behavior. The key point is that this dog is a goddess-level fairy. Willingly licking a man is unheard of and unseen. Chen Bei, who was sitting opposite Xiaoyang, already had a buzzing head. Why, does he deserve it? If looks could kill, Xiaoyang would probably be dead by now. But he didn't care, he just took the bundle and said calmly, thank you. After thinking for a while, Xiaoyang added, it's very beautiful, I like it too. Hearing Xiaoyang's affirmation, Lin Qiyu smiled and said happily, as long as you like it. This scene once again stunned everyone. Generally speaking, gifts should be given by men to women. And when someone says something nice, you become so happy. This is no longer just dog licking. This is a fucking dog licking. Numb, I'm numb. Xiaoyang is so awesome. I'm so dumbfounded. Xiaoyang will be my idol from now on. So cool. Lu Xing, who was standing by, was also stunned at this moment, and counted on his fingers carefully. Zhang Yan, King Xuanton. Bless her. 3 girls who are as beautiful as Jaden are at the goddess level. Turtle, your love luck is too good. Xiaoyang. Can I hold your hand? Lin Qiyu asked, holding her chin. His eyes were tearful, as if he was begging. Everyone is numb at this moment. So go ahead and show it off, I'll just pretend I can't see it. Okay, but don't use too much force. Xiaoyang recalled his last experience at a class reunion and quickly reminded. Okay. Lin Qiyu hugged Xiaoyang's arm obediently, and then rested her little head on it, like a well-behaved kitten. It's confirmed, this girl is a licker. And the kind that can lick really well. I envy you. Xiaoyang must have saved the Milky Way in his previous life. Everyone sighed and thought that this flower was inserted crookedly. Although Xiao Yang is not cow dung, he is also good looking. But in the eyes of boys, there are no other outstanding boys except themselves. Shameful, so shameful. I came to the wedding originally to eat dog food. But now, I haven't eaten the dog food yet, so let's have an appetizer first. Finally, the wedding went on as usual, and this could only be considered a minor episode. When the wedding banquet began, everyone picked up their chopsticks. And Xiao Yu, the bride and groom, began to toast. After toasting to the elders, the two of them went straight to Xiao Yang's table. Brother Yu, may you have a baby soon and live happily together. Xiao Yang offered his blessings. Thank you, Xiao Yang. Xiao Yu thanked him again, and then drank a glass of wine. Seeing this, Xiao Yang naturally did not delay and poured the entire glass of wine into his mouth. After the two went to other tables to toast, Lin Qiu was a little confused. Xiao Yang, are you the matchmaker? Why do I keep thanking you? At this moment, everyone looked confused. Logically speaking, it was impossible for the bride and groom to toast everyone one by one. After all, there were so many people. Generally speaking, everyone at the table could just drink a glass together as a token of their respect. But this guy just toasted and drank it in one gulp. This is a bit strange. Xiao Yang just smiled and said, it's just a small favor. But at this moment, Lin's father and mother suddenly came over, also holding a glass of wine in their hands. Xiao Yang. Thank you. Father Lin's face was beaming. The wedding car Xiao Yang gave him made him look so impressive in front of his relatives and friends that he even seemed to be floating when he walked. It's okay, we are all family, it's what we should do. Xiao Yang smiled. At this time, after toasting, Lin's mother had not left yet. She glanced at Lin Qiu, then looked at Xiao Yang and said, Qiu, please take care of her first. Don't worry. Auntie? Okay. Oh. Father Lin left with a big laugh. After this, everyone became more curious. What exactly is Xiao Yang's identity? Even two elders came over to toast him. Isn't he just a junior on the man's side? Logically speaking, he should be the one making the toast now. It was fine for those who knew Xiao Yang, but those who didn't know Xiao Yang were a little confused at this moment. This guy is quite spirited. Isn't he the groom's cousin? Why are they toasting him? It's fine for the bride and groom to toast. But why are the two elders also here to toast? I'm afraid he has some noble status. If you are so noble, why are you sitting here? Shouldn't you be inside? Everyone was guessing. Chen Bei on the opposite side was already feeling a little uneasy at this time. Looking at Xiao Yang, he could only become more and more jealous. This kid. Why chapter 39 That's called Fetten, a country bumpkin seeking recommendation votes. Just when everyone was speculating on what Xiao Yang had done to deserve such treatment of a junior, an explosive piece of news spread among them. At a wedding, giving red envelopes is the most normal thing to do. In addition to giving money, some people even gave away cars. Of course, Xiao Yang didn't just shout this, there were quite a few friends present at the time. Someone let the secret slip, and the news started to spread around the crowd. The car given as a gift was not just an ordinary car, but a luxury car worth 1.48 million. When the news came out, everyone present was shocked. 1.48 million. An ordinary person may not be able to afford it even if they work hard all their lives. But someone just gives it to him as a gift. How good must the relationship be? Or, how rich must the person who gives the car as a gift be? He treats luxury cars like cabbages, right? So, who sent it? Everyone started to whisper and ask questions to each other. So much so that even after the banquet had already started, no one had time to eat. Inside, Xiao's mother was also shocked. If I remember correctly, Xiao Yang said that he gave Xiao Yu a car. But it be the luxury car worth more than 1 million yuan that he gave me? What a prodigal son. This is such a prodigal son. Mother Xiao immediately gritted her teeth. As for the authenticity of the news, no one cared what's more. They saw the wedding car parked outside with their own eyes. They originally thought it was rented from a car rental company. But they didn't expect it was actually a gift from someone else. At this time, the people in Xiao Yang's car had already started discussing. Who do you think this is? So extravagant. Wow, this really broadens my horizons. Giving $1 million luxury car as a wedding gift. Please give me a dozen friends like this. Why don't I have such a friend around me? After hearing this, Xiao Yang just smiled in his heart. This person is sitting near you now. Lu Xing looked at Xiao Yang in confusion and said nothing. But I guess I've already guessed it. At this moment, Chen Bei at the opposite table also boasted, it's really awesome. Damn, if I meet him, I will call him Big Brother right away. It's so cool. As he spoke, he unconsciously put away his car keys. At this time, Xiao Yang was still chatting with Lin Qiu. The little girl was quite talkative, and considering the cashback card he had just snatched from her, Xiao Yang was happy to chat with her. This scene was naturally sour in the eyes of others. Although the topic was brought to the mysterious person who delivered the car, Chen Bi's mind became active again at this moment. He suddenly sighed and said, "Look, when other people get married, they give luxury cars as gifts, but some people who are brothers don't even give a red envelope. TSK. I think that no matter what one does in life, the most important thing is morality. I, Chen Bi, despise people like this the most." After he finished speaking, Xiaoyang pinched his nose. Seeing that Lu Xing seemed to be about to lose his temper, Xiaoyang calmed him down and shook his head. "You can't get angry with the clown. Otherwise it would be like putting yourself on the same level as the clown. And the clown would use his rich experience to defeat you. No matter how you calculate it, it's a loss." The atmosphere suddenly became quiet again. Lin Qiu was stunned for a moment and asked, "Who is he talking about?" Suddenly, Shen Bei looked at Xiaoyang jokingly. The answer was obvious. Seeing that Lin Qiu was a little confused, Xiaoyang could choose not to get angry with others. But he still had to explain to Lin Qiu, so he said, "I sealed the red envelope, but they didn't see it." "Ah, that's wrongly accusing you," Lin Qiu said in astonishment. "Why don't you explain? Why should I explain to a clown? That would be too degrading." Xiaoyang glanced at Chen Bei. To him, this was a person he didn't even need to look at straight in the eye. Giving him one more glance would be considered a compliment. Xiaoyang's voice was not loud, but it was heard by everyone at the table. Suddenly, Chen Bei's face turned red. "Xiaoyang, what are you talking about?" Xiaoyang waved his hand and said nothing. Seeing that the atmosphere was not right, Lin Qiu pulled Xiaoyang and said, "Why don't we go out for a walk?" "Okay." Xiaoyang nodded. It would be a bit boring to sit here, so we might as well go out for a walk. When Lin Qiu saw that Xiaoyang agreed, a smile immediately appeared on her face. She wouldn't mind making this her first date if she could. "Lu Xing, tell brother you for me later." "Okay, then I won't disturb you." Lu Xing nodded and just looked at Xiaoyang's waist. The meaning is very simple: "Brother, take care of yourself." Xiaoyang rolled his eyes at Lu Xing and said, "Go to hell." After Xiaoyang left, Chen Bei was also filled with anger and cursed in a low voice. What the hell? After all, Xiaoyang didn't say anything, and Lu Xing was too lazy to pay attention to him. Just when he was about to get up, the people sat down over him. "Xiaoyang, is he gone?" It was none other than a few friends who had come to help yesterday. They had been helping Xiaoyu and the others receive guests and acting as best men and bridesmaids. Now that the banquet has started, they have some free time. Unfortunately, there were too many people and I found that there was no place to sit. This time, I saw that there was an empty seat, so I came over. But after coming here, I was a little surprised. Isn't this the place where Xiaoyang was just now? He's gone? Yes, I said I wanted to go out for a walk. When the two heard it, they immediately understood. Lin Qiu's confession just now was still fresh in Xiaoyang's mind. Although Xiaoyang rejected her, who knew if the two of them were on a date at the moment? So he just sat down. Chen Bei also knew these two people and knew that they had been helping. So he leaned over and asked, "Hey, you guys have been helping all the time, so you should know about the gifts who gave you that luxury car." Hearing Chen Bei's question, everyone couldn't help but prick up their ears and listen. After all, who doesn't want to know about this kind of thing? They also thought about posting some gossip on their moments later. "Don't you know?" the two asked in surprise. "How do we know?" Everyone shook their heads. "It was given by Xiaoyang." A voice fell. For just a moment, the atmosphere became eerily calm. After a few seconds of silence, Chen Bei finally reacted and said in shock, Are you kidding me?" "I'm not kidding, it was Xiaoyang who gave it to me. We were there at the time. I went directly to the Maserati Force store to pick it up. It cost 1.48 million yuan, and I paid in full." Everyone present gasped. Of course, Lu Xing was an exception. But he was indeed shocked. Chen Bei's expression became even more unstable, full of disbelief. "No, who are you kidding? It was given by Xiaoyang. How could it be possible?" Chen Bei forced a smile and said, "You just saw that the car Xiaoyang drove was a Volkswagen, which was worth no more than 80,000 or 100,000 yuan. He told me that he gave a car worth more than 1 million yuan to others, but he drove a car worth 100,000 or 80,000 yuan himself. How is this possible?" His direct questioning also made everyone nod. Yes, he himself can't even afford a luxury car, so how could he give a luxury car worth more than 1 million yuan to someone else? At this moment, Lu Xing stood up, shook his head, and looked at Lin Bei with a sneer. "That's called Fetten, a country bumpkin." After the voice fell, Lu Xing lost interest and turned away. But everyone present was completely confused. "Fetten, what is that?" Clang! Chen Bei's chopsticks suddenly fell to the ground. Fetten. He seemed to have some impression of it because the boss of their company drove that car. It seems that. A car worth more than 2 million. The corners of his mouth twitched, feeling completely unreal. At this time, someone also searched for Fenton on his mobile phone and immediately said excitedly, found it, found it. It's really a Volkswagen Fenton. Yes, it's the same car that Xiao Yang drives, but I see there are some different logos on the rear. Let me take another look. Everyone looked over. I found it's the top of the line Fenton. 2.48 million people. Everyone gasped and looked at Shen Bei jokingly. Wow, a Volkswagen that costs tens of thousands is pretty good. Old Chen, I think I heard that you've only paid 2 or 3 installments on your BMW loan. This moment, Chen Bei finally understood what it meant to be on pins and needles and feel like a thorn in the side. Chapter 40 I Have Someone I Like. At this time, Xiao Yang and Lin Qiyu strolled out of the hotel where the wedding was held. Because he had drunk some wine, Xiao Yang couldn't drive. The two of them just walked side by side. Lin Qiyu's hand was still on Xiao Yang's arm, with a faint smile on her face. On the road, the handsome man and beautiful woman attracted the attention of passers-by. What a coincidence, I didn't expect to see you in JM City. Xiao Yang spoke first. Yeah, I didn't expect that. Xiao Yang, your home is in JM City, right? Xiao Yang nodded. Not knowing what to say, neither of them was good at talking, and the atmosphere between them became a little awkward. Suddenly Xiao Yang stopped and said to Lin Qiyu, actually, you don't have to keep confessing to me like this. Xiao Yang hesitated for a moment, but decided to tell the truth. Although the system's confession task was indeed very tempting, he didn't want to treat Lin Qiyu like a sheep to be fleeced. Others have their own choices, and he now also has the emotions he expects. Unconsciously, Zhang Yan's figure was the only one in my mind these past 2 days. The two of them stopped at the same time, as if they had discussed it beforehand. Lin Qiyu looked at Xiao Yang with some confusion. Why? Xiao Yang let out a long sigh and said, actually, I already have someone I like. It only took a moment for the words to fall. Lin Qiyu's smile froze. She looked at Xiao Yang in disbelief and felt as if the world was spinning around her at this moment. You. Xiao Yang, you are kidding me. Lin Qiyu's breathing became a little rapid. Seeing that she was about to cry again, Xiao Yang couldn't help but feel a little distressed. It's better to suffer a short pain than a long one. And leaving others alone is not my style. Xiao Yang nodded directly and continued. Yes, I'm not kidding you, I really have someone I like. Lin Qiyu widened his eyes in disbelief. The hand holding Xiao Yang's arm gained a little more strength. Yes. Xiao Yang took a breath of cold air. Good man. If I had known, I wouldn't have given you the arm. Lin Qiyu stared at Xiao Yang closely, her heart beating faster. She bit her lip, trying to suppress the urge to sob. So, was this also the reason why you rejected me last time? Lin Qiyu asked. Xiao Yang shook his head. Lin Qiyu continued. And the last time you rejected me, saying that the 100th time was an explanation to yourself, was also a lie, right? So actually, you already have someone you like. And you rejected me because you already have someone in your heart, right? Lin Qiyu became increasingly excited. She stared at Xiao Yang, waiting for his reply. Xiao Yang shook his head and said, no, the last time I rejected you, I didn't have anyone I liked. Huh? Lin Qiyu was stunned. Did you fall in love with someone else in the past 2 days? So, while I was still planning my confession, someone sneaked into my house from behind. She was a little unconvinced and said, how is it possible? It's only been a few days. Xiao Yang also nodded thoughtfully. Yeah, it's only been a few days. Zhang Yaojing, Yu Yaojing. At this moment, Lin Qiyu's heart was in a mess. She didn't believe it, and was a little flustered. Of course, there are still some regrets. But she did not regret confessing her love to Xiao Yang in public and being rejected. She just regretted why she did not accept Xiao Yang directly at that time. Being outflanked is too outrageous. Now Lin Qiyu wants to understand one thing. Who on earth was it that got behind her? Lin Qiyu is still very confident. From childhood to adulthood, she has always been the focus of everyone, and she has her own pride. She really wanted to know who could defeat her. Is she prettier than me? Still, perhaps, no matter who you are, you want to know what your love rival looks like. She slowly said. Xiao Yang, can you let me see her? See her? Xiao Yang was stunned. To be honest, Xiao Yang also wants to see Zhang Yan now, but she didn't even know where she was. All we know is that she is studying at the business school of Zhengde University and her name is Zhang Yan. I don't know anything else. After thinking for a while, Xiao Yang shook his head. I don't know where she is either. These words left Lin Qiyu herself confused. Looking at Xiao Yang's expression, he doesn't seem to be lying. Can I don't know where she is either? This is too outrageous. You're not going to be like in the TV dramas, where you dream about a woman and then say that she is your soulmate. Although Lin Qiyu believed in things like romance and fate, this was pure nonsense. Xiaoyang, you didn't mean to say that to reject me. Did you? If so, this joke is not funny at all. I confessed my love to you in front of so many people. In public at someone else's wedding banquet. I'm shameless. It would be too much to reject me for a person who exists in fiction. Yes, that's quite excessive. I'm not kidding. Xiaoyang's smile was a little bleak. He could vaguely guess why Zhang Yan left, but he couldn't tell anyone about it. In fact, he himself didn't want to believe it in just a few days. His heart was filled with Zhang Yaojing. His mind always inadvertently thought of the pair of long legs and black stockings. You see, the hand still loosened. Although she behaved like a dog when she confessed her love this time, it was because she liked Xiaoyang. In fact, she had been putting down her pride in her heart and wanted to recreate the scene when Xiaoyang confessed to her. After all, love is based on an equal relationship between two parties. If they were together, she didn't want to be inferior to Xiaoyang in any way. But now Xiaoyang told himself that he had someone he liked. Then what would it mean if I insisted on confessing my feelings now? Is it considered a third party? Lin Qiyu also has her own pride. No matter how much she liked Xiaoyang, she would never do such a thing. After a long time, a gentle breeze blew. Lin Qiyu seemed to be much more sober. She glanced at Xiaoyang and tried hard not to cry. I'm sorry, I'm leaving first. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Qiyu ran out like crazy. Xiaoyang just stayed where he was, not saying anything. He let out a long sigh. This was the best outcome for both of them. Only, looking at Lin Qiyu's condition, Xiaoyang was still a little worried. Nothing will happen. If the other party encounters an accident because of this incident, I will be held responsible. Xiaoyang frowned slightly, but still chased after him. But it was still a little late. And by then, Lin Qiyu had already run off to somewhere unknown. Chapter 41. Come on, Lin Qiyu, for love. At this moment, Lin Qiyu couldn't hold back anymore and tears streamed down her face. She didn't grow up in JM City, and even she herself didn't know where she was now. Maybe he was tired from running, or maybe he was tired from crying. Lin Qiyu squatted down without caring about her image, with a look of grievance on her face. I didn't mean it. 99 times if you confessed once more, I would have agreed. But why do you like someone else? Lin Qiyu was full of distress and tried hard to drive Xiaoyang out of her heart. But no matter what, the figure that came to my mind was Xiaoyang, the affectionate figure downstairs of the dormitory building. After wiping the tears from her face, Lin Qiyu turned on her cell phone. Deleted, all deleted. He doesn't like me anymore. She opened the photo album. It was filled with photos of Xiaoyang's previous confessions, which she had saved from the forum. There is the affectionate version of Xiaoyang, and there is also the gloomy and lost version of Xiaoyang. Too ugly, not handsome at all. How could I fall in love with you? You scumbag. Lin Qiyu said these words angrily, but his hand was reluctant to move. She clicked on the video on the other side of her phone. Those were videos recorded by individuals, showing the scenes of Xiaoyang's confession every time. It can be said that these are the motivations that support her to confess her feelings in public. With his hand on the delete key, Lin Qiyu still clicked cancel. At last. Watch it one last time, and then forget him forever. Saying this in his mind, Lin Qiyu clicked on the video. He rubbed his eyes and wiped away the tears. The first confession of love by Xiaoyang. A love-struck man from Zhangde University of Finance and Economics. This is a cut video that combines all 99 confessions together. Lin Qiyu saves several hours of video on his mobile phone. I saw the clear figure standing downstairs of the dormitory building. Lin Qiyu, I like you. I fell in love with you the first time I saw you. This is the first time in my life that I like someone. I know that liking someone cannot be hidden, so I brought my love for you and your favorite milk tea. I'm here, Lin Qiyu, can you be my girlfriend? Affectionate words. At this moment, Lin Qiyu's head popped out from the dormitory building. Classmate, I don't like you, don't confess to me anymore. In the video, Lin Qiyu had a cold and aloof look on her face, as if she was used to such things and directly refused. Then, there was Xiaoyang's dim back as he left. After a short while, a figure suddenly turned around and smiled at the camera. I'll come again tomorrow. That's all. The video entered the second day. It's downstairs of the girls' dormitory. It's still the same figure. Lin Qiyu, I like you. Idiot, can you change your opening line? Lin Qiyu cursed while watching the video with tears in her eyes. At this time, Xiaoyang in the video was still holding the loudspeaker and continuing to speak as usual. Just then, a figure walked over from the side. It was Lin Qiyu himself. This time in the video, she was not upstairs, but had just returned to the dormitory. Seeing this, Xiaoyang quickly stopped in front of her. Lin Qiyu, I really like you, can you be my girlfriend? This is a bouquet with bright petals, and the red color is somewhat festive. Could you please stop bothering me? In the video, Lin Qiyu frowned slightly. But I really like you. In the video, Lin Q shook her head and said, "I'm sorry. I already have someone I like." At this moment, Xiaoyang took a half step back in shock and asked affectionately, "Who is it? Can I see him?" Lin Q sneered, "I don't know where he is either." After saying that, the figure turned and left. Lin Q remembers this scene. In fact, she didn't have anyone she liked, she was just looking for a reason to reject that guy. And the sentence, "I don't know where he is a blatant perfunctory response. The figure left. This time, Xiaoyang left a message as usual. "I will come again tomorrow. Idiot, can't you hold on for one more day?" "One day is enough." Lin Qiyu looked disappointed. Just then, she was suddenly stunned. Etc. She rewound the video. In the video she is still cool and aloof. "I didn't know where he was." Hearing his own words, Lin Qiyu was stunned. Suddenly, the memory of when he asked to meet the person Xiaoyang likes, just now came to his mind. And he also said, "I don't know where she is." Same. It cannot be said to be similar, it can only be said to be exactly the same. It's also the second confession. "I also don't know where she is." Lin Qiyu was stunned for a long time, and suddenly cursed. Fuck. The pronunciation is not very standard, obviously this word is rarely used. But this is not important. What is important is all this a coincidence? Impossible. How could it be a coincidence? Lin Qiyu's head started to spin instantly. Why am I so stupid? He's testing me, checking my homework. I actually took it seriously. I was saying, it's only been a few days. How could Xiaoyang fall in love with someone else? Besides, I'm so pretty, it's not like you can just find someone prettier than me on the street. How could I be so stupid? Lin Qiyu patted her fair thighs and said, "Lin Qiyu, you are so stupid you didn't even notice it was so obvious. This is only the second time he confessed his love to you. And you're already so stupid it's obvious that you didn't take Xiaoyang's confession seriously. You deserve it." After cursing himself several times, the gloom on Lin Qiyu's face disappeared, and instead a smile appeared. Although the homework is not completed, one thing is certain. Xiaoyang didn't fall in love with anyone else. He liked me from the beginning to the end. Otherwise, how could he remember the words in the second confession so clearly? I was so stupid that I didn't react. I understand. I must treat every confession seriously and not be perfunctory like I was this time. Come on, Lin Qiyu, for love. Lin Qiyu encouraged herself and told herself that she must review carefully when she returns and try to memorize all the 99 confessions by heart. So that such a thing will not happen again. How embarrassing. Xiaoyang must think I'm stupid now. Chapter 42. Did you misunderstand something? A wedding banquet is still going on at this moment. Chen Bi, who was so high-spirited before, just drank gloomily. No one toasted him or chatted with him. When the other party mocked Xiaoyang before, at least he had Lu Xing with him. But now, Chen Bi felt that his presence here was an eyesore to others. After drinking 2 glasses of wine alone, Chen Bi felt that he could not stay any longer. He said goodbye to everyone and wanted to leave. It's a pity that no one spoke to him in a nice way. Just nodded casually. Even after Chen Bi left, he felt that someone was still muttering about him. Feeling depressed, Chen Bi returned to the car. Don't drive after drinking. What a joke. Chen Bi just felt an urge to go out and race. But I still endured it and drove towards the university town with a depressed mood. It can be said to be a fishing platform as long as this BMW is parked in front of the school. There will always be girls who will take the bait. It's all Xiaoyang's fault. I should find a young lady to vent my anger tonight. After cursing Xiaoyang a few times in his heart, Chen Bi looked out the window and suddenly froze. That's not the girl just now? The girl who called herself ugly. Why is she alone? Where is Xiaoyang? Chen Bi parked the car on the side of the road and did not get out, but just watched from a distance. It seems like crying. Isn't it because of the falling out with Xiaoyang? Chen Bi's mind suddenly became active. If this was the case, then maybe this was an opportunity. I don't know if it's because I cried for too long, but Lin Qiyu couldn't help sobbing. She moved her feet with some difficulty. Perhaps she had been squatting for too long and her legs were numb. No, I can't stand up at all. Lin Qiyu felt a little resentful about her feet. Although this pair of long white legs is the dream of many boys, she wants to cut them off at this moment. Suddenly, a voice came. Hey, isn't this the school goddess who failed in her confession? What happened? Where is your Xiaoyang? Lin Qiyu raised his head, and his eyes were immediately filled with disgust. Are you sick? I'm sick. I think you're sick. What's so good about Xiaoyang? Look at how you licked him, and now you're still thrown here. Chen Bi snorted coldly. What's so good about Xiaoyang? Lin Qiyu laughed. You dare to compare yourself with Xiaoyang with your appearance? Anyone on the street is more handsome than you. You should go home and take a good look in the mirror. Uncle. Chen Bi was choked by Lin Qiyu's words. In terms of age, he is only 2 years older than Xiaoyang. And at most he looks a little older. But I really can't stand the word uncle. But before he could get angry, Lin Q said with a sullen face, "Get out of here quickly and don't come out to scare people." In fact, this is also Lin Q's routine operation. At school, she had no idea how many confessions she had rejected. She knew that some people just liked to pester her. If you spoke nicely, they would think they still had a chance. The easiest way is to be sarcastic and cold. So in school, she has always been called the cold goddess. What she didn't know was that this sentence completely irritated Chen Bi. Chen Bi was already very unhappy with Xiao Yang, and with what happened at the wedding banquet he almost lost face. Now Lin Qi's few more words made him extremely angry. Perhaps because he had drunk some wine, Chen Bi's angry face was already red and looked a little scary. He didn't say anything else, just walked in front of Lin Qiu. "What are you going to do?" Lin Qiu was a little panicked. At this moment, Chen Bi's face was a little distorted. And he looked like those ferocious villains on EV. "What should I do?" "Aha, what do you think I'm going to do?" Chen Bi laughed loudly. "Reeking of alcohol. You think Xiao Yang is handsome, right? Well, I see, he is still handsome with a green hat on his head." Chen Bi's face darkened and he immediately grabbed towards Lin Qiu. "You, get out of here." Lin Qiu reached out and slapped away Chen Bi's hand. Becoming a little panicked, she stepped back quickly. But her legs were still numb and she couldn't move at all. "Help!" Lin Qiu was a little scared and started shouting. If it were normal times, Chen Bi might have been scared. At this time, alcohol and sperm were rushing to his brain. And he didn't care about anything else. He looked at Lin Qiu with an evil look in his eyes. "Don't be afraid, you're so beautiful, I won't be rude." He smiled and reached forward again. "Fuck you, Chen Bi. Are you crazy? What the hell do you want to do?" Just then, a voice came from behind. Before Chen Bi could react, he felt a pain in his body and was then knocked away by a strong force. Xiao Yang. When Lin Qiu saw the person coming, the panic on her face disappeared immediately. At this moment, Chen Bi didn't seem to realize anything, and looked at Xiao Yang with anger on his face. "You drank so much that your brain got damaged, didn't you?" Xiao Yang shook his head and looked at Lin Qiu. "Call the police." But as soon as he finished speaking, Chen Bi suddenly jumped up and punched him. "Xiao Yang!" Lin Qiu screamed upon seeing this. When the fist landed, Xiao Yang suddenly felt a burning pain on his face. All of a sudden, Xiao Yang became angry and turned around to fight with him. It has to be said that Chen Bi was still fierce after drinking, and Xiao Yang was hit several times unexpectedly. But in the end, Chen Bi was pressed to the ground and rubbed by Xiao Yang. But after a while, patrol police arrived. Lin Qiu felt that her leg had gotten much better by this time. So she quickly ran forward to explain the situation to the patrolman. "Okay, stop fighting. Let go, let go." Several policemen pulled Xiao Yang away. And when they looked again, they saw Chen Bi lying on the ground with a bloody head. Almost unrecognizable. Call 121st. Xiao Yang spat at Chen Bi, who was knocked unconscious, and then he let out a long sigh. "Xiao Yang, are you okay?" Lin Qiu threw herself into Xiao Yang's arms. The latter rubbed Lin Qiu's little head and said, "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," Lin Qiu said with a grievance. The course of events was soon clarified, and Chen Bi was taken away. But it looked like he would have to stay in the hospital for a while. Xiao Yang and Lin Qiu were also taken to the police station to give a statement. And the surveillance footage was checked in the end. Xiao Yang and Lin Qiu were released. As for Chen Bi, in addition to the crime of indecent assault, the police also contacted the traffic department and added a penalty for drunk driving. If nothing unexpected happens, the BMW may never be driven again. Xiao Yang was forcibly dragged by Lin Qiu to the hospital for a checkup. Fortunately, nothing serious, just some minor injuries. "Thank you, Xiao Yang." Lin Qiu helped Xiao Yang apply the medicine inside. "What are you talking about? If I hadn't pissed you off and left, this wouldn't have happened, damn it. Chen Bi, this kid. I usually don't bother to deal with him, but he's getting ahead of me." Xiao Yang cursed. At this moment, Lin Qiu, who had just finished applying the medicine, suddenly reached out and hugged Xiao Yang. "I'm sorry. Xiao Yang, it's all my fault. I didn't feel your confession properly. Now I understand. I will try my best for our love." Lin Qiu's face was full of smiles. Now, Xiao Yang was completely confused. "What's the point of our love? Where does our love come from? Didn't I tell you that I have someone I like? Did you misunderstand something?" At this moment, Lin Qiu felt sweet in her heart. She will remember everything that happened on this day. What a hero saving a beauty. The story is very kitsch. But she still felt Xiao Yang's anger at that time. He still cares about me. Chapter 43, Lin Qiu's 3 confessions. Although Lin Qiu really wanted to follow Xiao Yang again, she was not Zhang Yan after all, and could not really follow Xiaoyang to run away. It was already evening when I got home, and I asked the designated driver to drive the car back. When Xiao's mother saw the purple and blue scars on Xiaoyang's face, she couldn't help asking him all kinds of questions. Xiaoyang simply told the story of what happened, and Xiao's mother was also shocked after hearing it. This Chen Be, when I went to the parent-teacher conference for you before, I saw Xiaoyu hanging out with him. I need to tell Xiaoyu to stop associating with people like him. Xiaoyang nodded, that's what he should do. Either way, Mom asked you a question, answer it honestly. You say, how much money did you make from your business? Tell me the truth and don't lie to me. Xiao's mother said seriously. Xiaoyang didn't expect his mother to ask this question. After thinking for a while, he said, it's probably about 18 million. So many, Xiao's mother gasped. I originally thought that my son was just making a small fuss, and the money he sent home before was saved by tightening his belt. But I didn't expect it to be tens of millions. So, was it you who really gave Xiaoyu that wedding car? Originally, Xiao's mother was just a little suspicious, but now she is basically certain that this car was really given by her own son. My goodness, a luxury car worth over $1 million. It's such a waste. Seeing Xiaoyang nodded, Xiao's mother almost fainted. You've given away 1/10 of our family fortune. You're a spendthrift. Xiao's mother scolded him a few times and said nothing more. After thinking about it, this is understandable after all. Xiaoyang earned the money himself, he can do whatever he wants. After Xiaoyang was scolded by his mother, the matter was over. Xiaoyang originally wanted to stay at home for a few more days and help his family with the store matters. But his parents rejected this idea, claiming that they were not blind and that he should handle such matters himself. They also asked him to return to Jiangdu as soon as possible because the business there was more important. In fact, there was no business in Jiangdu, but his parents insisted. So Xiaoyang planned to go back to school the next day. Come to think of it, I've been on leave for quite a few days. If I don't go back, I'm afraid I won't be able to catch up with the midterm exam. Lying on the bed, Xiaoyang couldn't help but think of Zhang Yan again. Maybe I should go find her, at least to find out something. Xiaoyang let out a long sigh. To be precise, Zhang Yan was his true first love, even though it only lasted a few short days. As I was thinking, the phone rang. Xiaoyang opened it and saw that it was a call from King Xuantong. King Xuantong? Xiaoyang asked. Don't call me in such a strange way. Just call me Xuantong. King Xuantong's voice was quite gentle on the phone. What's the matter? If there's nothing wrong, I can't call you. King Xuantong's voice suddenly lowered a few notches, as if she was acting coquettously. Okay, but this isn't a good time to chat. I'm going to bed soon. Xiaoyang looked at the time. It was almost 12 o'clock. TSK, if Zhang Yan calls you, you won't sleep. Xiaoyang really wanted to reply. Yes. But he replied, if there is nothing else, I will hang up. No, why are you so anxious? I have something to tell you. King Xuantong said quickly. Explain. Why are you so cold? Really? You tell me or not. If you don't, I'll really die. I say, are you going back to Jiangdu? King Xuantong asked hurriedly. Okay, I'll go back tomorrow. Xiaoyang nodded. Then I'll come find you tomorrow. I'm going back to Jiangdu tomorrow too. It turned out that King Xuantong had originally taken leave to return to JM City to take care of her mother. Now with Xiaoyang's money, this matter became much more comfortable for the King family, and she no longer needed to take leave to take care of her mother. When Xiaoyang heard King Xuantong's request, he agreed without thinking too much. Anyway, taking one is one, taking two is two. The next morning, Xiaoyang seemed to hear Lin Kuoyi's voice in a daze. Turn over suddenly. It was a dream. Xiaoyang breathed a sigh of relief. At this moment, the door was suddenly knocked. Xiaoyang. Hearing his mother's voice, Xiaoyang also felt like turning over and getting up. Opened the door. Ah, here it comes. Xiaoyang dressed neatly and opened the door, only to see his mother frowning slightly, but with a hint of excitement on her face. What's wrong? What's wrong? Mom shook her head. A girl from yesterday came to my house. What? That girl from yesterday? Xiaoyang was a little confused. At this moment, the voice came again. Xiaoyang, I like you. Fuck, this isn't a dream. Lin Q is really here. Xiaoyang glanced at the system in his mind, and sure enough, he saw a task called Lin Q's 3 confessions hanging above. You just know how to mess around with girls, just like your father. Mom poked Xiaoyang's forehead. The old man on the side muttered. When did I get involved in prostitution? Xiaoyang also spread his hands to express his helplessness. But obviously, his mother did not blame Xiaoyang too much. After all, for a mother, it is definitely a happy thing that her son is pursued by a girl. You handle it properly, but let me make it clear to you. You can be friends with her, but don't ruin the girl's reputation. If you keep changing your mind, Don't blame me for disowning you as my son. Mom sighed. Obviously, at this moment, she was comparing Jiang Yan and Lin Qiyu in her mind to see who was more suitable to be a daughter-in-law. If it was Lin Qiyu, it would be a good match, and the girl was also very generous. But she didn't know how to be reserved. How could she come here so early in the morning to confess her love? As for Jiao Yan, Xiao's mother was already very satisfied with her. With that figure, those long legs, and those curvy figure, it was obvious that she could give birth. Xiao Yang also washed his face and left the room. I saw Lin Qiyu standing outside the house at this moment, with a pretty blush on her face. The uncles and aunts passing by also looked over and muttered a few words. Xiao Yang, you can do it, not bad. The security guard patted Xiao Yang on the shoulder. The Xiao family boy is great, and the girl is so pretty. The uncles and aunts in the neighborhood all gave me praise. And even the children next door looked at me with envy. What a beautiful elder sister. Chapter 44, My house was stolen. Xiao Yang rubbed his head and walked in front of Lin Qiyu. Xiao Yang, you're here. Lin Qiyu's face turned red. And she lowered her head with a shy look. Now you feel shy. Xiao Yang couldn't help but tease. Lin Qiyu stretched her little head over and said with a smile. This time the gift I brought you is a scarf. It's getting ready for winter. Let me put it on you. As he said that, he opened his hand and wanted to put the scarf on Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang lowered his head, feeling a little embarrassed. But after Lin Qiyu wrapped the scarf around her neck, she even adjusted it and smiled sweetly. It looks really good. Mainly because you're so handsome, Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang blushed a little when he heard this. After all, there were so many people watching him, and they were all neighbors who had watched him grow up. He asked a little embarrassed lie, how do you know my home is here? I asked Xiao Yu for it, Lin Qiyu said with a smile. Okay, Xiao Yang nodded, looked around, and said, why don't we go inside and talk? After she finished speaking, Lin Qiyu nodded shyly. Are you going to meet the parents? She suddenly became a little nervous and didn't know where to put her hands. She took a look at herself and suddenly felt that everything was wrong with her. After thinking for a while, she hesitated and said, Xiao Yang, I didn't bring anything except this scarf. How about I not go in yet? It's okay, my parents don't care about this, Xiao Yang said as he took Lin Qiyu's little hand and walked into the house. After all, there are too many people here, and even if I refuse them, it would not be a good idea and would be a bit embarrassing. Xiao Yang's mind is pure. He knows what it feels like to confess in front of so many people and be rejected. In fact, the confession he made at Xiao Yu's wedding yesterday was embarrassing enough. He even admired Lin Qiyu for being able to be so humble. At this moment, Lin Qiyu naturally had no idea what Xiao Yang was thinking. She just lowered her head with a shy look on her face. Xiao Yang is going to take me to meet his parents. What to do? Is what I'm wearing today not mature enough? Will uncles and aunts think that I am just a little girl who knows nothing? Will you dislike me because I didn't bring any gifts? My heart was filled with anxiety. Of course, there is some sweetness too. This is about meeting the parents. The fact that Xiao Yang can bring me to meet his parents, doesn't it prove that he has me in his heart? This confession will most likely be rejected, but the end result will be the same. It's just that the process is a little more complicated. Lin Qiyu was no longer thinking about confessing her feelings. She was just thinking about how to deal with Xiao Yang's parents. I was so careless. I remember seeing the book, How to Get Along with the Parents in Luoyan Taobao last time. I should have bought it earlier. After entering the house, Xiao Yang breathed a sigh of relief. And in the house, father and mother sat side by side on the sofa in the living room. Seeing Xiao Yang bringing Lin Qiyu home, the two were a little surprised. As for Lin Qiyu, he was even more shocked at this moment. Auntie, it's you. Lin Qiyu saw Xiao's mother when she entered the room. And then she thought of what happened yesterday. She even swore in front of Xiao's mother that she was Xiao Yang's girlfriend. But she turned around and was rejected. This. So embarrassing. Hello, Mom took Lin Qiyu's hand with a smile on her face and sat down side by side. Ma, I still have something to say to Lin Qiyu, Xiao Yang muttered as he explored the task in his mind. Oh, back to your room. Mother Xiao blared at Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang returned to his room obediently. His father was very understanding and left without waiting for his mother to say anything. In the living room, only my mother and Lin Qiyu were left. Daughter, what's your name? Asked my mother. My name is Lin Qiyu. Oh, I'll be 20 years old next month. Oh, you and Xiao Yang are classmates. Yes, but I majored in finance and he majored in economics. Lin Qiyu answered without thinking. What does your family do? After a long time, my mother knocked on Xiao Yang's door. Mom, where's Qiyu? I went to the bathroom. Mother Xiao blared at Xiao Yang. And then said with some helplessness, Xiao Yang, tell me honestly, which one do you like? Xiao Yan. Xiao Yang did not hesitate this time. He was sure of his heart. Xiao's mother could only shake her head helplessly. Compared to Jiang Yan, she also liked Lin Qiyu. Hearing Xiao Yang's answer, She could only sigh. It would be nice if I could marry both of them. Xiao Yang looked at his mother in shock. At this moment, a voice suddenly came from outside the door. Xiao Yang. Here I come. Xiao Yang turned his head and saw a little head poking out of the window. If this isn't King Xuantong, then who else could it be? At this time, Xiao's mother also looked over and saw another pretty girl. Her face suddenly darkened. She is? My high school classmate. King Xuantong. Xiao Yang didn't notice his mother's expression and just answered casually. Xiao Yang, if you were not my son, I would kill you. Xiao's mother said angrily. At the same time, I was filled with emotion. Why is my son so lucky in love? What should I do? This girl called King Xuantong seems to be pretty good looking. Lin Qiyu, who had just come out of the bathroom, also came out at this moment. When she saw the little head outside calling Xiao Yang, her face became much gloomier. Xiao Yang opened the door. King Xuantong poked her head in first, and when she saw it was Xiao Yang, her face immediately filled with joy. Xiao Yang, I haven't seen you for a few days. Do you miss me? As he said that, he stretched out his hand and wanted to hug Xiao Yang. You big-headed ghost, get lost. Xiao Yang was not going to tolerate her and dodged. And this scene also fell into the eyes of Lin Qiyu, who was not far away. The corners of her mouth twitched and she felt something was wrong. Xiao Yang didn't care about these to him. Neither of these two girls was the one he liked. Okay, stop messing around, let me introduce you, this is my mom. This is my high school classmate, King Xuantong. Auntie? Hello, this is the milk I brought for you, and the wine I brought for uncle. King Xuantong was not like Lin Qiyu, who brought nothing. The first thing he did when he saw Xiao's mother was to present the gift to her. Xiao's mother smiled and said, Oh, why do you bring a gift when you come to visit? You are so polite. The more courtesy, the less blame. King Xuantong was not as shy as Lin Qiyu, but when she saw Lin Qiyu, it was obvious that this girl's expression suddenly became a little flustered. To be precise, she knew that Zhang Yan had left, so she thought of coming to Xiao Yang's house, preparing to sneak into his house from behind. But who would have thought that there was a girl here? And she is a girl whose appearance is no less attractive than mine. When the two women met, they were extremely jealous of each other, especially two girls with equally good looks. King Xuantong looked at Lin Qiyu and said first, Xiao Yang, why don't you introduce who this young lady is? Your cousin? She is my college classmate. Xiao Yang smiled and pulled Lin Qiyu over. Her name is Lin Qiyu, and she's here to take my car back to Jiangdu today. The two looked at each other. At this moment, all I had in my mind was, damn it, my home was robbed. Chapter 45 Lost. Hello, my name is King Xuantong, and I'm Xiao Yang's high school classmate. King Xuantong blinked and suddenly said, Let me tell you. Xiao Yang and I are desk mates. The corner of Xiao Yang's mouth twitched. When he was in high school, the class had always had a rotating desk system, and basically there was a new deskmate every day. There's really nothing wrong with King Xuantong being my deskmate. Classmate. Lin Qiyu was stunned for a moment. Xiao Yang looked at Lin Qiyu's confused expression and felt a headache. Judging from the current situation, the gap in ranks is huge. Zhang Yan and King Xuantong are at the same level, while Lin Qiyu is just a newbie. Okay, Xiao Yang stopped there. On the side, Xiao's mother was obviously much more worried than Xiao Yang. I started to worry about it again. I don't know what King Xuantong's family is like. Well, I'll have to ask her later after all. This kid is well educated and she even brought something when she came to visit for the first time. Seeing that his mother was about to drag King Xuantong to chat about family matters again, Xiao Yang thought about it and stopped her directly. Mom, they just saw that I was going back to Jiangdu, so they came here to give me a ride. I'm going back to Jiangdu soon. So let's not talk about it now, we're leaving right away. After saying that, Xiao Yang glanced at the two girls at the moment. The two stared at each other, but there was a gentle look on their faces. Wait for me 2 minutes. Xiao Yang went straight back to his room and packed a few clothes casually. When they came out, Xiao Yang saw that both of them still looked confused. So he simply grabbed one of them with each hand. Didn't you say you were going back to Jiangdu? Let's go. The two girls were stunned for a moment and had to say hello to Xiao's mother. Goodbye, Annie. Come often in the future. Xiao's mother waved with a smile on her face. Only after Xiao Yang left the room did Xiao's mother start to feel worried. Look at this kid. I always thought he might not be able to find a girlfriend in the future. We are trying to save money to help him buy a house and get married. Who told him to inherit my wife's genes and be so handsome? Father Xiao chuckled. Since he recovered from his illness, he has been in a much better mood. You're such a chatterbox. Xiao's mother scolded. Father Xiao suddenly said, Since the children are gone, there is no one at home. You should quit your job otherwise we. As he spoke, Father Xiao looked at Mother Xiao shyly. Xiao's mother was shocked. Your waist. At this time, Xiaoyang naturally didn't know that his parents had already started thinking about practicing the trumpet. He opened the car door and sat in. Yesterday, because Lu Xing was also drunk, we asked the designated driver to drive Xiao's father and mother back. And the car was parked outside the house. Xiaoyang, can I sit in the front? Lin Qiyu asked gently. Sure. Xiaoyang nodded. Lin Qiyu's face was immediately filled with happiness. But the moment she opened the car door, King Xuantong had already jumped up and sat in the passenger seat. Thank you, Qiyu. I didn't expect you to be so nice to me the first time I met you. You even helped me open the car door, King Xuantong said with a smile on her face. Xiaoyang's mouth twitched. Looking at Lin Qiyu again, I found that her face was full of grievance, and she was biting her lips and unable to speak. As expected, King Xuantong's rank completely crushes Lin Qiyu. Okay, King Xuantong, sit in the back. Xiaoyang glanced at King Xuantong and said. He was really afraid that Lin Qiyu would cry. This girl was made of water. She would be tearful when she suffered a little grievance. It was really pitiful. Why? King Xuantong said unconvinced. But at this time, Lin Qiyu silently opened the car door. No need, I'll just sit in the back. Look, I don't have to sit in the front seat. It's just that I don't want to sit there. King Xuantong smiled, looking very proud. KO flash sale. With this ability, he still steals the house. Who gave you the courage? Zhang Yan? King Xuantong fastened her seatbelt. Xiaoyang habitually glanced at him out of the corner of his eye and shook his head. In terms of scale, it still has to be Zhang Yan. Just show off. Xiaoyang rolled his eyes at King Xuantong, then turned back and said with a smile. EU, fasten your seatbelt. Okay. Lin Qiyu didn't seem to be unhappy at all, and said with a smile. This made Xiaoyang a little confused. He didn't know what Lin Qiyu was thinking. It's still early now. Let's wait for Lu Xing and then go back to Zhongdu together. Xiaoyang explained. Lu Xing was originally going to go back to Zhongdu with him, so he might as well wait for one more person. At this moment, Lin Qiyu suddenly called out, Xiaoyang. But, do you remember what you gave me when you confessed to me for the third time? Lin Qiyu's eyes curved, and she was obviously smiling happily. Xiaoyang was completely confused. King Xuantong, who was standing aside, suddenly looked gloomy, her eyes filled with shock. Third confession? What's the meaning? Holy shit. No way. She turned her head to look at Lin Qiyu, then looked at Xiaoyang in disbelief, as if to say, no way, you like this one? Xiaoyang naturally couldn't remember, and answered honestly, I forgot. Lin Qiyu didn't believe that Xiaoyang would forget. He even remembered the lines from his second confession. Lin Qiyu pouted and said proudly, it's a scarf, so today I'll give you a scarf too. Xiaoyang glanced at the scarf and said, that's very thoughtful of you. The weather is indeed a bit cold these 2 days. It's okay. As long as you like it. Seeing the reactions of the two, Lin Qiyu was basically certain. This so-called King Xuantong is just an ordinary classmate of Xiaoyang. She is a little bit dumb, but not stupid. This girl called King Xuantong was clearly just sticking up next to her. Didn't she notice that she wanted to sit in the front seat? But her seat was snatched away from her. Didn't Xiaoyang still speak up for her? Besides, if they really had a relationship, Xiaoyang would definitely keep silent about the confession. At this moment, another scene emerged in King Xuantong's mind. Xiaoyang took the initiative to confess 3 times. Oh my god. Zhang Yan and myself. I'm totally lost. Chapter 46. How about you help me chase Xiaoyang? Xiaoyang, you really confessed to her 3 times, King Xuantong said in disbelief. Xiaoyang nodded. Although it was a system task, the whole school knew about it and there was nothing to hide. Hearing Xiaoyang's affirmation, King Xuantong was stunned. This guy Xiaoyang actually confessed to her 3 times. Turning around, I saw Lin Qiyu's face full of pride. Obviously, she won this round. No amount of eloquence can outweigh the facts that have already happened. Seeing Lin Qiyu's smug look, King Xuantong looked unhappy and said, so you have a girlfriend now? Xiaoyang shook his head and told the truth. She didn't agree. These words made King Xuantong stand there in a daze. Oh shit. Not agreed. So, not even an opponent. Then what are you here for? King Xuantong's face suddenly lit up with smiles suddenly. She turned to look at Lin Qiyu and said with a smile, sorry, I misunderstood, I thought you were chasing Xiaoyang. Lin Qiyu looked confused. At this moment, King Xuantong extended her hand and said with a smile, let me introduce myself to you formally. My name is King Xuantong, Xiaoyang's high school classmate. Lin Qiyu didn't know what King Xuantong was thinking. After a pause, she replied, hello, my name is Lin Qiyu. Well, then we can be considered acquaintances and friends. Ah? Lin Qiyu was confused. What, just friends? Aren't we rivals in love? At this moment, King Xuantong smiled and said, since we are all friends, can you do me a favor? Help me chase Xiaoyang. After that, she looked up at the sky and thought, I didn't expect that Xiaoyang liked someone like you. How about you teach me how you made Xiaoyang like you? The sound is quite loud. Xiaoyang, who was standing nearby, heard everything clearly and his face turned black. Good man, you let others help you chase me in front of me. What kind of logical thinking is this? Lin Qiyu was even more shocked. This girl named King Xuantong asked me to help her pursue Xiaoyang? Did I hear you wrong, or is there something wrong with you? To be honest, neither of them quite understood King Xuantong's train of thought. Outrageous is all I can say. Seeing that Lin Qiyu didn't agree, King Xuantong asked curiously, what's wrong, is it not possible? Of course not, Xiaoyang and Lin Qiyu said in unison. What Xiaoyang was saying was that he had no feelings for King Xuantong at all. So why did she have to hold on to him? Lin Qiyu's meaning was even more obvious. I'm still pursuing her, and you want me to help you pursue her. Is it true that you help your rival pursue the person you like? However, after hearing Xiaoyang's answer, Lin Qiyu felt a lot happier. It seems that Xiaoyang still likes me, and King Xuantong is just unrequited love to me, and I can't even pursue her. In just a short while, Xiaoyang drove to the vicinity of Century Square. Lu Xing lives here. He used to work here, so he also rented a house here. Since I'm going back to Jiangdu today, I naturally have to take him with me. It has been agreed before once Lu Xing completes the resignation procedures, he can leave. A new Century Plaza is located in the city center. Although it is daytime, there are still quite a lot of people here. Estimating that he would have to wait for a while, Xiaoyang found a place to park the car, then got out and said he wanted to go shopping first. The two girls naturally had no objections, they were not in a hurry to go back anyway. And it would be great to be able to go shopping with Xiaoyang. At this moment, a deep voice spread throughout the street. A wandering singer was seen holding a guitar in the store, and there were already quite a few people around him. These wandering singers are not uncommon, and it's nothing to do with their livelihood. Xiaoyang didn't care. Instead, King Xuantong's expression brightened and she said, Xiaoyang, why don't you go sing a song for us to hear? Singing? Xiaoyang shook his head. What's your train of thought? I just want to hear you sing. Do you remember you sang at the high school party? It was so beautiful, King Xuantong recalled. Xiaoyang remembered that it was a party when he was in the second year of high school. It was said that there was a top 10 singers party. Unfortunately, he was not a talented singer and he just participated casually. He didn't expect King Xuantong to remember it so clearly. When Lin Qiyu heard this, she also became interested. Xiaoyang can sing. Who doesn't want to listen to the boy they like singing? She immediately encouraged Xiaoyang and said, Xiaoyang, I haven't heard you sing yet. King Xuantong's expression brightened. And she shook Xiaoyang's arm and said, go ahead. No, there are so many people here and I still have my dignity to save. Xiaoyang began to refuse. Just then, there was a buzzing sound in my mind. Mission release, the path of a good male singer. Option 1. Accept the mission, sing a song in front of everyone. Reward, voice control ability 20. Option 2, reject the mission. Reward, sound control ability 2. Xiaoyang was stunned for a moment and looked at the two girls. You are the NPCs of the system, right? How can you issue tasks like this? Xiaoyang looked at the wandering singer who was singing hard at the moment, and then looked at the task again. Sound control ability. I don't know what it's used for. Can it transform the sound? Why not give it a try? It won't be too embarrassing anyway. Okay, Xiaoyang nodded, walked closer to the street singer, turned on his phone, and scanned the QR code on the speaker next to him. Yes, now even street singers are keeping up with the times. It's okay if you don't bring cash rewards, there is a QR code. Xiaoyang transferred 1,000 yuan to the account and then showed it to the wandering singer. Thank you. The wandering singer thanked him, but when he saw the transfer slip, he couldn't help but widen his eyes. It was so much. In fact, if you can earn 2 to 300 yuan a day from street singing like this, that's basically the peak season. If you can make 1,000 at once, you've got a big sponsor. Can I borrow your venue to sing a song? Xiaoyang said with a smile. Yes, of course. The other person's face was full of smiles. Xiaoyang was not polite. He took the other person's guitar and sat down. Slender fingers slid across the strings, and the simple yet catchy melody began to fall clearly into everyone's ears. What a nice melody. Xiaoyang can actually play the guitar. Lin Qiyu's eyes were full of stars, as if there was only Xiaoyang in her eyes. As for King Xuantong, her eyes widened. Why don't I seem to have heard of this song before? The melody was so simple that the pedestrians and passers-by around couldn't help but stop. Have you heard this song? No, this melody. In fact, Xiaoyang didn't know what the song was after taking the guitar. He originally wanted to play a song he knew, but who knew that this song suddenly popped up in his mind? It must be the system's fault. Sunny Day Jaichu. Who is Jaichu? Xiaoyang was confused. Forget it. Just play it as it is written. Chapter 47 Humble Love. On the side, the wandering singer's face was full of surprise. Originally, he thought that Xiao Yang was just playing a song casually. He had seen such situations before after all, many people just wanted to show off. There were not so many professional singers coming to compete with wandering singers for food. But as soon as this prelude came out, he felt numb all over. The rhythm of Sunny Day is very simple. It can be played on guitar with only chords. It keeps repeating, but it's very pleasant to the ear. Finally Xiao Yang lowered his head, and his voice came from the speaker through the microphone. Little Yellow of the story. I've been floating since the year I was born. Childhood swing. My memory keeps swinging until now. Xiao Yang's voice is just like his personality. A little lazy. But this fits the song perfectly, as if I were just picking up a guitar and singing casually. Pedestrians stopped to watch, and many office workers carrying briefcases and wearing high heels seemed to have returned to the campus of their youth. The wandering singer raised his lips slightly. He took the water and took a sip. It was not wine, but it was as if he was remembering a story. The brisk pace seems out of tune with this bustling city. Just at this moment. I'm so tired, so tired. A voice came. The wandering singer immediately spat out the water he had just drunk. How casual is this? Did he forget the lyrics or something? How did he sing the music? At this moment, Lin Qiu and King Xuantong had already immersed themselves in it. Looking at Xiao Yang's calm face, the two of them were already overwhelmed with anger. So cool. Which girl hasn't fantasized about a handsome and talented boy sitting on the campus, holding a guitar, singing love songs to her? Although this is not a campus, it is extremely harmonious. While playing the prelude and looking at the sky, I think of the petals trying to fall. I remember the petals trying to fall. A day skipped school for you. The day it fell. The classroom. Why can't I see it? A disappearing rainy day. I want to shower again. I didn't expect that I still had the courage I lost. I really want to ask again. Will you wait or leave? The voice was so brisk that it sounded like a casual hum. But pictures had already been drawn in everyone's mind. Do you know the joy and disappointment of having a crush on a girl you like? I want to water the little yellow flowers I planted when I was young. No matter whether they bloom or wither. And the courage to like someone is still retained. Because I like him, so I am brave. The lyrics are simple and clear. But in Lin Qiu's mind, it was a different scene. She suddenly thought of a day when the boy saw her on campus and fell in love with her. He was ecstatic and he tried every way to get closer to him. He skipped classes to express his feelings. In order to express his feelings, he secretly ran to the classroom to look for me again and again. In order to express his love for her, he insisted on waiting for her downstairs of the dormitory every day, regardless of whether it was raining or sunny. For a moment, Lin Qiu recalled the various scenes when Xiao Yang confessed his love to her, and tears filled her eyes and flowed down. This song, he must have written it for himself. Lin Qiu covered her mouth, afraid that she would cry out loud, and her face was full of emotion. As for King Xuantong, she was also filled with emotion at this moment. Recalling the things that happened on campus, Xiao Yang's image in her mind became taller and taller, and her eyes were full of admiration. Some of the pedestrians around were lost in deep memories. Some of them clenched the other hand that was pulling. Everyone stopped in silence. For a moment, the originally bustling street became strangely quiet. On this windy day, I tried to hold your hand, but unfortunately, the rain gradually, so big that I can't see you. How long will it take before I can be by your side? But at the end of the story you still seem to say, I. Only when it rains and blows do I dare to try to hold your hand. I have been secretly in love with her for a long time, and I treat this hard-earned love very carefully. Even if the wind blows, even if the rain falls, even if I can only love you for one more day, even if I can only say goodbye in the end. This love is so humble. Someone sighed. Because it is love, it is humble. Someone answered. On the side, Lin Qiu had already burst into tears. Yes, because of love, I am humble. Even though he knew he would fail in his confession, even though he knew that what he did was extremely humble, he still persisted in doing it 99 times, being extremely humble. Doesn't this prove that he loves me? Lin Qiu clenched his fists. This time, let me take over. Even if it ends with a goodbye, I will be braver. No matter how humble I am, I will treat you the same way you treated me before. At this moment, Xiao Yang finished playing, took a long breath, and smiled as he put the guitar into the hands of the wandering singer, who still had a look of surprise on his face. He also didn't expect that the song given by the system would be so beautiful. And the moment his voice fell, there was thunderous applause. It sounds nice. Sing it again. Xiao Yang greeted the enthusiastic audience with a smile. Just sing it again. I'm not a real singer. It's just purely to complete the system tasks. Xiao Yang was finally satisfied when he heard a ding from the system. 20 points of sound control ability. A lot of knowledge suddenly appeared in his mind, including how to make the sound fuller, how to pronounce the words to make the sound clearer. So this is the system teaching me to speak Mandarin? Xiao Yang was just about to study it carefully, when a figure flashed and pounced on him the next second. Xiao Yang was quick-witted and quick-handed, and quickly opened his hand to catch it. This was Lin Qiyu, who had just burst into tears. His eyes were red and the tears on his face were not wiped clean. She buried her head in Xiao Yang's arms. In just a short while, Xiao Yang's clothes were soaked by Lin Qiyu's tears. What's wrong? Who bullied you? Xiao Yang was stunned. I was so engrossed in singing just now that I didn't pay any attention at all. There are actually people bullying Lin Qiyu in public. He glanced around and his eyes fell on King Xuantong. The meaning is very clear. Are you bullying others again? King Xuantong was confused. It's none of my business. At this time, Lin Qiyu was still sobbing, choking with sobs and unable to speak clearly. Zaiko Suiyao Yang. I know your feelings. Can we be together now? I like you so much. Bite. Lin Qiyu's confession special. Option 1. Accept the confession, reward charm 3. Option 2. Reject the confession, reward charm 10. Chapter 48 Old Habit. What are you confessing again? Or a special mission? Xiao Yang's face was filled with black lines. Is this love song so destructive? Besides, what do you mean by you understand my feelings? That's what I mean. Am I not just doing a system task? You're not imagining anything again, are you? However, seeing Lin Qiyu crying like that, Xiao Yang felt a little bit reluctant. It's still the same old rule, don't say anything, just let the system automatically reject it. Xiao Yang patted Lin Qiyu's little head and said with a smile. Okay, don't cry, there are so many people here. Yeah. Lin Qiyu was still sobbing, her face full of shyness. When the people around saw this, they couldn't help but feel envious. This must be the heroine in this love song. It seems like we didn't get to say goodbye in the end. It's fake, it's all fake. I have to be fed dog food when I go to work. I miss it so much. If I could sing a song like this. There's no way the goddess would reject me. Hearing the discussions of people around her, Lin Qiyu's face turned even redder. She lowered her head, and she was afraid that she couldn't pull her little head out of Xiao Yang's chest. Xiao Yang was not in a hurry. He just rubbed Lin Qiyu's little head and comforted her softly. In the distance, King Xuantong's eyes were full of jealousy. He put his hands on his hips and glared at the two of them. People eventually dispersed, as working was more important than listening to music. A wandering singer came over at this moment. Sir, your song is so beautiful. The song is great, and the singer is even better. Thank you. Xiao Yang accepted the other party's compliment. Can I ask you a request? The wandering singer said hesitantly. You say. I like this song of yours very much, I want to sing it. Can I? At this point, the other party said with embarrassment. I know that singing your song here may be disrespectful to you, but I really like this song and want to sing it to others. It's okay, sing it. Xiao Yang was naturally generous. This was the song given by the system, so it didn't matter. I didn't expect that the other party was quite copyright conscious and even asked me if he could sing it. Thanks. This is my business card. My name is Shang Rong. May I ask what your name is? Shang Rong handed over a business card and asked again. Seeing that Xiao Yang didn't seem to want to answer, he said again, I'm sorry, the main reason is that this song is yours. When I cover it, I have to declare that it is your song. I ask this out of respect for you. Xiao Yang then nodded. My name is Xiao Yang. Okay, I'll remember that. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, he wanted to leave. However, Lin Qiyu let go of Xiao Yang and quickly said to Shang Rong, do you have a recording of Xiao Yang singing just now? Yes, I always set a built-in recording when I sing. Give me a copy, I want the one Xiao Yang just sang. No problem, Shang Rong said and turned around to turn on the computer. At this time, King Xuantong also rushed over. I want one too. After getting the recording, the two girls quickly put the phones to their ears. Xiao Yang's singing voice slowly came from inside. I have to say that Shang Rong's microphone and recording equipment are quite good. Almost all the noisy sounds around were eliminated, leaving only Xiao Yang's cheerful singing voice. Lin Qiyu and King Xuantong both showed intoxicated smiles on their faces at the same time, and then looked at Xiao Yang in unison. Let's go buy some headphones. And the two looked at each other again. Snort. Then, another person and an arm. Xiao Yang was numb. As long as Zhang Yan was alive, his arms never belonged to him. Now that Zhang Yan is gone, this arm still doesn't belong to me. Neither of the two women looked at each other, but just leaned on Xiao Yang's shoulders. There were envious looks from all around. Damn it. I thought he was a devoted love song prince, but I didn't expect. If I had one fairy like this, I'd be damn satisfied too. I'm probably just dreaming. No, I want to learn how to sing when I get back. Damn. The priority in choosing a spouse is too good to be true. Fortunately, Xiaoyang has gotten used to it. This habit not only causes the envious and jealous looks from people around me, but also the habit of feeling that my arms don't belong to me. Xiaoyang, you are so handsome, Lin Qiyu said with a silly look on her face. Is there any need for you to tell me that? King Xuantong hummed. And then said, Xiaoyang, did you write this song yourself? It's really beautiful. Of course, Xiaoyang, this song is written for me. Lin Qiyu said with pursed lips. Maybe she cried too hard just now. Her face was still red, which made her look very adorable. I guess so, the two girls kept asking. Xiaoyang was a little confused and didn't pay attention to Lin Qiyu's words. He answered King Xuantong's question. After all, this song was given by the system and does not belong to this world, so just treat it as if I wrote it myself. Anyway, the lyrics and music are not difficult, so it shouldn't be a big problem. It's really written for me. Although Lin Qiyu guessed it, she couldn't stop showing excitement when she heard Xiaoyang say it himself. Xiaoyang, did you say anything? After buying the headphones, the two of them became much quieter. Of course, Xiaoyang paid for it. Lin Qiyu took a pair of pink headphones, which was in line with her temperament. This was the first time she received a gift from Xiaoyang. Of course, Xiaoyang had given it to them before, but this is the first time I have accepted it. She carefully straightened and secured the long headphone cord, and gently inserted the earphones into her delicate ears. The singing sounded as if Xiaoyang was singing in his ear. The voice was gentle and Lin Qiyu's face was full of a sweet smile. King Xuantong picked a pair of blue headphones. She was not as cautious as Lin Qiyu. She just plugged it in casually and quietly enjoyed Xiaoyang's singing. The two girls went to listen to music, and Xiaoyang felt relieved. It's better than chirping in your own ear. That's it. Good. The three of them sat on a bench by the roadside. It only took about half an hour, and Lu Xing seemed to have finished his work and called Xiaoyang. Lu Xing's cursing voice came from the phone. It seems that the resignation process was not smooth, but from what he said, it was finally completed, although the process might not have been very comfortable. Chapter 49, The Road to Self-Reliance of a High-Quality Rich Man. Lu Xing came soon, cursing. However, when he saw King Xuantong and Lin Qiyu beside Xiaoyang, he immediately forced a friendly smile on his face. Although he knew that the other person's heart belonged to Xiaoyang, as long as he was a man, he could not help but show the open-mindedness that a man should have in front of girls, especially beautiful girls. This time, open the car door. I'll sit in the front, Lin Qiyu said and sat down steadily. She finally understood that there was no point in comparing these things with King Xuantong, as she felt that the other person had no shame at all. Okay, you sit down, Xiaoyang nodded. Lu Xing took the key and sat in the driver's seat. Lin Qiyu. King Xuantong just giggled and opened the car door like a gentleman. Xiaoyang, please. After saying that, King Xuantong glanced at Lin Qiyu. You didn't expect that. Xiaoyang smiled and sat in, followed by King Xuantong. But before the car started, Lin Qiyu had already gotten out, opened the door, and squeezed in. Xiaoyang glanced at the two of them and felt helpless. Lin Qiyu, what do you mean, aren't you too crowded? King Xuantong glared at him, but still moved her body to give him some space. I just like to be crowded, what's wrong with that? If you feel too crowded, go sit in the front. Lin Qiyu's attitude was rarely tougher. Okay, just squeeze in. Lu Xing started the car with envy in his eyes. The journey from JM City back to Zhongdu was not too far. And in the car, the two girls chatted for a while before they couldn't help falling asleep. After all, they got up early today, and both of them couldn't stop yawning. And he leaned on Xiaoyang's shoulder and narrowed his eyes. His earphones were filled with the song Sunny Day, sung by Xiaoyang just now. If nothing unexpected happened, this song should have been played on repeat by both of them. On this side, Xiaoyang started chatting slowly with Lu Xing. Lao Xiao, what am I going to do over there? Just drive. You're still a student, how many times can you take a bus? Xiaoyang thought about it and felt that this was true. Lu Xing was an honest man. If he was only allowed to drive when he had nothing to do and was paid, he would probably feel uncomfortable. Besides, I can't be a driver forever. Xiaoyang shook his head. Let me think about it again. Then he asked, what have you been doing these years? I worked as a car mechanic for a while when I just graduated from school, and learned a few tricks from the master. Later, I went into marketing to sell houses, sell cars, including real estate agency, house rental. I did all of these. Lu Xing was also full of emotion. After all, who doesn't want to stand out? You can't be a repairman all your life. But with my low education level, I couldn't do much. Later, when I saw that the requirements for handing out flyers on the streets to sell houses were not high, I just followed suit. I went around in circles and did a lot of work, but I didn't get anything done. Old Chow, you made so much money. What did you do? It can't be something illegal, Lu Xing suddenly said. If it's something illegal, I advise you to stop it immediately. Am I that kind of person? Xiao Yang shook his head. Lu Xing also knew Xiao Yang, and he was just speaking casually. But Xiao Yang himself took this matter to heart. Although the money in the system is deposited through formal channels, the bank will not notice anything. But if Lu Xing asked me this, how should I answer? This is a headache. How about doing some real business? Xiao Yang pondered for a moment, and at this moment, a ding sound suddenly came from his mind. Ask Release. The road to self-reliance for high-quality rich people. Use existing financial resources to earn 5 million in profits. Reward Jiangdu City's future one-year planning map. I really have to make money by myself. Xiao Yang was a little shocked. I didn't expect the task to come so suddenly. I already have a system, and if you don't let me just lie down and play, how can I be considered a top-notch rich man? And it doesn't matter. Why not give it a try so that you don't have to find excuses in the future? But what should I do? Xiao Yang was a little distressed. He studied economics, but in fact, all students of this major knew that this major, although it sounded very impressive, actually meant learning everything. But in fact, learning nothing. Others who study finance or accounting will learn this in depth. But in economics, you learn everything. It's all basic. In other words, I learned the basics of everything, but I didn't learn anything. Therefore, starting from your own major is basically hopeless. The journey back to Jiangdu took only more than 2 hours. And during these 2 hours, Xiao Yang had been thinking about this problem. It was not until he entered Jiangdu City that Xiao Yang came to his senses. Let's send her back to school first, Xiao Yang said slowly. Do you know which school King Xuantong is in? Jiangdu University Medical School. Lu Xing replied, and then asked. No, given the situation you two are in now, tell me you still don't know which school she is in? Xiao Yang himself really didn't know this. He seldom paid attention to what schools others got into. Especially when he was in high school, cold goddesses like King Xuantong, whom he felt were from the different worlds. Who knew this goddess seemed to be crooked? Then let's go to Jiangda Medical School. It's on the way. Chaoyang is located in the university town basically. All the universities in Jiangdu are in the same urban area, so it is convenient for him. Lu Xing was not familiar with Jiangdu City, so he turned on the navigation and drove there. That's it. And she's still a goddess. He let out a long sigh. Lin Qiyu was fine, but King Xuantong was really careless. Just go to sleep, why are you drooling? Even this is it. And she's still a goddess. Looking at his wet left shoulder, Xiao Yang's face was full of disgust. After a while, we arrived at the medical school. Xiao Yang quickly woke King Xuantong up. Arrive? King Xuantong opened her eyes dazed, looking bewildered. We're here. She wiped the red marks on her face, and then noticed the saliva all over the floor when she was sleeping on Xiao Yang's shoulder. My face suddenly felt hot, and the flushed face looked really beautiful. Xiao Yang handed over a tissue and said with disgust, "Get out of the car quickly, damn, this dress of mine is new." Zhang Yan bought it, King Xuantong giggled. "Get out," Xiao Yang said impatiently, wiping the water stains off his shoulders. "It's okay, I'll buy you new clothes next time." As she spoke, King Xuantong felt a little embarrassed and opened the car door and prepared to get out. After thinking about it, he suddenly turned around. "MUA!" Before Xiao Yang could react, he was pecked on the red lips, and a red mark immediately appeared on his face. "King Xuantong, you're looking for death," Xiao Yang said with disgust, wiping the red marks on his face. Seeing Xiao Yang's reaction, King Xuantong smiled instead of getting angry. "Remember to come find me." "Well, go away." At this time, there were quite a few people at the school gate, and many of them knew Xuantong, the recognized president of this medical school. Seeing her getting out of a car, everyone's faces were filled with shock. Is this King Xuantong? Fuck, I just saw her kissing a boy? No way, the school was kidnapped. Oh my god, what's going on? This is big news. For a time, news was flying everywhere. King Xuantong from the medical school got out of the mysterious man's car. But it be that she is being kept by the boss? Bullshit. That's a Volkswagen. A goddess would be attracted to a boss who drives a Volkswagen. No, a boss who drives a Volkswagen is worthy of being called a boss. Indeed, the eldest son of the Fang family drove a Maserati to confess his love to her. But she refused. Chapter 50. How about giving it a try? In the car, Xiao Yang also checked his current assets. It doesn't matter if you don't look at it, but it will be shocking once you do. The balance of the bank card on the phone is still more than 14 million. You make money really quickly. I have to thank you very much. Xiao Yang turned his head and glanced at Lin Qiyu, who was resting her head on his shoulder. I have to say, this little girl is really pretty and she sleeps very quietly. Unlike some people, who just sleep and don't drool. This is the biggest profit I've made every time I confess my love and get rejected. It costs me 5 million. Xiao Yang was filled with emotion. At this time, the car had already arrived near the school. Xiao Yang looked up and coincidentally, he ran into Li Ji and others in the dormitory. Signaling Lu Xing to stop the car, Xiao Yang also started to greet his brothers. Lao Li, where are you going? Lao Xiao, you're back. How is uncle's illness? Very good, Xiao Yang replied with a smile. Li Ji, on the other hand, had sharp eyes and immediately spotted Lin Qiu sleeping on Xiao Yang's shoulder. What the hell, Lin Qiu? No way. Only then did everyone notice that their principal was sitting next to Xiao Yang. Damn it, not confessing for the 100th time is an explanation to myself. I believed your lies, Li Ji said with a face full of jealousy. Damn, I thought you really went home, but it turns out you took our colonel on a honeymoon. Everyone started to tease. What are you talking about? I'm just bringing her back. Xiao Yang rolled his eyes at everyone. If you believe my lies again, I will wash my hair standing upside down. Everyone chatted for a while, and Lin Qiu had already woken up. Looking around in a daze. Colonel Lin's look made everyone fall to their knees in cuteness. And they felt even more envious and jealous. Xiao Yang. Lin Qiu murmured, like a coquettish kitten. We're at school now. You go back first, I have something else to do, I won't take you there. Yeah, Lin Qiu yawned, then noticed that there were many people watching outside the car. Suddenly her face was filled with shyness, and she lowered her head, packed her things, and got out of the car. After Lin Qiu left, Xiao Yang began to introduce himself to everyone. This is Lu Xing, my childhood friend. Lu Xing also greeted everyone. Li Ji patted Lu Xing on the shoulder and said enviously, that's great, brother you, driving the car now, this car must be worth 180,000 yuan. Just as Lu Xing was about to answer, Xiao Yang said, yes, this car belongs to Lu Xing, and we asked him to send it back. Seeing this, Lu Xing didn't explain. Since everyone is here, let's go eat some skewers, Xiao Yang suggested. After all, Lu Xing had been driving for a whole day, and this was his first time in Jiangdu. So I might as well welcome him. Why are you eating skewers in broad daylight? Li Ji shook his head. It's my treat, Xiao Yang waved his hand. As soon as Xiao Yang finished speaking, everyone agreed. It's your turn to treat us, damn it. Without us, how could you have hooked up with Colonel Lin? Someone said. It is indeed true, Xiao Yang can't think of a different gift every day. So he needs his brothers to come up with ideas. It's time to treat everyone. Li Ji, who was talking about treating guests in broad daylight, was now rubbing his hands. Brothers, today is the day to bankrupt Lao Xiao. Xiao Yang smiled and said, eat me out of money. Joke. Buddy, can I expect this 10 million to bankrupt you? When they arrived at the place, Xiao Yang and his group ordered dishes directly. However, after seeing the menu, Xiao Yang became curious. Why has the price increased? Although Xiao Yang didn't care about this little bit of money, he felt that the price had increased a lot, by nearly 1/3. Everyone's seeing an increase. Except for the fact that wages haven't increased. The waiter shook his head. After everyone left, Li Ji slowly said, yeah, it's like this now, especially these 2 days. The weather is cold, and everything is rising, except the temperature. In the past, we only spent about 10 yuan on a meal. But now if we order takeout, plus the delivery fee and packaging fee, it will be 7 or 8 yuan. The original price of the food is only 10 yuan. But it is marked as 20 yuan, and then a 5 yuan coupon is given. You think you have made the profit, but in fact, the price has increased by several yuan. Xiao Yang really didn't pay much attention to these things. He either ate out or in the cafeteria and seldom ordered takeout or anything like that. He didn't expect the food to be so expensive. After hearing what people said, now when you order takeout for dozens of yuan, you won't get it delivered, because there is a minimum delivery price. From what you said, the catering business is quite profitable, but the platform is still the most profitable. Take this skewer for example. This pound of meat only costs a few dollars. But these 2 or 3 pieces of cut meat can be sold on the skewer for $1 or $2. The profit here is terrifyingly high. Is it that good? And what about King Xuantong's family? Lu Xing stopped talking halfway. Xiao Yang thought about it, and thought that it might be because the area where King Xuantong and her friends lived was too bad. After all, the school was relocated and was originally located in a small alley. Even the best wine would not be popular if it was not well known in a small alley. As the skewers and dishes were served, everyone stopped discussing the topic and started toasting each other. Fortunately it was noon and I didn't drink much. However, Lu Xing ate for a while and said to Xiao Yang with a smile, this barbecue is far worse than King Xuantong's. Xiao Yang also smiled. Indeed, but their business is still good. Speaking of this, Xiao Yang suddenly had an idea. If others can do this business, why can't I? The taste is not as good as King's Barbecue, but because it is located in the university town and is close to several schools, everyone chose this place. After all, many students come here to party. What they want is the atmosphere, and the taste is secondary. It's all about having fun. But if you can choose, why not choose the one that tastes better? Although there are many shops and night stalls here, the taste is indeed different from King's Barbecue. Xiao Yang's mind became active. At first he thought about it all the way in the car but couldn't figure out how to complete the system's task. Otherwise, try it. Chapter 51 Self-Service BBQ Plan. After eating and drinking, Xiao Yang asked his brothers to go back first. Lu Xing didn't drink during this period because he had to drive. Xiao Yang was not in a hurry to implement the idea of opening a barbecue restaurant that had already emerged in his mind, but instead helped Lu Xing find a place to live first. He can live in the dormitory, but Lu Xing can't. What Xiao Yang didn't expect was that although he had been in Jiangdu for more than 2 years, he still needed someone as experienced as Lu Xing to find a house. Anything on the internet is unreliable. There are black intermediaries, scammers, and all kinds of people. You have to find it yourself, Lu Xing said as he drove Xiao Yang to a building. Go directly to the landlord. Before you go to the landlord, you must first look at the property title. You must sign the contract, but you must read it carefully. Don't be bothered by it. Don't believe every word they say. Everything must be signed on the contract. However, they don't recognize some of the words on the contract. In this regard, Xiao Yang is indeed not as good as Lu Xing, who has extremely rich social experience. After finding a house and checking the property deeds, Lu Xing spent a long time looking at the rental contract. He only signed the contract after he saw everything, including the landlord's ID card. Originally Lu Xing wanted to just find a random house, but Xiao Yang insisted that he find one with a better environment. After all, he was his brother. Lu Xing also gladly accepted it. The house, which had 1 bedroom and 2 living rooms, was not big, but it was new and had just been renovated. It turned out that the landlord had just bought a new house and had just finished renovating it. Xiao Yang also gave a thumbs up. Lu Xing indeed knew much more than him. After settling down, it was already afternoon. Xiao Yang thought about it, and then expressed his idea of opening a barbecue restaurant. Lu Xing naturally had no objection. After all, he was used to eating the barbecue at King Xuantong's house. It had to be said that it was one of the best even in Jiangdu City. And I'll help you find a shop and then we'll get started. Lu Xing's expression brightened. He was afraid that he would really become an idle driver. If Xiao Yang was willing to find such a job for him, he would be more than happy to do it. Well, the location shouldn't be too far away. It'd be best if it's near our schools. Xiao Yang put forward his request. In just half a moment, the two decided to open a barbecue buffet. The key to King Xuantong's barbecue recipe lies in the ingredients. And Xiao Yang has already bought the recipe, so the taste will not be a problem. It is best to let the guests bake it themselves as long as the ingredients are provided. This can save labor costs and not waste too much time controlling things in the kitchen. Of course, this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is where the store is located. Since it is located in a university town, its customers must be students from nearby. College students have a lot of time on their hands, and they are also happy to grill their own food. The most important thing is that when they bring their sister along and eat the skewers they grill themselves, the sense of accomplishment is much greater than paying the bill directly. After all, students are not like office workers who think that self-service barbecue is troublesome. They are even eager to do it. Assume some good details. At this moment, Xiao Yang's eyes seemed to be flashing with the light of money. You know, this is not just about making money, it's also about completing tasks. The urban planning map of Jiangdu City for the next year. It smells so good just thinking about it. The two of them acted immediately. Although Lu Xing was not familiar with Jiangdu City, with his experience in this information-rich age, it was not difficult to find a shop. The rent for a 200 square meter shop is 30,000 yuan per month, with a minimum lease term of 1 year. Isn't this a bit expensive? Lu Xing looked at the landlord and said in a deep voice. At this time, they took a fancy to a shop near the school. Xiao Yang remembered that there had been advertisements of Jiangdan Leather Factory here every day. They had been selling it off for several years unexpectedly. They finally succeeded in clearing out the inventory. It was not easy. Xiao Yang still has great confidence and trust in Lu Xing. After all, Lu Xing has been working outside for so many years and also has to support his younger brothers and sisters to go to school. It would be impossible to do that without some skills. Sure enough, after a while, the landlord agreed with a hesitant look on his face. The rent was reduced from 30,000 to 30,000, but the requirement was that 1 year's rent must be paid. This is no problem for Xiao Yang. The annual rent is only 360 yuan. After confirming that there were no problems with the contract and other documents, Xiao Yang signed them. How long will it take before we can open for business? Xiao Yang asked. At least a week, Lu Xing looked around and said. As for the business license, it will probably be available soon. But procurement, including labor and other aspects, may take more than a week. So long, Xiao Yang said in surprise. This is already fast. Lu Xing thought. What if I want to go faster? Xiao Yang asked. That's fine, but I need manpower. I can't do these things by myself. Lu Xing sighed. After all, it requires certification, decoration, labor, and procurement, and these things are indeed very complicated. Xiao Yang thought for a moment and said, find someone tomorrow. The sooner we open the business, the better. There will be no problem with the money. I will transfer the money to you later. When Lu Xing heard what Xiao Yang said, he didn't know what to say. He thought for a moment and said, 3 days, I'll find someone to do the renovation now. Xiao Yang agreed immediately. If we find a decorator now, he will probably have to work overnight, which would probably cost a lot more than the original estimate. However, Xiao Yang didn't care. What he was sure of now was that this business should be able to make money. That night and that day would be a loss. He had to make a profit anyway. The sooner the better, and he could complete the system task as soon as possible. I transferred 1 million into Lu Xing's card. When Lu Xing saw the balance, he had an idea in mind. He sent Xiao Yang back to school and went to take care of these things. Actually, there's no need to be so anxious. Find more manpower. After thinking about it, Xiao Yang still gave Lu Xing a few instructions. When he returned to the dormitory, it was already evening. Xiao Yang was quite tired after running around all day. So he took a shower and went to bed. Little did they know that at this moment, many people couldn't sleep. Did you see clearly? It really came from a man's car? I don't believe it. Can anyone provide me with this person's information? I'm going to kill him. Why would a guy driving a Volkswagen mess with our King Xuantong? In the forum of Zhangde University Medical College, a pin post is hanging high. In each picture, there was only a photo of King Xuantong stepping out of the car. In addition, the most important thing is a relatively blurry photo. It was a photo of King Xuantong's red lips falling on the other person's face. I can't tolerate my uncle, but I can't tolerate my aunt. Who is this kid? He should be killed. How could such a perfect person like King Xuantong be attracted to an NEI? I don't believe it. How could King Xuantong like a man? Since no one can catch up with Xiao, why not just let her be a goddess? How can someone succeed? I'll give you 2 forum coins and ask the killer to kill him. What they didn't know was that at this moment, their goddess was looking at these photos with a smile on her face. And with a click of the mouse, she saved them all. Chapter 50 To the Long Night. Xuantong. Is what is said on this forum true? Who is that man? You're not really going to kiss him, are you? Oh, no way. Our arrogant principal really fell in love with a man. Whose man is this? He is so lucky. At the side, the sound of roommates chattering was heard. And King Xuantong turned around and glared at them. Then, she sighed. I'm so lucky now. Even if I give myself to someone, no one wants me. Thinking about Lin Qiyu and Zhang Yan. King Xuantong couldn't help getting angry. Why? They all confessed their feelings. But I didn't. It was obviously me who knew Xiao Yang first. When the best friends and sisters heard what King Xuantong said, they were all stunned. Is there anyone in this world who would love to be with a man that no one else wants? Holy shit, this is probably even rarer than a panda. King Xuantong couldn't help but sulk, so she went back to her bed and put on headphones. The sound came. It was Xiao Yang's sunny day. The voice is still so gentle. The lights were turned off and the dormitory became quiet. It was dark all around, but it was as if Xiao Yang was whispering in her ear and singing emotionally for her alone. She suffers from insomnia. King Xuantong felt that as long as she closed her eyes she could sense Xiao Yang's figure looming beside her. It was obviously me who knew Xiao Yang first. King Xuantong bit her lip, feeling sour in her heart. Some memories gradually emerged in my mind. It was one night when I was a sophomore in high school. She was stopped by a group of drunken society youths. Just then, a figure appeared. A hero says a beauty. A very old-fashioned storyline, but she will always remember it. At that time, Xiao Yang was not as handsome as he is now. But his character was still the same, knowing how to react. Brave and decisive. There were some drunken young men and a second-year high school student. King Xuantong herself didn't know how Xiao Yang had the courage to rush forward. The lights were very dark that night, and Xiao Yang beat up several people by himself. Finally, the man was stopped by Xiao Yang, who let him go first. The next day, Xiao Yang didn't come to class. 2 weeks later, he was limping and his head was wrapped in a thick bandage. He didn't seem to know that he saved the student of his class and the principal of his school. And he didn't spread the matter everywhere, so that everyone thought he was a person who liked to fight. In fact, at that time, Xiao Yang's figure was already engraved in King Xuantong's heart. Later, the school held a party and said it would select the top 10 singers. Lu Xing came over and told her that Xiao Yang liked her and wanted to sing a song to express his love for her at the party. However, King Xuantong refused at that time, as she felt that high school should focus on studying. Later there was no later. In fact, King Xuantong was still thinking about Xiao Yang in her heart. But it was just because of a girl's modesty. She had always thought that she had almost forgotten Xiao Yang. Until she saw Xiao Yang in her own restaurant that day. And the vague feelings in her heart became clear. There is still a chance. King Xuantong opened Xiao Yang's WeChat, thought about it, typed a few words, but deleted them again. He should be asleep. King Xuantong murmured, but she tossed and turned and couldn't fall asleep. At this time, on the other side, in a pink, decorated room, the girl with a delicate face bit her lips and stared at the photos on her phone. The background of the photo is a little dim, but it is still clear. The girl looked at the boy who was resting his head on her shoulder mischievously, and moved closer with her red lips. In the next one, the lips touch. The girl's face was slightly red, creating a unique beauty in the dim light. Xiao Yang, I miss you so much. Zhang Yan muttered foolishly. She opened the address book on her phone and wanted to make a call. But the signal above the screen told her that there was no signal at all. Let alone making a call. Even surfing the internet was impossible. Yes, she was grounded. Not only that, the internet was also cut off. The girl casually played the piano in front of her for a few times, feeling a little depressed again. Chai Town. A middle-aged woman walked in. Mom, Zhang Yan quickly put away her phone. Chai Town. Don't blame your parents, this is all for your own good. Mother Zhang held Zhang Yan's head and said softly. Zhang Yan was stunned for a moment, then forced a smile. Mom knows that it's difficult for you to marry into the Fang family. But Fang Jingyang is well known in the circle and is also considered a handsome man. As a couple, you get used to it after getting along with each other. Your father and I went through the same thing. Zhang Yan just laughed, and her smile was a little bleak. Mom, don't think I don't know anything. The company has problems and needs the Fang family's help. So you want to get married? What do you mean by handsome? Don't I know who Fang Jingyang is? Zhang Yan smiled contemptuously. But her voice was calm. Mother Zhang was a little embarrassed. But she still smiled and said, you can't control this man's extramarital affairs. As long as he has you in his heart, that's enough. Young people, when they are more mature, these problems will not exist. So what? Zhang Yan's face darkened. I really want to ask you. Are you my biological mother? Zhang Yan asked. Jian's mother frowned. Her face changed, and she said sternly, Chai Chown, do you really think that the love stories in TV dramas and novels are real? Love is nothing more than a self-portrait of human emotions. Since ancient times, people have always valued a good match. Do you think that poor boy Xiao Yang can give you anything? Zhang Yan was stunned, and asked with a hint of anger. Are you investigating Xiao Yang? Mother Zhang did not answer this question and continued. You are a child from a working-class family. Your family is poor. But you also have a father who is seriously ill in bed. In such a family, even if you two are together for some so-called love, then what? Zhang Yan, have you ever thought about what kind of life you are living now? A life of luxury and comfort. What if you were with that poor boy? Could you help him take care of his seriously ill father? The first thing you do when you wake up every day is worry about what to eat today. You will worry about hundreds of dollars, or even dozens of dollars. You think you can live like that for the so-called love? But you know, when wrinkles slowly creep onto your face and when you can only put some low-quality cosmetics on your dressing table, you will remember your current life. But by then it will be too late for you to regret. You will already be a yellow-faced woman that no one loves. Chai Chown, do you think that the life we have now is so easy to come by? Your father and I have worked hard from scratch to get to where we are today. I cannot lose all this and cannot go back to that container of more than 10 or 20 square meters. You haven't experienced this, so you may not understand it. But Mom doesn't want you to go through this. Marry into the Fang family and continue to be your little princess. Nothing will change, do you understand? Jian's mother gave a long speech. With tears in her eyes. Zhang Yan was silent. She knew how hard it was for her parents to achieve everything they have today. Yes, just like she said, she didn't want to go back to that container of more than 10 or 20 square meters. Just like your mother, I beg you, for the sake of our Zhang family and your own sake, just marry into the Fang family. Mother Zhang let out a long sigh and left the room. Zhang Yan lowered her head, feeling a little tired. Xiao Yu and Lin Yan have you as their savior to help them. But what about us? Xiao Yang, where is our savior? Zhang Yan was fascinated by Xiao Yang's photo. It was a long night with a white moon hanging high in the sky. Another sleepless night. Chapter 53, the campus beauty of Lin University broke into the boys' dormitory. As usual, Xiao Yang was woken up by someone. It's very early. Lin Qiu is here. Although he guessed it, what surprised Xiao Yang was that Lin Qiu actually ran to the boys' dormitory. Yes, it's the boys' dormitory. I don't know how Lin Qiu fooled the dormitory manager, but he actually came in directly. As soon as they entered the dormitory, all the boys in the dormitory building were like frightened birds. Although they knew that Colonel Lin might not even look at them, let alone enter their dormitory, they still notified everyone in the dormitory immediately, washed their hair and faces, put on their most confident clothes, and stuffed as many height-enhancing insoles into their shoes as possible. Colonel Lin has entered the boys' dormitory. The news spread so quickly that the whole building became busy. If we were to select the most sanitary dormitories today, I guess every dormitory would be on the list. When Xiao Yang heard the news, he was still busy. As for Li Ji and his men, they had already gotten up. Xiao Yang, why the hell don't you hurry up and get up? Lin Qiu is here. Come if you want, Xiao Yang said in a daze. Just 3 seconds later, the whole person suddenly jumped up from the bed. What did you say? Lin Qiu is here. Yeah damn, it's so noisy outside. Can't you see, this noise? Xiao Yang took a breath. Although he didn't know how Lin Qiu tricked the dormitory manager into letting him in. This was too outrageous. What did she come for? To confess her love? Li Ji and his friends also cleaned up the place thoroughly. There were no smelly socks, they just threw them into the garbage bag and stuffed them into the bathroom. As for quilts and other things, they were folded uniformly according to military training standards. Although they knew that Colonel Lin was destined to be Xiao Yang's, no one wanted to embarrass himself in front of a girl, especially a beauty like Colonel Lin. Xiao Yang was fine. He didn't even fold the quilt, he just got out of bed and washed his face. Boom boom boom. There was a knock on the door. Here they come. Several roommates were excited. This is the first time the goddess has entered our dormitory. Where's the perfume? Spray it twice more. Xiao Yang looked at his roommate in a panic and had no choice but to go forward and open the dormitory door. Sure enough, it was Lin Qiu. Today she wore a light blue dress with a bow eyed at her collarbone, looking extremely gentle. Xiao Yang, Lin Qiu felt extremely happy when she saw Xiao Yang. How did you get in? Xiao Yang asked in shock. It's nothing. I just recognized the dormitory manager as my godmother, and she let me in, Lin Qiu said with a smile. It has to be said that Lin Qiu is a person who is naturally likable and has a very high level of friendliness. It seems that even the dormitory manager couldn't resist it. At this moment, sighs were heard from outside the door. Sure enough, he came to find Xiao Yang. Damn, what a beast. He let the goddess come to the dormitory to find him. What a beast. Xiao Yang, this bastard, I'm jealous. Someone give me a knife, I will kill Xiao Yang right now. This is so fucking infuriating. Xiao Yang quickly pulled Lin Qiu into the dormitory and closed the door. It's really too dangerous outside. Although the dormitory door may not be able to withstand it. Xiao Yang, good morning, I thought you weren't up yet. Lin Qiu said with a smile. Nonsense, if you hadn't come I would still be sleeping. Xiao Yang rolled his eyes at Lin Qiu. This made the guys in the dormitory dumbfounded. Is that how you talk to a goddess? What is nonsense? Shouldn't he just hug her, hold her in his arms, kiss her and say, I can't sleep without you, something like this, some cheesy love talk? Xiao Yang, do you know how to pick up girls? If not, let me do it. The brothers were gnashing their teeth when they saw this, especially Xiao Yang's indifferent look. Ha beast. But what no one expected was that Lin Qiu did not get angry but smiled, holding Xiao Yang's hand, and said shyly, I'm sorry. I woke you up, then when you wake up, send me a message and I'll come over. Oh shit. Oh shit. Several people were stunned. This little bird looks so dependent on people. My goodness, I am a student from Zhengde University of Finance and Economics. And I came to the boys' dormitory to find you early in the morning. Not only did you ignore me, but you even complained that our school goddess came too early? Most importantly, the goddess apologized. Turtle, I'm numb. It seemed that Li Ji really couldn't bear it anymore. He silently pulled a bed curtain and locked himself inside, thinking out of sight, out of mind. Xiao Yang smiled and said, It's okay, go to bed early and get up early. Then he asked, Why did you come so early? Having said that, Lin Qiu hurriedly handed the thing in his hand to Xiao Yang. It's a flute. Xiao Yang was stunned. I can't play the flute. But soon, Lin Qiu explained, when you confessed your love for me for the 4th time, you gave me a flute. Xiao Yang then remembered that when he was sending the gift, he found out that Lin Qiu liked to play the flute. So he prepared a flute to give to her. But I can't play the flute. Xiao Yang was at a loss whether to laugh or cry. Lin Qiu was stunned for a moment before he remembered. Yes, she just wanted to give the flute to Xiao Yang as a gift for his 4th confession. But I didn't care whether he could play the flute or not. What should I do then? Lin Qiu blinked her cute eyes, making her look lovable. Why don't you just play a flute for Xiaoyang? You guys are so annoying it's so early in the morning and I haven't even gone out for breakfast. You must be full, right? Li Ji's voice came from under the quilt. It sounds very resentful. Yeah, I'll play a tune for you. And then I'll confess my feelings. This is a great idea. Lin Qiu gave Li Ji a thumbs up and took out the flute. And let's have a sunny day. Lin Qiu thought about it and said directly. Can you make the sky sunny? Xiaoyang asked in surprise. Hey, don't underestimate me. I've listened to you singing many times. It's very easy to arrange the score, and it's even easier to play it. Lin Qiu said confidently with his head held high. Then you are really awesome. Xiaoyang was not stingy with his praise. Sure enough, when Lin Qiu heard Xiaoyang's praise, an extremely happy smile suddenly bloomed on her face. Her fingers rested lightly on the flute, and her red lips also fell on the flute holes. Bamboo flute, the sound is clear and loud. In an instant, the melodious sound of a flute spread. At this moment, Lin Qiu looked like a fairy, with a flute on her shoulder. If she changed her long skirt into ancient costume, she would really be a fairy from a TV drama. Several people in the dormitory were stunned and quickly took out their mobile phones to record the scene. Xiaoyang clasped his fists and had a faint smile on his face. I have to say, Lin Qiu is very beautiful, and this serious look is really pleasing to the eyes. And now he has the air of a cool and aloof schoolboy. After a while, the melodious sound of a flute came out of the dormitory and spread throughout the entire dormitory building. Chapter 54. The hatred for stealing my wife is irreconcilable. In an instant, the dormitory became quiet, with only the melodious music floating in the air. Unlike instruments like guitar, the flute has a clear and loud sound. It is as if the two people in the song are very close to each other and are just beginning to fall in love. In an instant, everyone was immersed in the melodious flute music. Damn, that looks like Colonel Lin playing the flute. Fuck you, you bastard, you even closed the door. Damn it. Principal Lin is beautiful and talented, but she was taken away by that bastard Xiaoyang. I hate her so much. A hatred for stealing my wife is irreconcilable. Xiaoyang, you and I cannot coexist. Outside the door, everyone could tell by the sound of the flute alone that Lin Qiu's bamboo flute was a unique skill in the University of Finance and Economics. It's a pity that not many people have heard of it. I have only heard others mention it, but now I know it by listening to it. What is the sound of nature? I couldn't help but imagine the fairy in the lively blue dress, now playing the flute. Unfortunately, we can only imagine. The door was closed and I couldn't see it at all. Xiaoyang stood there in a daze, somewhat surprised. I didn't expect that Lin Qiu could play Sunny Day with such a different flavor. There were many boys standing inside and outside the building. Of course, some people were woken up by the sound of the flute early in the morning. Damn it, who is playing the flute and disturbing my sweet dream? Shut up, that's my wife playing the flute. The roommate next to him cursed. Your wife? You can't even find a mother. You don't even have a girlfriend. When did you find a wife? That's Lin Qiu playing the flute. Lin Qiu. Fuck, my wife is playing the flute. The boys all looked towards the dormitory where the flute sound came from, with expressions of jealousy, envy, and enjoyment. But everyone had the same idea in their minds. You bastard Xiaoyang, I will never forgive you for stealing my wife. After a long time, the flute sound stopped. There was thunderous applause inside and outside the door. Xiaoyang looked at the girl in front of him, his eyes filled with tenderness. I don't know how many times Lin Qiu had listened to Sunny Day, but he was able to play it on the flute. It really took a lot of effort on his part. Pity. I still can't promise you. Xiaoyang let out a long sigh and glanced at the system's tasks. Lin Qiu's for confessions. Option 1, agree to confess. Reward, 1 million yuan. Option 2, reject the confession. Reward, quality enhancement pill. Remarks, quality enhancement pill. Enhance your own physical fitness. Is this the reward my buddy gave me for fighting Chen Bei last time and getting injured? Xiaoyang was a little speechless. I have to say that his physical condition may be a little better than that of the average person of his age, but not much better. The main reason is that he does not drink, smoke, or have any bad habits. But even so, I'm probably still far behind the athlete next door. Improve your physical fitness. Anything that is good for your body is priceless. So Xiaoyang didn't even think about it. This must be option 2. Looking at Lin Qiu, who was full of expectations, Xiaoyang could only feel a little guilty. Sorry, I have to reject you again. As if she could see through Xiaoyang's thoughts, Lin Qiu just smiled slightly. Her lively eyes seemed to say, it doesn't matter. Lin Qiu put her hands down, put the flute behind her, grabbed the hem of her skirt with both hands, with a hint of shyness on her face. Although she had confessed many times, this time, Lin Qiu was still like a shy little girl, raising her head and blinking her eyes. Xiaoyang, I like you, can you be my boyfriend? A voice came. Except for Xiao Yang. All the brothers froze in place. Good guy, I would like to call him a good guy. She ran to the boys' dormitory, sang a song, and confessed her love to Xiao Yang. This is a case of a girl chasing a boy. And the school is paying for it. The phones were not put down, and the brothers all held their breath and looked at Xiao Yang. Promise him, Lao Xiao. Xiao Yang looked at the girl in front of him and rubbed her little head. I'm sorry, we are not suitable. I think we can't start this relationship yet. A voice fell. Xiao Yang's voice seemed to carry a hint of magnetism. Although he refused, the girl still raised her head with admiration in her eyes. It doesn't matter. Lin Qiyu's eyes curved into a smile. As if she wasn't too disappointed, she just let out a long sigh. As if she was punching in to complete a task. To be honest, Xiao Yang's roommates seemed familiar with this scene. But how come they are swapped? In the past, it was Xiao Yang who confessed and was then rejected by Lin Qiyu. But now it is Lin Qiyu who confessed and Xiao Yang rejected. What are you two showing off? Append on. Li Ji cursed. In an instant, several voices responded in the dormitory. At this time, Lin Qiyu didn't care either. She just handed the flute to Xiao Yang. This is a gift from me to you, please accept it. Xiao Yang took the bamboo flute and put it to his lips in full view of everyone. The flute hole seemed to still be slightly warm. Xiao Yang blew it. No sound. It seems I can't learn it. Xiao Yang smiled. It's okay. Oh, I can teach you. Lin Qiyu's face was full of shyness. That was the flute she had just played to put it in an inappropriate way. The holes of the flute were still stained with her lip prints. Xiao Yang, is this considered an indirect kiss? As for Li Ji and his companions, they were so envious that their bodies were almost breaking apart. Xiao Yang used the flute that Colonel Lin had just played like this. Oh shit. Damn, I'm so envious and jealous. Even though they were good brothers, some of them had the urge to beat Xiao Yang to death. Xiao Yang just casually placed the flute on the table. Have you eaten? No, Lin Qiyu shook his head like a rattle. In fact, she didn't sleep well the whole night. The sound of Xiao Yang filling her ears made her feel extremely tormented. She finally waited until dawn, and the first thing she thought of was coming to see Xiao Yang. She didn't even remember what to eat for breakfast. Xiao Yang casually took a piece of clothing and put it on. Let's go, let's have breakfast first, it's my treat. Lin Qiyu immediately nodded obediently. And he put his hand on Xiao Yang's arm. The two of them opened the dormitory door. At this time, there were boys everywhere outside the door, looking at Xiao Yang, who was still a little dazed when he just came out. Like wolves and tigers. Make way, thank you, Xiao Yang said with a smile. Although everyone was indignant, they had no choice but to make way. Lin Qiyu just buried her head in Xiao Yang's shoulder. The expression on her face could not be seen, but her ears were already red all the way to her neck. It was not difficult to see the infinite sweetness surging in her heart. By the time the two of them left the dormitory, they could already hear the howling of wolves behind them. You bastard. My Qiyu, did you come and wake me up and tell me that this was just a dream and that what happened just now was not real? Wow, I'm heartbroken. What a coincidence, isn't it? We've both broken up. Xiao Jiou, the hatred for stealing my wife is irreconcilable. Chapter 55, Killing Dogs in the Cafeteria. Xiao Yang even regretted bringing Lin Qiyu to the school cafeteria for breakfast. As soon as the two of them appeared, Xiao Yang felt as if 10,000 pairs of eyes were looking at him. However, after a while, the small circle centered around the two of them inexplicably attracted a lot of spectators. Fuck, Xiao Yang really got Lin Qiyu. Having breakfast with Colonel Lin. I envy you. It turns out that if you confess your love 99 times, you can win the girl. If I had known, I would have confessed more times. Come on, you dare to compete with Xiao Yang. At this time, Lin Qiyu also noticed those gazes and could only lower her head and take small bites of the steamed bun. After several minutes, the steamed bun had gone cold, but the little girl was still holding it and chewing it. Xiao Yang also noticed it and reached out his hand slightly. It's all cold. Oh, yes, it's all cold. Looking again, I saw that she had only taken a small bite of the bun. I really don't know how she managed to eat it for several minutes. Xiao Yang took the steamed bun from Lin Qiyu's hand, put it aside, and then went to the window to bite the steamed buns. The steamed buns just out of the oven are steaming hot. Xiao Yang tore off a piece. Open your mouth. The cherry-like mouth opened slightly, and Xiao Yang suddenly became interested and fed the torn steamed bun into Lin Qiyu's mouth. For a moment, Lin Qiyu's whole face turned as red as a cherry. Her delicate neck was flushed red, and she looked extremely shy. There are so many people, she murmured, chewing the bun until it had no taste, and then swallowing it. My heart suddenly felt sweet. This was fed to me by Xiao Yang himself. The little girl raised her head with a happy face. Before Xiao Yang could speak, she had already opened her little mouth and asked to be fed. Oh my god. My mentality has collapsed, brothers. That's Lin Q, my dream goddess, who actually took the initiative to ask for food. Everyone wailed. However, Xiao Yang ignored it, seeing Lin Qiyu like this. Like a well-behaved kitten, Xiao Yang suddenly felt she was cute and scratched the tip of her nose with his finger. Then he tore off a piece of steamed bun and fed it to him. Lin Qiyu started chewing with contentment. What he was chewing was steamed bun. And it was ordinary white steamed bun. But there is a sweet taste in the mouth. Okay, eat it yourself. It's not a good habit to open your mouth when food is served. I still have classes to go to after I finish eating. Xiao Yang rubbed Lin Q's little hand, stuffed the remaining steamed bun into her hand, and said, "Okay," Lin Q said obediently. He picked up the steamed bun and ate it bite by bite. But his eyes were always on Xiao Yang, as if Xiao Yang was the only one left in the world. I'm numb from being killed. Why am I here for breakfast so early in the morning? I'm an idiot. I'll be considered a dog if I come to the cafeteria to eat breakfast next time. This steamed bun has no taste at all." The boy looked at the steamed bun in his hand with a frustrated look on his face. It's just a steamed bun. Why does the goddess eat it so sweetly? The other boys are pretty much the same. Anyway, I can't eat anything now. I don't know if it's because I ate too much dog food, or if the steamed buns are really tasteless, but I feel numb. Kill like crazy. The entire cafeteria was filled with the howling of dogs. Lin Q returned to the dormitory. As soon as I entered the dormitory, several close friends from the dormitory surrounded me. How's it going, Shuoi? How was the battle today? It seems that Xiao Yang couldn't help but agree. I said, as a man, who can resist the temptation of our Xiaoyu? However, these 3 or 4 confessions have given Xiao Yang enough face. If he refuses again, he will be ungrateful. When everyone saw the sweet smile on Lin Qiyu's face, they started to guess. But Lin Qiyu just shook her head and smiled. No, Xiao Yang rejected my confession again today. As soon as the words were spoken, the whole place fell into dead silence. Jiwo, are you okay? Is it too much of a blow? You confessed your feelings and got rejected, or aren't you upset? Is there anyone who is as happy as you when his confession is rejected? How about I help you make an appointment at the psychiatric department? Li Shikaun said worriedly. From yesterday's fragments, they also understood that this time when Lin Qiyu went to the wedding banquet, she unexpectedly met Xiao Yang. From what she said, she confessed again. Including this time, it must be 3 or 4 times. Is she used to being rejected? Could it be that Shuoi has a masochistic physique? How can she be so happy? You won't understand, love is so wonderful. Lin Qiyu shook her head, recalling the scene in the cafeteria just now. She felt so sweet in her heart that she couldn't help licking her lips. It's hopeless. All the girlfriends shook their heads. Just then, someone said, "Look at the forum." Everyone opened the school forum and found out what had just happened. Fuck, Lin Qiyu, you broke into the boys' dormitory. Are you that fierce? The girls were stunned Lin Qiyu's action. Is this really something a principal would do? A post should have been sent by one of Xiao Yang's not-so-smart roommates. Inside the dormitory, Lin Qiyu was looking at Xiao Yang lovingly. Then, the sound of a flute sounded. The girls couldn't help but praise her. Xiao Yu's flute playing is still so beautiful. Yeah. I envy Shuoi so much, she's multi-talented, pretty, and knows a lot. Lin Qiyu's face was full of pride. The women were all obsessed with the music. What song is this? I've never heard you play it before. Shuoi, is it a new song? It sounds really nice. It feels like a campus love song. But the sound of the bamboo flute is too crisp. The flavor is not very strong. The women started talking about it. Lin Qiyu smiled and said sweetly, "This is the song Xiao Yang wrote for me, Sunny Day." Xiao Yang can also write songs. The girls were extremely shocked. No way, you said this song was written by Xiao Yang? Yes, it was written by Xiao Yang, he sang it to me yesterday. Lin Qiyu said, infatuated lie, with Xiao Yang's shadow all in his mind. She turned on her phone and saw a scene of Xiao Yang singing, Sunny Day Live. But because it was on the street, the noise was very mixed. The voice came quietly, and everyone looked over. Is this Xiao Yang? You know what? Xiao Yang looks pretty handsome holding a guitar. Yeah, this prelude is very nice. I feel the music is very simple, but the prelude is unusually nice. Lin Qiyu raised his eyebrows. Yes, this is my big boy, isn't he handsome? Aren't you envious? She calmly turned down the sound in the video, and then turned on the audio in the computer. This is on the street there. As too much noise, let me show you our Xiao Yang's lossless version. After a while, a melodious sound came out. Lin Qiyu made adjustments to align the sound and picture. The little yellow duck in the story has been floating since the year it was born. A lazy voice spread. All of a sudden, everyone's eyes lit up. Sounds good. The knock on the level sounds good. Chapter 56. Apply. As the singing became more intense, the girls' expressions became brighter and brighter. Li Shikan muttered, I finally understand why Shuoi can confess again and again. She keeps on confessing even when she fails. From this angle, Xiaoyang is no longer a man, he is a male god. I cried. This is the best love song I have ever heard in my life. No, if this continues, everyone in our dormitory will become a love rival. Everyone was filled with emotion. Lin Qiyu held her head high. She was happier when she heard her best yes praising Xiaoyang than when she herself heard the praise. Xiaoyu, can I also confess my love to Xiaoyang? He is so handsome. After the song was over, someone said with big eyes, no, you can't like Xiaoyang, he is mine. Not hiding the joy in her heart at all. Xiaoyang and Xiaoyu are in love with each other. There are many good men around it. It's hard to find a three-legged frog. But is it hard to find a two-legged man? Others also said with a smile. This is the only Xiaoyang with 2 legs. Lin Qiyu's face was full of pride. This is our big boy. At this time, they continued to browse the posts on the forum. I just don't know who edited it, and even the last confession was included. You really refused. Xiaoyang is so cruel. Oh my god. You two were so close, I thought you were going to kiss. But you told me Xiaoyang refused. I've taken off my pants. Show me this. The girl said indignantly. Don't worry. I'm not angry, Lin Qiyu laughed. Why do I feel like you, Shuo, are becoming more and more like a dog licker? Really? Lin Qiyu barked twice, does it look like it? Damn it, if you scream twice more, I'll record it and send it to Xiaoyang. No, Lin Qiyu closed her mouth tightly and started to play with her roommates. The other side. The posts on the forum were already very popular at this time. Countless people opened the video and started watching it. At first, when everyone saw the goddess playing the flute, they held their breath and enjoyed it slowly. The goddess plays the flute so beautifully. If someone asks me what I think the 7 fairies in mythology look like, I can almost confirm that they look like Lin Qiyu. Upstairs 1. The fairy in my dream looks like this. So ethereal. A painting style is beautiful, the people are good looking, and the voices are pleasant. This will definitely be a beautifully produced MV once it is released. And just after the flute sound ended, everyone couldn't help but wail collectively. What a beast. My goddess actually confessed to me. Goddess, can you please stand up a little bit, even if it's a confession? Can you hold your head high and hold your chest out? I feel so bad my goddess failed in her confession. Why isn't she sad at all? I didn't even have a chance to get involved. I'm numb. Why is my goddess like a dog? She's not even sad after being rejected. Xiaoyang, old man, I will never forgive you. Me too. At this time, the people who had just eaten a mouthful of dog food in the cafeteria were already stunned. Xiaoyang rejected Lin Qiyu's confession, so was what happened in the cafeteria just now an illusion? Some people didn't know yet, but when they saw this question, they came up to ask. Just now in the cafeteria? Someone explained. In just a short while, this floor was swallowed up by the fucking hell. Oh Kellen Q, Colonel Lin. He really became a bootlicker. It's numb. Tired of love. At this time, Xiaoyang, the instigator, appeared in front of a store. Lu Xing, with dark circles under his eyes, stood aside. Xiaoyang frowned and said, you didn't stay up all night, did you? At this time, just overnight, more than half of the store was renovated. There are all kinds of people coming and going inside and outside. And everyone is busy. No, I slept for a few hours, Lu Xing smiled. Seeing Xiaoyang's worried look, he added, it's okay. It's much easier than when we first came out. Back then we worked day and night. But now we're just getting started. Lu Xing checked the time and said, I posted some job postings yesterday and will be looking for some people to apply. I've made an appointment and it should be almost time now. Let's go check it out together. Xiaoyang nodded and said, why don't you go and have a rest? I'll keep an eye on this. Just leave them to me and I'll do the interview. Lu Xing shook his head and refused decisively. Let's go together. Some people are not as honest as you can see from their faces. You are too simple. Xiaoyang touched his forehead awkwardly. Indeed, this has to be done by Lu Xing. But this simple? That's an exaggeration. The two of them cursed at each other with laughter. And Lu Xing received several calls. It's in the milk tea shop outside Zhangde University of Finance and Economics. Yes. After chatting for a few words, Lu Xing hung up the phone. People are coming soon, let's go first. Xiaoyang and Lu Xing walked into the milk tea shop. 2 cups of grass jelly, thank you. Xiaoyang ordered something. And the two of them sat in the corner of the milk tea shop. I have asked someone to apply for the business license. The landlord will help me with the tables and chairs. As for the ingredients, I plan to find them myself tomorrow. After all, these are eaten by people, and I don't feel comfortable with other people handling them. Lu Xing began to briefly talk about the situation of the store. You can see that he is really busy. Xiaoyang patted his good brother on the shoulder. Just tell me if you need anything. Don't worry. Just give me the money, Lu Xing laughed. I have to say that Lu Xing is really reliable. And Xiao Yang feels relieved. After a while, three girls pushed the door and walked into the milk tea shop. They glanced around and their eyes were fixed on the two of them. He hesitated for a while and didn't come over directly, but made a phone call. Lu Xing picked up the phone. It's here, come over. After hearing Lu Xing's words, the three of them dared to come over. I'm sorry, you are so young. You seem to be the same age as us, so we thought we recognized the wrong people, said several girls somewhat embarrassed. There were three people sitting opposite Xiao Yang and the other two. They should be freshmen and sophomores. They were a little shy, with their hands on their legs, looking a little at a loss. Instead, Xiao Yang smiled and said, "What would you like to drink?" Ah! Several people were stunned for a moment. Relax. It's just a simple interview, Lu Xing said with a smile. Only then did they relax and ordered a cup of milk tea. Xiao Yang looked up and saw that all three girls looked good, especially the one leading the group. She was very pretty and not much worse than Lin Qiu. She has a ponytail and looks cute. The other two also have good looks. If we recruit them into the store, I'm afraid we will have a lot of boys from several nearby schools. Bite. Released Ask. Chapter 57 Special Development Mission. Task. Xiao Yang shuddered and quickly checked the system. Mission release, Cultivation of a Strong Woman Special. Ask Introduction. Behind every successful man there is a woman on the road to becoming a super rich man. You need a woman to work with you. Task Target, Zhang Shangzhu. Get phased rewards based on Zhang Shangzhu's character growth. No more? What's the meaning? Xiao Yang was a little confused. A special mission, and also a growth mission, with periodic rewards. I always feel that it is somewhat similar to the mate training in a certain web game. Xiao Yang frowned slightly and looked at the three girls in front of him. Before Lu Xing could speak, Xiao Yang took the lead and said, "Please introduce yourselves first." Lu Xing looked at Xiao Yang with a smile. That's a smile that only men can understand. My name is Zhang Shangzhu, and I'm a sophomore at the Zhengde University Business School. Well, here's my resume. After saying that, Zhang Shangzhu handed over his resume. Just as Lu Xing was about to pick it up, Xiao Yang grabbed it away. There was nothing special on the resume, so Xiao Yang just took a casual look at it. What he was curious about now was why the system assigned such a task. How should we complete the face tasks? At this time, Zhang Shangzhu frowned slightly, but didn't say anything. Xiao Yang glanced at Lu Xing and said, "Take a look at them both." Lu Xing nodded and took the resumes of the other two people and looked at them. At this moment, Zhang Shangzhu suddenly became alert. She knew what her beautiful appearance represented. And when she saw Xiao Yang's impatient look, she felt a little uncomfortable. Xiao Yang didn't pay attention and said casually, "Zhang Shangzhu. Right? If possible, you can go to work the day after tomorrow. 7-day internship, monthly salary 5,000, any problem?" Zhang Shangzhu was stunned for a moment. She didn't seem to have any idea about money. She was just curious why it was so easy to get the job. She couldn't help but think of the various rumors that were often exposed, saying that some people in society were supporting female college students in the name of love. She was not a materialistic girl. To her, money was just a statistic. She frowned and asked, "Are you sure you are hiring a cashier?" Zhang Shangzhu applied for a cashier job. "Yeah, is there any problem?" Xiao Yang was slightly stunned. He smiled again. "Of course. There may be more than just cashiers." "Really?" Zhang Shangzhu's face suddenly showed displeasure. "There are also some basic jobs such as accounting and cashier." Xiao Yang continued. At this moment, the girl next to him hesitated and said, "Boss, it's not that we doubt you. I've actually looked for a job before. In fact, many part-time jobs don't even pay 2,000 yuan. So you are afraid that I am lying to you?" Xiao Yang immediately understood. He smiled and said, "Don't worry, I'm telling the truth. I'm also a student myself, a junior at Zhengde University of Finance and Economics across the street. If you don't believe me, just ask anyone on campus. There should be someone who knows me." Xiao Yang is still very confident about his fame. Thanks to Tolin Q, Xiao Yang didn't dare to say anything about the girls. But as for the boys, almost no one had not heard of his name. The three girls breathed a sigh of relief and looked at Xiao Yang in astonishment. "So you started your own business during college? That's amazing." "No, this is a shop that I opened with my childhood friend. It's a proper barbecue shop, just on the street next door. You can go and have a look later. It is still under renovation." After hearing Xiao Yang's affirmation, the three of them felt relieved. After all, the identity of a student does give people a great sense of trust. Lu Xing just stood there in a daze. "Didn't I agree to be the one for the interview?" "Xiao Yang," Lu Xing whispered in his ear. "Don't worry. You can take care of the other two, but you have to keep Zhang Shangzhu for me," Xiao Yang said in a low voice. Lu Xing nodded and showed an intriguing smile. Lu Xing also read the resumes of the other two girls. But unlike Xiao Yang, Lu Xing made an estimate and offered a monthly salary of 4,000. The two girls were naturally very happy, although they had 1,000 less than Zhang Shangzu. It was much more than finding other places near the school. 2 waiters and a cashier. Lu Xing and Xiao Yang then met the others one by one. At this moment, a buzzing sound rang in Xiao Yang's mind. The training of a strong woman special recruitment stage mission completed. Reward: good luck in opening a business only available on Zhang Shangzu. Note: after the new store opens, it will bring in a stable flow of customers in the short term. The flow of customers depends on the size of the store. The good luck effect for the grand opening is only applied to Zhang Shangzu? So, I'm just a wage-earner. Xiao Yang rubbed his head. Oh boy, so this is a development game, right? I completed the task and the reward was transferred to Zhang Shangzu. But if she runs away and starts her own business, then my mission would have been in vain. Is there an estimated value for this stable customer flow and the opening time of the new store? Xiao Yang asked the system with some confusion. Fortunately, this time the system did not waste time and directly gave an estimated value. In the first 7 days after the opening of the new store, which is close to the size of a barbecue restaurant, it can bring in 15 to 2,000 customers. Xiao Yang was immediately surprised by this number. With a customer flow of more than 1,000 or 2,000, let alone a simple barbecue restaurant, it would be profitable no matter what you open. However, there are only 7 days, and whether these customers can be turned into stable customers within these 7 days is still a question. If you do the math, even if only 30 remains, that would still be 600 to 700 customers, which is enough for a barbecue restaurant. However, if you want to complete the previous task and earn 5 million, it will take a lot of time just to run a barbecue restaurant. At this time, Lu Xing patted Xiao Yang on the shoulder. Old Xiao. What's wrong? As a brother, there are some things I must remind you. The land of pleasure is indeed beautiful, but you should not mix it with your career. It is easy to get into trouble. Lu Xing sighed. What are you saying? I don't understand a word you said. Xiao Yang was stunned. What I mean is, you already have King Xuantong, Lin Qiu, and Zhang Huayan on Team S with Zhang Shangzu. What are you thinking about? Xiao Yang rolled his eyes at Lu Xing, rubbed his nose, and said, don't you know who I am? I'm not interested in women. Have you seen Zhang Shangzu's resume? She is actually quite famous in the business school. She is a talented woman. We have a small shop and it is a waste of her talent to use her as a cashier. She is a top student majoring in finance. We just need to collect money and check accounts. We make money. You won't understand even if I tell you. Just wait and see. Xiao Yang smiled. Lu Xing shook his head and sighed. At least leave one for me. Chapter 58. Sleeping in Xiao Yang's bed. After wandering around with Lu Xing for a whole day, Xiao Yang finally realized what hard work was. He was fine, but Lu Xing was obviously very tired after forcing Lu Xing to go back to rest. Xiao Yang also went back to rest. The store here has been almost completed. According to the two people's ideas, this store will be called Xingyang. Although Lu Xing strongly opposed it, saying that it was not good to bring him along. After all, he didn't make much, and the money has always been paid by Xiao Yang. But later on, Xiao Yang insisted, because both of them had difficulty in naming. Early in the morning of that day, Xiao Yang woke up in a daze. Lin Qiu didn't come this time. Xiao Yang went to take a look at the store. The store had already been renovated and the tables and chairs would be delivered in the evening. Lu Xing went to look for ingredients and the business license was almost ready, so they could open tomorrow. On the way, I met Zhang Shangzu and others. They came to take a look at the store and I felt relieved. After the contract was signed, it meant that I would come to the store to work after 5 p.m. every day and return to school on time at 11 p.m. As for the second half of the night, Lu Xing also found other people. And now everything was ready except opening the business. Meanwhile, in the girls' dormitory, Lin Qiu sat on the edge of the bed. Swinging her long legs, her crystal clear feet were slightly red, making her look extremely cute. But at this moment, she was biting her lips, with a hint of pain on her face. After putting on the headphones, Xiao Yang's voice came. Lin Qiu felt much better now. Curling up into a ball and wrapping himself in the quilt, Lin Qiu looked at the ceiling and muttered to himself. How annoying. I didn't confess my feelings today. Xiao Yang won't be angry, right? She shook her little head, her face full of confusion. I slowly got out of bed, but my stomach started to hurt. She changed her clothes with some difficulty, put on her shoes, and walked out of the dormitory slowly. On the other hand, Lu Xing basically kept the store's affairs in order, so Xiao Yang didn't need to worry about it. After strolling around for a while, Xiao Yang returned to school. Just then, outside the school gate, the girl was moving step by step, her face extremely pale. She buried her head and held a bag of steamed buns in her hand. Lin Q. Although the girl lowered her head and her long hair almost covered her face, Xiao Yang still recognized her easily. A pink little skirt and a pair of cute pink slippers. Xiao Yang hurried over. Lin Q. Lin Q was slightly stunned and turned around. Xiao Yang, why are you here? I should be the one asking you this. Xiao Yang frowned, his tone a little heavy. Lin Q lowered her head even lower. I'm sorry, Xiao Yang, I didn't confess my feelings today. She thought Xiao Yang was angry with her because of this. What confession? Why don't you just lie down in the dormitory? What are you doing out here? In fact, since Lin Qiyu didn't come today, Xiao Yang had already guessed something. After 3 months of confession, Xiao Yang basically understood Lin Qiyu's living habits, including the more hidden menstrual period. Since Lin Qiyu didn't come today, he vaguely guessed something. Then I saw Lin Qiyu stuffing the hot steamed buns into his arms. His face was pale, and he was obviously enduring the pain. This is basically certain. Why should I lie in the dormitory? Lin Qiyu blushed slightly, waved the steamed bun in her hand, and said, I'm a little hungry, so come buy something to eat. Xiao Yang frowned and asked, where are your roommates? Don't they know that you have a stomachique? I just have dysmenorrhation. I'm not disabled. What's wrong with coming out to buy something? Lin Qiyu murmured tenderly, but her heart was extremely sweet. Xiao Yang cares about me. He actually knew that I had a stomachique. You're so stupid. Seeing you like this, I'm really worried that you'll die of pain here. Xiao Yang rubbed Lin Qiyu's little head, and suddenly felt a little angry. Where are your roommates? The last time you came to confess your love, they were all very fierce. Now they are missing. They all went to class. Lin Qiyu said with her head down, somewhat aggrieved. She had never seen Xiao Yang so fierce. Xiao Yang glanced at the time before he reacted. If there is a class at this moment, it is indeed not over yet. Then call me, Xiao Yang said with some complaint. Oh, Lin Qiyu replied with pursed lips. My stomach still hurts, but my face is full of smiles at this moment. She raised her head and found that Xiao Yang's expression seemed a little distressed. Suddenly, her heart felt as sweet as honey, and even her stomach didn't hurt as much. It's obviously just a period pain. All girls experience this kind of thing. That I feel like he cares about me so much. Lin Qiyu smiled. Although she felt that Xiao Yang seemed too nervous, her heart felt as sweet as if she had eaten honey. If you do this again, call me, Xiao Yang sighed. Do you understand? Okay. Lin Qiyu waved his hand. Then I'll go back first, she said softly with a slightly red face. Let me take you there, Xiao Yang said. Lin Qiyu moved slowly, but the next second, she started to groan and felt a piercing pain in her stomach. On the side, Xiao Yang let out a long sigh. Suddenly he bent down. Okay, don't leave. Lin Qiyu was slightly stunned. At this moment, Xiao Yang's hand had already passed through Lin Qiyu's knee. The next second, Lin Qiyu's feet left the ground. When she turned around, she found that she had been picked up by Xiao Yang. And it was the kind of princess hug in idol dramas. Hold on tight, Xiao Yang said slowly. Lin Qiyu subconsciously put her arms around Xiao Yang's neck. Xiao Yang, what are you doing? Lin Qiyu's face suddenly turned red. When she didn't know where to put her head, she looked at Xiao Yang with shyness on her face. But she didn't dare to show her head in the crowded campus. She could only bury her head in Xiao Yang's shoulder. Half closed her eyes, and secretly glanced around to see if anyone noticed them. I'll carry you back in your condition. It will be dark by the time you get back to the dormitory, Xiao Yang just said softly. Lin Qiyu nodded, her heart already beating fast. Don't worry, let your hair down. No one will know that I'm hugging the famous Colonel Lin, Xiao Yang said with a smile. Lin Qiyu pouted and hummed. At this moment, she wished that everyone could see it and show off their love or something. That would be awesome. Okay, let's go back. Lin Qiyu just replied, wouldn't lie. In this way, the two of them walked through the campus, strolling under the shadows of the trees. When he arrived at the girls' dormitory, Xiao Yang frowned. A dormitory manager refused to let him in no matter what. Xiao Yang looked at Lin Qiyu, whose face was pale, and felt somewhat worried. Go back to my dorm. Xiao Yang made a prompt decision. Lin Qiyu was confused. Just like that, the two of them turned around again. Lin Qiyu's dormitory is not far from Xiao Yang's dormitory building. It only takes a few steps to get there. As soon as I entered the dormitory, the dormitory manager stopped me. Xiao Yang, why did you bring a girl in? The dormitory manager naturally knew Xiao Yang and immediately stopped him. Godmother, Lin Qiyu poked her head out and forced a smile. Oh, isn't this our daughter? What happened to her? When the dormitory manager saw Lin Qiyu's pale face, she immediately felt distressed. Qiyu has a stomachique. I'll take her upstairs to rest for a while, Xiao Yang said. Turning back, I saw Lin Qiyu's face slightly red, and she just nodded. Is that so? Then go upstairs and have some rest? The dormitory manager said hurriedly. Thank you, Godmother. Lin Qiu's voice was as soft as a mosquito. You've already called me Godmother, why are you thanking me so much? The dormitory manager waved her hand and instructed Xiao Yang. Take good care of my godrator. I know, Xiao Yang was speechless. Lin Qiu is really popular with people of all ages. Even the dormitory manager was charmed by her. You are really good, Xiao Yang whispered to Lin Qiu. Isn't this just to make it easier for me to confess to you? Lin Qiu said shyly. Okay, hold on tight, I'm going up. Yeah. Lin Qiu buried her head in Xiao Yang's chest and said softly. Xiao Yang smiled and walked up the stairs. The dormitory is on the 4th floor. But Xiao Yang's figure is extremely like Xiao Yang, who is holding Lin Qiu, does not shake his hands and does not show any sign of tiredness. Lin Qiu just secretly looked up at the big boy who was holding her, with a little youthfulness and sweetness on her face. As for the stomachique, she had long forgotten about it. At this time, downstairs in the boys' dormitory, several boys who were just about to leave the dormitory were stunned. Did I see it right just now? Lin Qiu was carried back to the dormitory by Xiao Yang? Brass. I fucking fuck. Is it still a princess HUD? I didn't go to the cafeteria today, nor did I get up early to listen to people's confessions. I specially picked this time to go to eat. How can I get dog food accurately? Num. On the other side, Xiao Yang quickly carried Lin Qiu back to the dormitory. There are not many people in the dormitory, everyone is out hanging out at this time. Xiao Yang thought for a moment and said, why don't you lie down on my bed and rest for a while? Lin Qiu looked at the made bed and nodded repeatedly. This is Xiao Yang's bed. Xiao Yang put her down and tittied up casually. Xiao Yang didn't have any bad habits, he made his bed very cleanly. And even the bedding was new. Lin Qiu gently took off her shoes. And before Xiao Yang could react, she had already buried her head in Xiao Yang's quilt. It feels so comfortable. Lin Qiu laughed, buried his little head in the quilt, and then took a sniff. No taste. It seems to have another taste. No matter how special it is still Xiao Yang's taste. This is where Xiao Yang sleeps every day. Lin Qiu's face turned red. Does this count as indirect sleeping together? Several images that are not suitable for children suddenly appeared in her little head. The whole person couldn't help but giggle, like a lively kitten, which made Xiao Yang stunned. Chapter 59, The Fifth Confession. In fact, Lin Qiu slept very soundly last night and did not get up early this morning. He was resting the whole time. But when he curled up in Xiao Yang's quilt, he slept very peacefully. Xiao Yang casually flipped through the book for a while, intending to prepare for the midterm exam, but he had no interest at all. Glancing at Lin Qiu, who was curled up in the quilt, Xiao Yang smiled inferently, but then he thought of what had just happened and felt a little surprised. He took the quality-enhancing pill immediately after getting it yesterday. The change was not that big, but after carrying Lin Qiu back just now, he felt that his physical condition had indeed improved a lot. I just took a walk today, and if it were any other day, I would be a little tired. But today, when he carried Lin Qiu upstairs, he not only did not feel tired or out of breath, but he looked full of energy. This quality enhancement pill is indeed a good thing. After thinking about it, Xiao Yang decided to call Li Ji. Li Ji. What? What's the matter? Buy some red water and ginger. Oh, and a hot water bottle. Why did you buy that thing? Li Ji was a little confused. Just buy it when I tell you to. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Hurry up. No, I just want a little bit, and Lao Liu and the others won't let me go. Li Ji said hesitantly. Let others take the blame first. And buy the things for me first if you play Machorn today. Any losses will be charged to me. That's it, hurry up. After hanging up the phone, seeing that Lin Qiu was sleeping soundly, Xiao Yang didn't want to disturb her, so he browsed some things online, thinking about how to make a quick profit. It is almost certain that the barbecue restaurant will make money, but it is not known when it will be able to earn 5 million and complete the task. Time passed slowly, and Lin Qiu, who was sleeping in bed, woke up in a daze. When I opened my eyes, I saw Xiao Yang. She gave a sweet smile. Woke up. Yeah, Lin Qiu nodded, but was reluctant to leave Xiao Yang's bed. She clutched the quilt tightly and huddled inside. Does it still hurt? Xiao Yang asked with concern. Yeah, it still hurts a little, but it's better. Just then, the dormitory door opened. Li Ji came back, but the other two were not there. They must have gone out to play, and they probably wouldn't be back before lights out. I'm back. Li Ji nodded and put the things on Xiao Yang's desk. A ginger water you asked for, Hong, and this a hot water bottle. I don't know why a grown man like you needs a hot water bottle. It's not that cold today. Li Ji muttered a few words. Okay, I bought the things for you. If there's nothing else, I'll go out first. I'm waiting over there. Go ahead. Xiaoyang took apart the hot water bag and charged it. Li Ji went out again. Xiaoyang glanced at Lin Qiu, thought for a moment, and said, "I'll go downstairs, you lock the door. I'll open it when I come back." "Yeah. Don't just hum. Get out of bed first." Lin Qiu nodded. After all, this is a boys' dormitory, and Xiaoyang is a little worried about Lin Qiu being alone in the dormitory. Who knows if there are any beasts? This hot water bottle. When it's hot, just turn off the power and put it on your stomach. It can relieve the pain. Yeah, Lin Qiu nodded. Then raised her head and blinked. Is it useful? Of course it's useful. You fool, the water in that water dispenser was just changed today. If you are thirsty, just drink some hot water. Xiaoyang frowned, and for a moment he didn't know where to find a cup for Lin Qiu. He glanced at his water cup, hesitant. I'll use this. Lin Qiu saw the water cup next to Xiaoyang's computer at a glance, took it and laughed. Xiaoyang thought about it and thought it shouldn't be a big deal. So he didn't say anything. What he didn't know was that, in fact, Lin Qiu was a misophobia ist in the girls' dormitory. She would probably go crazy if someone used her cup. Not to mention sleeping in Xiaoyang's bed. If the people in the dormitory knew about these things, I'm afraid their eyes would fall out. Man, you don't have misophobia when it comes to Xiaoyang, right? And I'll go downstairs. Remember to lock the door. You can open it when I come back, okay? Xiaoyang said. Yeah, Lin Qiu nodded obediently. Xiaoyang then went out and closed the door while giving instructions again outside. He was relieved when he heard the sound of Lin Qiu locking the door. At this time, he was holding ginger in red, as well as a thermos cup. "Aunt, it's you, Xiaoyang." The dormitory manager was very enthusiastic, and then asked with a little concern, "Is Shuoi okay?" "It's okay. It's just my period and my stomach hurts," Xiaoyang said with a smile. "Oh, so that's how it is. By the way, Auntie, can I cook something for you? Red ginger tea. She has a stomachache, and drinking this should make her feel better." Xiaoyang raised the thing in his hand. "Is that so? Then go quickly and don't let Shuoi wait anxiously," the dormitory manager said hurriedly. "Okay, thank you, Auntie." Xiaoyang entered the dormitory of the dormitory manager. There was a small kitchen for the dormitory manager's own use, which was more than enough for making red ginger tea. After a short while, when it was done, Xiaoyang took a bite and felt it was almost done. So he poured it all into the thermos, borrowed a bowl from the dormitory manager, and went back upstairs. "Open the door, it's me, Xiaoyang." Hearing Xiaoyang's voice, Lin Qiu opened the door from inside. At this moment, she was holding a heat pack on her stomach, and there was a glass of water in the cup on the table, which had obviously been used. Xiaoyang looked at the peach-colored lip marks left on it and his face turned slightly red. "Are you feeling better?" Xiaoyang asked with concern. Then put everything on the table. "Much better. What is this?" Lin Qiu looked at the things on the table. Xiaoyang poured a bowl of ginger tea from the thermos cup and said, "This is the red ginger tea I just made at the dormitory auntie's. Drink some and you should feel much better." Lin Qiu nodded obediently. And as soon as her hand touched the bowl, she quickly withdrew it and blew on her fingers loudly. "You're so silly, it's so hot, and you just reach out your hand." Xiaoyang was amused by Lin Qiu's appearance. He blew on it and then scooped it up with a spoon. "Blow it yourself, be careful of the burn." Lin Qiu lifted her hair, looked at Xiaoyang expressively, blew it again, and her cherry lips opened slightly. "Drink ginger tea. A warm current flowed through my body along with the tea." Lin Qiu smiled, her heart full of sweetness, her eyebrows curved. She was extremely cute. After drinking a bowl of red ginger tea, Lin Qiu looked at Xiaoyang, tears already flashing in her eyes. "What's wrong?" "Nothing, thank you, Xiaoyang." Lin Qiu bit her lip slightly, as if thinking about something. Before Xiaoyang could react, Lin Qiu kissed him the next second. "This is my gift today. Xiaoyang, I like you, please be my boyfriend." At this time, Lin Qiu's face was flushed and her eyes were fixed. There was a sparkle in his eyes. This is Lin Qiu's fifth confession. Chapter 60, Martial Arts Secrets. "No, I really have someone I like." Xiaoyang glanced at the mission. This mission was slightly different. The reward for rejecting the mission was actually a martial arts secret book. "You really think I'm too weak, don't you?" Xiaoyang rubbed his forehead. But there was still a scar from the last fight with Chen Bi. It is estimated that it will take some time to completely eliminate the scar. At this moment, Lin Qiu, who was rejected, looked a little gloomy. "Even though I've been rejected all the time, even though I've gotten used to it, even though I've said I'd confessed 99 times, when I was rejected again, I still looked a little gloomy." But when she saw Xiaoyang rubbing the scar on his forehead, she immediately remembered the scene that day. The reason was that Xiaoyang said he had someone he liked. He can't remember his lines and he did it on purpose. Lin Qiu pouted and let out a long sigh. However, There was one thing she confirmed again and again, that was, Xiao Yang was making an excuse again. That's right. Otherwise why would he touch his scar? This was obviously a reminder to himself. To remind himself of what happened that day. Ah, Lin Qiyu. You are so smart, you finally figured out Xiao Yang's thoughts. At this time, Xiao Yang didn't know that this rejection was successfully resolved by Lin Qiyu's terrible imagination. He took out his phone, opened the food delivery app, and ordered some food. He glanced at Lin Qiyu again and said, "Look, what do you like to eat? You can eat more cabbage and carrots. Foods rich in fiber can relieve some of the pain of dysmineration." Xiao Yang looked at the somewhat weak Lin Qiyu and continued, "And there are these, you can order some chicken, duck and fish to replenish your qi and blood." Lin Qiyu was a little hesitant and replied, "You order. I can't eat much." Xiao Yang didn't say anything. He noticed that when Lin Qiyu looked at certain dishes, his expression would linger for a few moments. So I silently took note of it and ordered all the things that Lin Qiyu had just looked at for a few more seconds. When the food arrived, Lin Qiyu was stunned. "So many?" Xiao Yang took out the folding table from the dormitory and placed 7 or 8 dishes on it, making it a full table of food. Lin Qiyu looked at the table of dishes in astonishment, and suddenly realized that these dishes were actually some of his favorite dishes. Although she couldn't eat so much, she still licked her lips greedily. "Xiao Yang, how do you know I like these dishes?" Xiao Yang opened the lunchbox and put it in front of Lin Qiyu, and she started asking, "And I'm so lucky actually. I didn't know what you like to eat, but I just ordered them all." Xiao Yang said with a smile, "But I like all these dishes." Lin Qiyu was extremely excited. She didn't expect Xiao Yang to care about her so much that he even knew exactly what she liked to eat. "Then eat it." After eating and drinking, Lin Qiyu rubbed his belly. She didn't expect that she could eat so much during her period. She burped immediately, then looked at Xiao Yang with a blushing face, and quickly lowered her head and rubbed her belly. What should I do? Why am I burping? Xiao Yang will definitely laugh at me." Lin Qiyu immediately regretted it very much. If she had known earlier, she would not have eaten so much. Now she made a fool of herself in front of Xiao Yang. Sure enough, Xiao Yang was immediately happy. He didn't expect that Lin Qiyu's burping could be so cute. Especially after the fight, he would rub his belly as if nothing had happened and pretend to look around at the scenery. "This look is simply amazing. Look out the window." Xiao Yang suddenly pointed outside the window and said loudly. Lin Qiyu turned her head away, and then said in confusion, "Nothing." Turning around, suddenly, a green-faced, fang-toothed monster appeared before my eyes. Lin Qiyu was so frightened that her face turned pale, and she let out a scream at a volume that was totally unbecoming of a lady. Xiao Yang took off the ghost mask and laughed. "People say that if you get scared, you won't hiccup. I says that's so? Hiccup. Hut. Hiccup." I seem to hiccup. What Xiao Yang didn't expect was that Lin Qiyu not only didn't stop hiccuping, but it got worse. After staring at Lin Qiyu for several seconds, Xiao Yang finally couldn't help it, and his laughter immediately spread throughout the dormitory building. Lin Qiyu rolled her eyes at Xiao Yang, her face flushed, and she dived into his bed. Aha! On the other hand, the incident of Lin Qiyu being hugged tightly by Xiao Yang in the boys' dormitory spread throughout the entire campus form as time went by. Brute. Beast, that's the boys' dormitory. Damn it. I've been squatting outside the dormitory for hours, and Xiao Yang and the goddess haven't come out yet. Damn it, can Xiao Yang be that persistent? As soon as the words came out of this floor, it was obvious that they were surrounded and nothing was left in the next second. "What are you talking about, you bastard? How could my goddess do such a dirty thing with Xiao Yang? It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. I don't believe it. Please stop talking. I'm crying woohoo. It's a pity that there is no video footage." But regardless of whether it's true or not, Xiao Yang has already become notorious in the forum at this moment and has apparently become the public enemy of all men in the entire Keita. At this time, in a KTV private room, a man was browsing the forum with his mobile phone. There was a hint of anger on his face, which made the younger brother beside him dare not even breathe. "Who is this? I haven't found any. It seems that he is not a student of our medical school. And check the car isn't the license plate number obvious enough? If we find the car, we'll find the person too," the man said with a hint of hostility. At this moment, on his mobile phone was the photo of King Zhuitong getting out of Xiao Yang's car. The man clenched his fists, his anger not diminishing at all. "Shame. The girl I admired actually got into another man's car. An ordinary Volkswagen." He continued to read, his whole body trembling. "Someone actually dared to touch my Fang Jingyuan's woman." Xiao Yang naturally didn't know about these things. After taking Lin Qiyu to eat, Xiao Yang sent Lin Qiyu back to the dormitory. After coming back, Xiao Yang looked at the new rewards and fell into deep thought. Wing Chun. Wow, it really is a martial arts secret book. He flipped through it casually, but the next second, the book in his hand instantly turned into spots of light and disappeared. In an instant, all the details in the book appeared in my mind. There is also this kind of cultivation method. If everyone could practice like this, there wouldn't be so many episodes in the TV series. Xiaoyang took up his stance. To be honest, he had never heard of this Wing Chun. It seemed that the system brought it from a world called Earth. Why is this a bit soft? After one punch, Xiaoyang's spirit doubled. It seems to really work. At this moment, he couldn't wait to find someone to fight. Chapter 61. Something happened in the store. The next morning, Ling Qiu. The sound came from downstairs in the dormitory. In just a moment, circles of people gathered around. Here it comes. Oh my god, I'm so excited. This can't be Xiaoyang's 100th confession. Aren't they both together? Are the forums I read all fake? At this time, Xiaoyang was alone downstairs in the dormitory. The wind in the early morning is slightly cool. At this moment, people were coming and going, and were about to go to class. When they saw Xiaoyang downstairs in the dormitory building, the people around him could hardly walk. In the eyes of everyone, Xiaoyang and Lin Qiyu are already together. They are a perfect match and no one would object. But what is regrettable is the 100th confession. If you can see it with your own eyes, skipping a class or being late for work are no big deal. Many people took out their mobile phones and pointed them at Xiaoyang. This wonderful moment should not be missed. The girls also looked down from the dormitory corridor. And some girls who were still sleeping were even woken up by their roommates. Look, Xiaoyang is confessing again. What? How is that possible? Shouldn't Lin Qiu be the one to confess? The corridor was filled with black heads, which even stunned Xiaoyang himself. He was holding two thermoses in his hands and looking around in confusion. Not long after, Lin Qiyu was also awakened by his roommate. Xiaoyang is here. Lin Qiyu was still sleeping soundly. But the two words, Xiaoyang, seemed to be a switch, and she jumped up from the bed. Where is it? Where is it? Where is Xiaoyang? Seeing this, Li Shikan and the others joked. Of course he's downstairs. What's the matter? Do you want him to go upstairs? The tenderness we showed in the boys' dormitory yesterday wasn't enough. Everyone's words made Lin Qiyu blush. Tell me, is Xiaoyang strong in that aspect? Xiaoyu, how can you be so brave now? Is the bed in the dormitory enough for you to toss around? Lin Qiu. I fucking told you, I just went to Xiaoyang's dormitory to rest for a while. What are you thinking about? So dirty. Lin Qiu pouted a few times. Her face flushed. When she thought that Xiaoyang was still downstairs, she wanted to rush down barefoot. Fortunately, my roommate was quick to stop it. Don't worry, put on your clothes first, I'll go ask what Xiaoyang is here for. After saying that, Li Shikan stuck her head out. Xiaoyang knew Li Shikan. And when he saw her, he said, don't let Qiu move. Come down and help me get something for her. Li Shikan glared at Lin Qiu. Good fellow, I have become your messenger, right? Xiaoyang asked you not to move. He said he had something for you. I'll go down and get it. Xiaoyang's words worked. Lin Qiu immediately sat quietly on the chair with a happy smile on her face. Virtue. After cursing, Li Shikan went downstairs. Seeing Li Shikan, Xiaoyang handed her the item in his hand. This is red ginger tea. Let her drink it to relieve the pain first. This is her lunch. It contains chicken soup, which is good for replenishing blood. Remember to eat more carrots. It can help relieve hunger. Xiaoyang gave a lot of instructions. His voice was not loud, but everyone nearby could hear it clearly. This is coming to deliver something early in the morning? What the hell? Not a confession. In just a moment, everyone lost interest. What's going on? You're not confessing your love, but you're here to deliver chicken soups so early in the morning? No way. This is why Xiaoyang was able to pursue Lin Qiu. You should learn from him and stop making me angry. A girl said, pulling the ear of the boy next to her. Only at this moment did everyone understand what Xiaoyang came for. Okay. It's early in the morning, and you're full of dog food again. Right? I can also eat dog food while passing by during class. Right? Wait, class is starting. Only then did everyone react. Damn it, I have to go to class. What I am a teacher, please show some mercy. For a moment, a crowd of people rushed to the teaching building like thunder and lightning, which was a grand event in the University of Finance and Economics. In a classroom, the teacher looked at the empty classroom and fell into deep thought. Did I remember it wrong today, or did the students remember it wrong? Why is there no one here at this moment? The old professor walked out of the classroom puzzled and returned to his office. But the more I thought about it, the more something seemed wrong. When I turned back, I saw that in just a moment, the classroom was suddenly filled with people. At this time, Lin Qiu, who got the things, was naturally excited. Several girlfriends were watching from the side and their mouths were drooling. Can I say, I'm jealous? Are you sure you failed in your confession several times? You call this a failed confession? Lin Qiu chuckled. Yes, the confession failed. But, what does that matter? Blowing the hot red ginger tea, a sweet smile appeared on the little face. Xiaoyang said that we should eat this later. The thermos can keep things warm for a long time. It's still morning, so we should save it for lunch. Li Shikai let out a long sigh. And the air was filled with a sour smell. Lin Qiu looked at the sumptuous lunch prepared by Xiaoyang and smiled. There is so much, I can't seem to finish it. Do you want some? No need, we're full. Li Shikai and others waved their hands. Yeah, I'm full. Who wouldn't be full with such a rich supply of dog food so early in the morning? On this side, Xiaoyang also left the girls' dormitory. There was a hint of tiredness on his face. In fact, he had prepared these things in the store early in the morning. Been busy for more than an hour. Fortunately, Lin Qiu should be satisfied. Xiaoyang did not go back to the dormitory directly, but found a place to perform a set of Wing Chun. After a while, he prepared to go back and dressed. After taking the quality-enhancing pill, in addition to his physical fitness being greatly improved, Xiaoyang felt much more energetic, and he was more vigorous when practicing Wing Chun. Speaking of which, I have to thank Lin Qiu. Xiaoyang's thoughts were very simple. He could not be where he is today without Lin Qiu's system-related tasks, so it was only natural for him to be nice to her. As for the rest, he didn't think too much about it. If only it could stay like this forever. But some things will eventually come to an end. Xiaoyang himself didn't know how to refuse Lin Qiu's confession next time. Unconsciously, he had begun to get used to such days. Forget it, let's not think about this problem for now. I was sweating all over and it was almost noon. The barbecue restaurant officially opened today. So I was still very concerned about it. I was about to go back to the store to check. But at this moment my cell phone rang. Is it Mr. Xiaoyang? Xiaoyang could tell that it was Zhang Shengzu's voice. But the phone number was Lu Xing's. What's up? Something happened. Something happened in the store. A voice sounded a little anxious. Xiaoyang didn't even think about it and immediately ran to the store. Chapter 60 to smashing the store. Along the way, some ideas flashed through Xiaoyang's mind. But he still couldn't figure out who would go to the store to cause trouble. It is noontime now and the store is not open yet. But since it is the first day of business, a lot of preparations have been made, including activities and so on. Xiaoyang ran all the way here. Although the distance of 2 streets was not far, if it were any other time, he would have been exhausted. However, perhaps because of the quality-enhancing pill, Xiaoyang only sweated a little, and he felt somewhat relaxed. When I got outside the store was already in a mess. Xiaoyang walked in with a sullen face. When I looked again, I saw Lu Xing lying on the side with a bloody head. On the other side, several girls were already scared silly, but Zhang Shengzu supported Lu Xing and used gauze she found from somewhere to help Lu Xing stop the bleeding. What happened? Xiaoyang looked around the store. The troublemakers had already left, but the scene was in a mess, with all the tables and chairs overturned on the ground. I don't know. A group of people came and started smashing things as soon as they entered. The 2 girls' voices were as small as mosquitoes, and they were obviously frightened. Xiaoyang frowned slightly and glanced at Lu Xing. Are you okay? It's okay. Lu Xing's voice was a little weak, but his eyes were already filled with anger. Have you called the hospital? Xiaoyang looked at Zhang Shengzu beside him. Yes. The ambulance should be here soon. Xiaoyang nodded. His eyes already filled with anger. He has a good temper. But that doesn't mean he won't get angry. The new store was smashed before it even opened. So he would naturally get to the bottom of this matter. But it seems that this store cannot continue to operate until the matter is resolved. I'll ask someone to sort it out. Have you reported it to the police station? Xiaoyang glanced at the girls and opened the WeChat group on his phone. This group was created earlier, and almost all the store employees are in it. Xiaoyang gave 3,000 yuan to each of them. You've worked hard, take a rest for a few days. I'll let you know when the store reopens. The 2 girls were frightened at first, and their bodies were shaking a little. After all, they were just college students who had not yet entered society, and this kind of thing would inevitably leave some trauma on them. Xiaoyang doesn't care about the small amount of money. But as for the people, nothing can go wrong. Sure enough, the 2 girls looked much better when they saw the red envelope sent via WeChat. No need to find someone to clean up, we can do it ourselves. The few people were naturally very happy after receiving the money, and they quickly stood up and took the initiative to clean up the mess in the store. Zhang Shengzu, on the other hand, had an unhappy expression on her face and didn't seem to care about the money. Could it be that someone in the same industry came to smash the store? Zhang Shengzu frowned slightly. It shouldn't be. Lu Xing shook his head and said, they seem to have said a few words to me, asking me to stay away from so-and-so. But I just came to Zhongdu. And you're the only one I know, Lu Xing said with a smile. I have to say that this buddy has a really good psychological quality. Even though Lu Xing was covered in wounds after this beating, he could still smile. I will get to the bottom of this matter. You go to the hospital to recuperate first. Lu Xing nodded and said nothing. Here, the police arrived quickly and started asking questions when they saw the mess. Lu Xing answered truthfully and gave a general description of the people who came to smash the store. However, the store had just been renovated and even the surveillance cameras were not ready. So after questioning and taking notes, the patrol officers had to go back and investigate. At this moment, the ambulance from the hospital also arrived. However, because of the food street, the ambulance could not come in. So 2 nurses carried Lu Xing out on a stretcher. Xiao Yang also followed, planning to go to the hospital with Lu Xing. Originally they thought it was just a simple shop smashing. But when they got outside, Xiao Yang and the others found that the Phaeton parked outside was also smashed to pieces. The car was also smashed. Damn, these bastards, Lu Xing clenched his fists, his face full of anger. Xiao Yang's eyes were also filled with anger at this moment. He was already very angry because his good brother was beat, but this car also had great significance to him. If the connection between him and Zhang Yan had to be connected by an object, it would be this Phaeton. Without Zhang Yan, there would be no Phaeton, and there would be no subsequent events between the two of them. Every time he drove, Xiao Yang would think of Zhang Yan, who liked to sit on the passenger seats. He liked to sit barefoot on the passenger seat and stick her head out of the sunroof. She likes to pull her skirt to let me touch her thighs. Although Xiao Yang has never touched them, in fact, these are the memories that Zhang Yan has kept. And now, the car has been smashed beyond recognition. Xiao Yang rubbed his head, but there was an angry look on his face that Lu Xing, who grew up with him, had never seen before. After sending Lu Xing to the ambulance, Xiao Yang turned his head and looked at the patrolman standing beside him. This car is mine in addition to smashing the shop. They must have also smashed the car. The policeman nodded and took a photo of the damaged car as evidence. By the way, this car is worth $2.5 million. It's a new car. It can be said that our property loss this time is very serious. You must help us find out who did it, Xiao Yang added. After the words were spoken, the 2 patrolmen were also filled with astonishment. My goodness, a car worth $2.5 million was smashed by this group of people. This is really crazy. Don't worry, we will inform you as soon as we find out what happened. Also, you have to be careful, these people are very ruthless. They are probably not students. It is very likely that they are seeking revenge. If you find any dangerous people, call the police immediately. Xiao Yang nodded. He had originally planned to go to the hospital with Lu Xing, but after hearing what the policeman said, he became a little alert. The girls in the store always feel a little unsafe. So let's deal with things here first. Back in the store, Xiao Yang called a girl over. Go to the hospital and take care of Lu Xing. If you need money for medical expenses or something, call me and I'll call you when the time comes. Good. Find someone to take care of Lu Xing. While Xiao Yang is thinking carefully about what happened today, they dared to smash the store in broad daylight, injured people, and smashed the car. Who is it? Xiao Yang thought for a while, but still had no clue. No matter who it is, he will have to pay the price. Xiao Yang slammed the table angrily. The next moment, the table couldn't bear it anymore and fell apart. Zhang Shengzu looked at Xiao Yang blankly. Xiao Yang himself did not expect that this slap. Is this Wing Chun? Chapter 63 Brother Dao. At this time, what Xiao Yang didn't know was that in a KTV, all the people who had just gone to smash the store were in this private room. The leader was a middle-aged man in his 30s with some scars on his face, looking a bit ferocious. There were several bottles of wine open in front of everyone, and everyone had a smile on their face. Damn it, Brother Dao. Those girls were so wet, we shouldn't have just smashed them and left. Yeah, especially the one in black. Her figure is simply amazing. A few of the younger brothers licked their lips, and all they could think of were the girls who had just been in Xiao Yang's store. Don't think about those messy things. Smashing a store is a small matter. If something happens to those women, that would be a big deal. We would all have to go to jail then if you can't bear it. Spend some money and find some girls. Brother Dao patted his younger brother's head and warned. Yes, yes. At this time, the door of the box opened and a young man walked in, followed by several people who all looked to be college students. Mr. Fang. Brother Dao quickly stood up and greeted him with a smile. They were all rough guys who had worked hard in society, but they had great respect for the young man named Fang. After all, you have to eat. Fang Jingyuan sat down and threw a bag on the table. All the red $100 bills were scattered out, and everyone's faces were full of excitement. 200,000. Not a cent less. Thank you, Mr. Fang. Brother Dao smiled, and the scar on his face became even more hideous. How's that, kid? Fang Jingyuan asked. You'll have to lie down for at least 2 or 3 months. Brother Dao chuckled. Didn't I ask you to cripple him? Fang Jingyuan frowned. No, Mr. Fang, the supervision is strict now. If it really gets destroyed, it will make too much noise and it will be difficult to clean up the mess. Brother Dao said with some difficulty. Fuck, it's not that hard to end it. Bang Jingyuan was a little dissatisfied, but after thinking about it, he realized that the fight had happened anyway and he was relieved of his anger, so he stopped dwelling on it. Then, the younger brother next to him took the phone. On the phone, it was Lu Xing lying on the ground with blood all over his face. Next came the smash to smithereens Fetten. After looking at the photos, Bang Jingyuan sneered, with this kind of scum, I really don't know what King Xuantong likes about him. On the other side, after Xiaoyang tittied up the store, he asked the girls to go back while he went around asking around. He is in his 30s, has a scar on his face and is bald. Such morphological features are actually not difficult to find. I seem to have some impression of this person. Not long after, Xiaoyang got some information from the owner of a milk tea shop. If I'm not mistaken, it should be Brother Dao's group. Brother Dao? Xiaoyang was a little confused. What does this person have to do with me? This guy called Brother Dao used to hang out in this area, often getting into fights and collecting protection money. Later, the control became stricter, so he didn't show up anymore. But I'm not very clear about this matter according to what you said. It should be this group of people. Come to think of it, when I first started my business, they came to me to collect their debts. After listening to the milk tea shop owner's words, Xiaoyang thought, could it be that they saw that our new store opened? So they wanted to collect the debt? I don't think so. They haven't done this for a long time. The boss shook his head. And if he was just here to collect debts, why would he smash things for no reason? If he was after money, he definitely wouldn't have just attacked. Xiaoyang nodded. That's what I mean. That means he has other intentions. But no matter what the reason was, he no longer minded. Just know that it's this group of people. He took out his cell phone and was about to provide some information to the police. But at this moment, his boss pressed his hand down. You want to report to the police station? Yes, Xiaoyang nodded. It's useless, the boss shook his head and pointed to the ceiling. Xiaoyang's expression suddenly became serious. He doesn't have much social experience. But he doesn't know nothing. Xiaoyang naturally understood the metaphor of the milk tea shop owner. However, he still remained optimistic about this, but attitude is attitude. Xiaoyang decided to suppress the matter for the time being and see what result the other side would give. After all these things were dealt with, Xiaoyang was already a little tired. When I returned to the dormitory, it was almost 11 o'clock. When he took out his cell phone, he found that Lin Qiyu had sent him quite a few messages, all of which said that red ginger tea was delicious and radish soup was very appetizing. After replying a few words, Xiaoyang found the girl who was asked to go to the hospital to take care of Lu Xing. News came from the other side that Lu Xing only had some superficial injuries. He would be discharged after being hospitalized for a period of time and observed. As for the expenses, it would probably not be much. Had a good sleep. In the early morning, Xiaoyang got up very early as usual. Xiaoyang had left school very early and asked a bun shop owner to make red ginger tea for him. It was still sent to Lin Qiyu. After a morning of classes, Xiaoyang planned to go to the police station in person to check the news. The police station in the university town was not far away, and Xiaoyang just took a taxi there. After finding the patrolman from yesterday, Xiaoyang directly reported all the information he knew to him. The patrolman took notes, drew a portrait, and asked Xiaoyang to go back and wait for news. Nothing. 2 more days passed, and Lin Qiyu's relatives also left. At this moment, Xiaoyang was practicing Wing Chun in a nearby park. In the past few days, practicing Wing Chun every time he gets up has become Xiaoyang's morning exercise habit. He was wearing casual clothes, and his back was soaked with sweat. The weather was a little chilly, and Xiaoyang put on his clothes and prepared to go back to school to take a hot bath. Just then, Xiaoyang bumped into someone head-on. Zhang Shengzhu. Xiaoyang recognized her at the first sight. Mr. Xiao, Zhang Shengzhu was wearing sportswear and looked like he was here for a run as well. Don't call me Mr. Xiao, the store can't even be opened. Xiaoyang sighed, just call me Xiaoyang. Zhang Shengzhu nodded and asked. How is the investigation going on with the store? Is there any news? Xiaoyang shook his head. In fact, he was planning to go to the police station again to ask. Logically speaking, the portrait has been drawn, and this person is not an unknown person. Some shop owners in the university town know this person, so it is impossible that they cannot find him. But after these few days, there is still no news. Let's go over and ask together later. After all, I was there at the time and maybe I can help. Zhang Shengzhu suggested. Xiaoyang nodded in agreement, and the two of them made an appointment, planning to go over and ask together after lunch. Chapter 60 for Do It Your Own Way. Not long after, at noon, Xiaoyang and Zhang Shengzhu appeared in the local police station. Xiao Yang had been here once before and was recognized at a glance. However, when he told the other party what happened, the other party looked at Xiao Yang with strange eyes. I see, but we don't have any news for now, so don't worry too much. Go back and wait for the news. After he finished speaking, Xiao Yang felt a little uncomfortable. It shouldn't be that hard to find someone. We have basically confirmed that the one who smashed my store and injured my friend is this guy called Brother Dao. But what Xiao Yang didn't expect was that the receptionist waved his hand and said, "What you said has no evidence. There is no surveillance in your store. Apart from your store clerk, no one else saw it. These are just witnesses. We want to arrest someone, but we also need to have sufficient personal and physical evidence. Even if you provide more verbal evidence, we can't arrest anyone. Do you understand? That's it, just wait for the news." Xiao Yang and Zhang Shengzu were stunned. There is also this saying, and there should be no problem in detaining the person for interrogation. Xiao Yang frowned slightly and continued. This is not in accordance with procedure. And you don't have to teach us how to do things. We will continue to investigate your matter. We have other cases here. If you want to wait here, you can go back and wait. There are disposable cups and water over there. I will not receive you for now. A staff member's face darkened, and he left after leaving a few words. Xiao Yang's face was gloomy and he understood many things in an instant. After thinking for a while, he called out to Zhang Shengzu, who was about to say something else. Let's go. The two men walked out of the police station. At this moment, a young man in his 20s came towards him, without even looking at Xiao Yang, and walked into the police station. Zhang Shengzu paused where he was, as if he was thinking about something. What's wrong? Xiao Yang asked. That person, Zhang Shengzu pointed at the young man who had just walked in. He was among the people who came to smash the store that day. Zhang Shengzu recalled and said with some certainty. It was him. It must be him. I remember this person. Xiao Yang suddenly perked up and pulled Zhang Shengzu aside. Are you sure? Sure. This guy looked at me lustfully for a long time that day. I remember him. Xiao Yang let out a long sigh and wanted to turn around and follow him into the police station. But after thinking about it, he gave up. It seems that some things still need to be handled by myself. Xiao Yang's expression changed slightly. To be honest, what happened in the past 2 days has somewhat shaken his worldview that has been distorted over the years. Now, I am really hit by this society. If we leave the matter to the police station, will there ever be no news about this matter? Xiao Yang was wavering. He suddenly doubted his outlook on life over the years. Perhaps, as Lu Xing said, he had too little social experience. Don't alert the enemy yet, let's keep an eye on them from outside and see if we can follow the clues to find that Dao brother. After thinking about it, Xiao Yang shattered his outlook on life over the past 20 years. He pulled Zhang Shengzu aside and sat in the milk tea shop outside the police station. From inside, he could see everything that happened in the police station through the glass windows of the milk tea shop. Zhang Shengzu frowned slightly and said hesitantly, "Wouldn't this be a bad idea?" Xiao Yang shook his head and clenched his fists, saying, "Maybe, but I don't want this matter to remain unknown forever. Lu Xing can't be beaten in vain. But even if we find the person, what can we do?" Zhang Shengzu said rationally. "Report to the police station." Xiao Yang shook his head and said nothing. Not long after, the young man came out of the police station, and Xiao Yang and Zhang Shengzu were stunned for a moment. The young man did come out, but the person who sent him out was the policeman who came to investigate the case that day, and the staff who had just received them. They are in the same group. Zhang Shengzu was extremely surprised. Xiao Yang narrowed his eyes, stood up and walked out. Zhang Shengzu followed and saw the young man riding a motorcycle and riding away. Xiao Yang and Zhang Shengzu hailed a taxi and asked it to follow the young man. In the car, Zhang Shengzu looked at the uncertain Xiao Yang and asked worriedly, "What are you going to do?" "Do it your own way." Xiao Yang clenched his fists. "I was too naive in the past and thought that justice was just delayed. Now I realize that justice delayed is nothing. If justice doesn't come, then I myself am justice." However, Zhang Shengzu looked at Xiao Yang and was suddenly confused. After a while, the young man stopped over there. This is a small alley surrounded by bungalows. Xiao Yang looked around even though it was broad daylight. There were still few people coming and going here. The traffic just passed by at a very fast speed. After thinking for a while, Xiao Yang asked the driver to stop the car and said to Zhang Shengzu, "You go back first. What about you? I'll handle it myself." Xiao Yang smiled, but his smile was not as bright as before. "Forget it, let's find more people. This place looks very dangerous." Zhang Shengzu frowned. Xiao Yang didn't reply and closed the car door. Following the traces of the motorcycle, Xiao Yang walked into the alley. The damp alley was filled with a sour smell. Xiao Yang frowned slightly. Isn't this place just like the dark side of the glamorous city? He felt a little uncomfortable, but he kept walking. Soon, a young man came out of the alley. Xiaoyang looked over and saw a group of people walking out of the house. The leader was exactly the one described by Lu Xing and the others. A bald man with a scar on his face, in his 30s. It's them. Xiaoyang was a little nervous and subconsciously wanted to take out his cell phone to report to the police station. But he quickly put the phone down, looked around, steadied his breathing, and calmed himself down. At this time, a group of people were walking towards Xiaoyang. They were talking and laughing, but they didn't know Xiaoyang. They just glanced at him and started talking to themselves. Damn, the girls here are so boring, let's go to another place next time. Xiaoyang looked over and saw red lights hanging in front of several houses inside. He immediately understood what this meant. It's the female students from the store a few days ago. Wow, they are so white and tender, you can squeeze water out of them just by looking at them. Someone said with a smile. I told you not to touch those students. It's easy to get into trouble, Scarface said with a gloomy face. Yes, everyone nodded repeatedly. By the way, what did the police station say? Scarface looked at his younger brother who had just returned from riding a bicycle. It's okay, but they said that the guy in that store has been going to the police station these days and even drew a side portrait of Brother Dao. They want Brother Dao to stay out of the spotlight for a while. Scarface nodded in agreement. By the way, I also heard from them that the car that young Master Fang asked us to smash seemed to be called Fetten. A car worth more than 2 million. The younger brother suddenly spoke up. A car worth more than 2 million. Everyone gasped. They said that this store owner might have some power. So let's not make any mistakes. Damn, Master Fang is so generous. We helped him smash his car worth more than 2 million yuan. And he only gave us 200,000, someone said angrily. Hey, don't say that anymore, young Master Fang is our god of wealth. Scar stopped his younger brother and then said, speaking of which, we made a lot of money smashing luxury cars is so damn cool. No wonder the protagonists in online novels love to smash cars. Aha, indeed no wonder my hands hurt when I smashed the car. The feeling of smashing this luxury car is different. A few people were walking and chatting, and the sound of laughter could be heard from time to time. They didn't notice that behind them, Xiaoyang had a gloomy face and clenched fists. Hello. Xiaoyang suddenly made a sound. The next second, someone turned around. With a bang, a red brick fell and shattered instantly, and blood immediately flowed from the man's head. Chapter 65. Alley Fight. The red brick in Xiaoyang's hand fell to the ground with a bang. He touched the blood splattered on his hands and his breathing became a little rapid. I don't know who told me that blood can stimulate a person's adrenaline and make him excited. At this moment, Xiaoyang actually felt a little excited inside. The only time I had a fight since I was a child was when I saved a girl in a dark alley one day in high school. Of course, that might not even be considered a fight, to be more precise. It was being beat. In fact, although Xiaoyang had thought about beating up these bastards, it was not in this situation. When he saw this group of people, he was still a little scared. He didn't think he could fight against a group of people alone. The original plan was to catch the young man and ask about Dao Ji's whereabouts. When Xiaoyang saw such a large group of people, his first thought was to retreat first. However, when this group of people started talking about smashing the car, Xiaoyang couldn't help it. The meaning of this car to him is self-evident. To be more precise, only when he is in the car will he inadvertently think of the long-legged girl with her bare feet on the passenger seat. The bricks didn't break when I was moving them, unlike what was shown in TV dramas. Or your head would break as soon as you moved the bricks. Xiaoyang was a little dazed. Bricks fell to the ground. The screams echoed throughout the alley. Brother Dao and his gang all looked at Xiaoyang, while the younger brother who was hit had a dazed look on his face, covering his head and screaming. Brother Dao was also confused. How come a young man suddenly came out and picked up a brick and smashed it on his brother's head? Xiaoyang's breathing was a little rapid, but he quickly calmed down. To everyone's astonishment, Xiaoyang picked up the brick again. Damn it, who the hell are you? The younger brother covered his head, which was bleeding, and said with a hint of tears in his voice. Brother Dao walked forward with a frown on his face. Before he could say anything, Xiaoyang's bricks fell again. Fuck. Brother Dao was confused. It seemed like this kid was just a greenhorn. He stepped back quickly, and his attempt to move the bricks came to nothing. You kid, are you looking for death? Brother Dao said angrily with a frown. Xiaoyang was still carrying bricks. His emotions gradually calmed down. He looked at the people in front of him and said in a deep voice, Mr. Fang, who is it? Why did you smash my store? Why did you smash my car? His voice was not loud, but it was full of momentum. And the expression on his face became calm, not as nervous and anxious as the first time. So you are the owner of the car, Brother Dao snorted. Damn it, it looks like I hit the wrong person. Car owner? Xiaoyang was stunned for a moment before he understood. It turned out that the person they wanted to hit was the owner of the Fetten. That is, himself. and Lu Xing was just driving his own car to block the knife for him. Boy, you are quite courageous, let me tell you. I was going to kill you. But you were lucky and someone else blocked your blow. Now it's delivered to my door. Brother Dao shook his head and smiled. Brother Dao, didn't young Master Fang dislike us for not destroying that guy? Now that the real culprit is here. Brother Dao immediately understood that this place was different from a barbecue restaurant. It was in a busy area of the university town and there were many people there. If things got out of hand, it would be difficult to resolve. But here, it's different. Brothers, kill this guy and go get money from Master Fang tonight. Brother Dao's face changed and he waved his hand. Several people immediately understood and surrounded Xiaoyang. For some reason, Xiaoyang was not as panicked as before. Instead, he felt a little excited and held the bricks in his hands even tighter. Just then, a figure flashed by. Among the young men who were gathered around, one of them kicked over sideways. I don't know if it's because of his recent martial arts training, but Xiaoyang actually felt it the first time. He was quick with his hands, and as soon as he turned around, a brick fell down. The next second, another scream was heard in the alley. Let's go together. Father Dao is not a man who cares about the moral code of the underworld. In just a short while, Xiaoyang had already hit 2 people. Everyone understood that this stupid boy was a ruthless person who could do such a thing. At that moment, everyone started punching and kicking at him. Xiaoyang didn't have much experience in fighting, so he swung a brick and hit the person in front of him. Just the next second, a hand came down and the brick fell to the ground with a clang. Another punch landed on Xiaoyang's face. He immediately took several steps back, feeling a burning pain on his face. Xiaoyang spat and then got into position. Wing Chun, all the moves he had practiced in the past few days suddenly appeared in his mind. Xiaoyang clenched his fists, and his knuckles began to creak. It should be useful even if I'm not a martial arts master. I can at least deal with a few thugs, Xiaoyang murmured in his heart. The next second, a young man rushed up. Xiaoyang let out a long sigh. But at this moment, he felt that the opponent's movement seemed extremely slow, and the trajectory of his punches appeared in his mind. Xiaoyang took a step forward slowly. The next second, he turned sideways, changed his fist into a palm, and struck down. A crisp sound came from the other person's elbow. The young man's face was suddenly filled with pain and a scream was heard. The next second, Xiaoyang raised his foot and dropped it. With a bang, the opponent was kicked 2 meters away. Xiaoyang's face was suddenly filled with astonishment. He originally thought that the Wing Chun given by the system was just for strengthening the body. Just like the old men and women who practiced in the square early in the morning. All for show. Even when he was practicing himself, he felt that his punching power was just weak. Who would have thought that this move would be so powerful? Father Dao didn't expect that the younger brother who rushed forward would be knocked away. He immediately called out and everyone rushed up together. This time, Xiaoyang was not at all flustered, but became even more excited. He had long wanted to know whether the martial arts secrets given by the system were useful. Seeing everyone rushing up, he immediately punched them. Wing Chun emphasizes both offense and defense, with fast punches and tight defense. Taking into account both left and right, coming, staying, going and sending. Although Brother Dao and his men were numerous and powerful, Xiaoyang had no intention of retreating. He bent his fist slightly and smashed his arm directly towards the opponent's face like a straight line. Bang! Brother Dao, who rushed forward, was the first to be hit, and his posture alone was enough to make most people stop in their tracks. But Xiaoyang was quick and swift, and his punch landed directly on Brother Dao's face. In an instant, Brother Dao felt a sour and spicy pain in his nose, and even breathing became difficult for a while. He took a few steps back and wiped his hands. The next second, his entire palm was covered in blood, along with his snot. Xiaoyang did not look at Brother Dao. The power of this punch was really unexpected. He continued to punch forward. Bang bang bang. Fist poured down like afterimages. After just a few breaths, Brother Dao and his men all had different scars on their faces. Chapter 66. So I should be bullied? So, is this what it feels like to be a martial arts master? Xiaoyang let out a long sigh, with beads of sweat appearing on his forehead. He is not a person who likes to stir up trouble, but at this moment, he can still feel the pleasure of dominating others. The truth is, everyone has some dark sides deep down, like bullying others. In movies, for example, some comedies, when we see the protagonist being bullied, some body language or lines can make us laugh out loud. Watching others make fools of themselves can easily bring people some pleasure. Xiaoyang was also extremely happy in his heart at this moment. But he did not feel any guilt, because these people lying on the ground should be like this. He clapped his hands, his face looking a little heavy. It must be said that he kind of liked this feeling. Looking down at the few people, Xiaoyang continued to ask, "Who is Mr. Fang, and why did he let you smash my store and hurt my people?" He took a step forward, and the younger brother lying on the ground took a step back in fear. No one answered. Everyone stared at Xiao Yang in addition to fear. Their eyes were also filled with astonishment. Martial arts master. This word that only appears in novels really surprised them. One man beats several people, yet he himself remained unharmed. Not to mention that fighting is a common occurrence for them. Seeing no one answered, Xiao Yang frowned slightly and suddenly punched down, hitting one of his younger brothers in the face. Suddenly, the teeth flew out of his mouth, and blood oozed out from the corners of his mouth. The alley was suddenly filled with screams. Brother Dao. Someone looked at Brother Dao. His face was covered in blood. His nose was not snot, and his blood was not blood. He looked extremely embarrassed. It was obvious that his nose had been broken by Xiao Yang's punch. Xiao Yang thought about it and walked straight towards Brother Dao, who was slumped on the ground. At this moment, Dao Ji's eyes were a little panicked. But his bloody face, coupled with the existing scars, looked extremely ferocious. He did not scream like the other younger brothers, but stared at Xiao Yang closely, as if he wanted to eat Xiao Yang. When it comes to the aura of a boss, it seems that Brother Dao has enough. If it were in the past, Xiao Yang might have been really scared. But now it's different. He slowly squatted down and said, "Tell me, who is Mr. Fang and why did he come to smash my store?" At this moment, suddenly, Brother Dao shook his hand and jumped up suddenly. A flash of light passed by. Xiao Yang had not completely relaxed and had remained vigilant. The moment the knife flashed, Xiao Yang raised his hand and twisted Dao Ji's wrist. At the clang, the dagger in Brother Dao's hand fell to the ground. Xiao Yang did not show any mercy and increased the strength in his hands. In just a moment, sweat began to pour down Brother Dao's forehead and a sharp pain came from his wrist. A click. The next second, screams echoed in the alley. Broken, broken. Xiao Yang let go of his hand, and Brother Dao gasped for breath. His other hand trembling lay holding his wrist. The hand that was holding the dagger just now was now drooping. Without any strength to lift a finger, Xiao Yang picked up the dagger from the ground. And a hint of ruthlessness flashed in his eyes. He slowly placed his dagger on Brother Dao's neck. "Speak." Xiao Yang's voice was very soft, and his facial expression was extremely calm. But in Brother Dao's eyes, Xiao Yang at this moment is no different from a devil. The tip of the knife was against Brother Dao's neck. At this moment, he was no longer as calm as before. Xiao Yang's voice fell into his ears like the whisper of a devil. Suddenly, a strange smell came, and a stream of yellow liquid flowed out from between the legs of this brother who was feared by the university city. Xiao Yang frowned. He didn't expect Brother Dao to be so scared. To be honest, Xiao Yang couldn't push the knife forward. He just wanted to scare the other person, but he didn't expect to scare him to death. Just then, outside the alley, a figure came in. "Xiao Yang?" Xiao Yang looked up and saw Zhang Shangzu walked in at some point. "What are you doing here?" Xiao Yang asked with a frown. Zhang Shangzu did not respond directly, but looked at the mess on the ground in shock. Of course she knew these people. They were the ones who came to the store to destroy things. She never expected that Xiao Yang would come here alone and knock everyone down. How did they do it? Xiao Yang ignored Zhang Shangzu and instead continued to focus his gaze on Brother Dao's face. By this time, the dagger had already pierced into the skin. I said, I'll tell you. Don't kill me." A trickle of blood suddenly flowed out from Brother Dao's neck. Feeling the pain in his neck, Brother Dao shouted in panic. Xiao Yang put the dagger back and looked directly at Brother Dao. "I said it was Fang Jingyuan. He is the second young master of the Fang group and a student of the medical school. It was him who asked us to smash your store and destroy you." "Why?" Xiao Yang continued. "It's a woman. He said you seem to have stolen his woman." "Medical school." Xiao Yang pondered for a moment, wiped the fingerprints off the dagger, and then threw it on the ground. "Call an ambulance yourself." Xiao Yang let out a long sigh and walked out of the alley while Zhang Shangzu was still in a daze. Behind, Zhang Shangzu hurriedly trotted up. "What are you doing here? Didn't I tell you to leave?" Xiao Yang asked. "I'm worried something might happen to you." Xiao Yang glanced at the alley and said nothing. Zhang Shangzu calmed down immediately, but said worriedly, "Xiao Yang, I know this Fang Jingyuan. You know him." Xiao Yang was a little surprised. "It can't be because of you. If the store was smashed because Zhang Shangzu came to work in the store, then Luxing would be so wronged." No. Zhang Shangzu waved her hands quickly. Xiao Yang glanced at Zhang Shangzu with a hint of suspicion, then walked to the side of the road and hailed a taxi. "Where are we going now?" Zhang Shangzu asked curiously. "Go to medical school," Xiao Yang said lightly as he got into the car. Zhang Shangzu also sat in and said, "This Fang Jingyuan is the second young master of the Fang group. His family is very powerful in Jiangdu." "Really? So I should be bullied by them?" Unlike usual, Xiao Yang was not so calm and looked gloomy. These words immediately choked Zhang Shangzu. She quickly explained, "That's not what I meant. What I meant was that if you want to vent your anger, You can't just go looking for someone so rashly. I'm not venting my anger. Xiao Yang sighed. He wanted to say something, but shook his head and said nothing more. Maybe I was a little impulsive. Xiao Yang himself didn't know why. Is it because of Zhang Yan? That exquisite face reappeared in his mind. Chapter 67. She said you are too ugly. In front of Zhengdu Medical College. At this time, there were crowds of people at the school gate. A luxury car slowly stopped and many people stopped to watch. With excitement on their faces, a well-dressed young man got out of the car. He smiled and looked towards the distance. It was this smile that made the whole audience scream. So handsome. That's Mr. Fang, so handsome. I really like the way he drives the Ferrari with one hand. So cool. A handsome and wealthy man like Mr. Fang is so attractive. All the girls present had silly looks on their faces. Mr. Fang naturally refers to Fang Jingyuan. Everyone knows that this second young master from the Fang group is definitely the most distinguished and richest student on campus. As for appearance, of course I'm not as crazy about it as the girls. But I'm rich. The boys looked extremely jealous and had disdain on their faces. Fang Jingyuan, in fact, does not have a very good reputation in the medical school, but even so, there are many girls who dream of marrying into a wealthy family. Fang Jingyuan looked at the girls screaming around him, his face full of pride. It can be said that these women would obediently climb into his car as long as he made a gesture. In his eyes, he naturally looked down on these girls. At this moment, his attention was all on the girl with a frown on her face at the school gate. It is also a recognized school of medical school King Xuantong. King Xuantong had a look of disgust on her face at this time. She wanted to turn around and leave, but several boys surrounded her and prevented her from leaving. All around, full of freshness, clusters of brightly colored flowers surrounded her. Fang Jingyuan walked over slowly, holding a bunch of roses in his hand. Before Fang Jingyuan could speak, King Xuantong couldn't help but speak. Fang Jingyuan, what do you want? Fang Jingyuan was not unfamiliar with King Xuantong's attitude. In fact, he had been rejected by King Xuantong several times. He was not in a hurry at this time and waved towards the distance. The next second, a truck drove slowly over and everyone retreated to the left and right. Several people worked together to open the hatch of the truck. And the next second, a brand new Maserati appeared in front of everyone. Xuantong, I have liked you for a long time. To be honest, I think you're the only one worthy of me in this school. After that, Fang Jingyuan glanced around with a smile, then gestured to put the car down, looked at King Xuantong and said slowly, this car was just picked up from the Force store. For you, Xuantong, will you be my girlfriend? I will always treat you well. After saying that, Fang Jingyuan handed the bundle to King Xuantong. The next moment, people around were extremely excited. The boys looked extremely jealous, but they also knew that someone as beautiful as King Xuantong could only be won by a rich second generation like Fang Jingyuan. The girls were the same, with faces full of envy, envious of King Xuantong for being able to receive Fang Jingyuan's love. They wished they could become King Xuantong and take over the bouquet of flowers and, of course, the bunch of Maserati keys. However, although others think so, King Xuantong does not think so. She frowned, her face gold. Seeing that King Xuantong didn't say anything, Fang Jingyuan raised his voice again. Please stay together with me, Xuantong. The next second, the crowd around also started to make a noise. Together. No one noticed King Xuantong's expression. Even Fang Jingyuan's face was full of confidence. He didn't believe that anyone could refuse this dazzling Maserati sports car key. At this time, not far away, a taxi stopped. Xiao Yang looked at the bustling school gate and didn't care. He pulled someone over and asked, do you know where Fang Jingyuan is? Are you blind? Isn't that Fang Jingyuan? Xiao Yang looked over and saw this scene. King Xuantong? Yes, young Master Fang is confessing his love to King Xuantong. TSK. I'm so damn envious, it is a pity that they are a perfect match made in heaven. Fuck your mother, Xiao Yang cursed, then pushed through the crowd and walked straight over. Xiao Yang, Zheng Shengzu wanted to hold Xiao Yang, but Xiao Yang had already squeezed and she had no choice but to catch up quickly. At this moment Fang Jingyuan had no idea that someone was approaching from behind him. He looked at King Xuantong with deep affection, waiting for King Xuantong to express her opinion. A noise from all around did not have any effect on King Xuantong, it was even a bit noisy to her. She didn't even look at Fang Jingyuan, let alone take the handful. Don't bother me anymore, I've already told you that I really don't like you. Okay, Fang Xiao, there are so many girls here, just pick one. If it's okay, I'll leave first. King Xuantong refused directly, not to mention that she already had someone she liked. Even if she didn't, she wouldn't choose to be with Fang Jingyuan. Fang Jingyuan was well known in the medical school, not only because he was the young master of the Fang group, a leading enterprise in Jiangdu, but also because he was a famous young master. Just the names and surnames that can be mentioned alone show that there are more than 3 or 4 girls who had abortions because of him. His private life was a mess, but thanks to his family's wealth, all these things were settled. Ying Xuantong had no good feelings towards Fang Jingyuan. Instead, she hated him more. But despite this, there are still countless girls who want to drive Fang Jingyuan's luxury car. And they all dream of marrying into a wealthy family and becoming a rich wife. They don't know that there is only an abyss behind it. Hearing King Xuantong's words, Fang Jingyuan was obviously stunned. He never thought that King Xuantong would refuse so readily. This time he used a whole year's change to buy a Maserati to express his love. He even fantasized about what was going on in the car with the beautiful woman in the luxury car. But unexpectedly, I was rejected. Why? Fang Jingyuan's face suddenly turned gloomy, with a hint of fierceness in his eyes. Because you're so ugly. Ying Xuantong's words came out of her mouth. Fang Jingyuan was stunned. There was an uproar at the scene. Because you are so ugly. Oh shit. This reason is really heartbreaking. Shrimp and pork heart. It is undeniable that Fang Jingyuan is not handsome, but he is not ugly either. Everyone looked at King Xuantong in surprise. They couldn't understand how she dared to say such a thing. Fang Jingyuan's face was full of disbelief. What did you say? There was a hint of anger in his words, and he stared at King Xuantong intently. She said you were too ugly. Are you unable to hear clearly? Or are you deaf? A voice came from behind. Fang Jingyuan's face was immediately filled with anger. Ooh. But before he turned around, he suddenly felt a pain behind him. The next second, his body flew out like a kite. The white suit suddenly left a black footprint. Chapter 68, Beating the second young master of the Fang family. In an instant, the whole place fell into dead silence. Everyone looked at this scene in a daze. Fang Jingyuan, young master of Fang Group, one of the most famous second-generation rich people in Jiangdu City, ticked away. Everyone was looking at this scene in shock, without even having time to change their mouth shapes, as if they were still shouting, "Be together." Behind Xiaoyang, Zhang Shangzu was also confused. On the way, she kept persuading Xiaoyang not to be too impulsive. Although Xiaoyang did not listen, she did not expect that Xiaoyang would just come up and kick her away. And in front of so many people. She was the person who knew the whole story best among all the people present. But she was so shocked to see this scene, not to mention others. When King Xuantong saw Xiaoyang for the first time, she felt a little excited, but other than that, she wanted to explain to Xiaoyang that this scene had nothing to do with her. But when he saw Xiaoyang kicking the man away, he was still extremely surprised. Having known Xiaoyang for so many years, King Xuantong can be said to know Xiaoyang very well. He is a very humble person and doesn't take many things to heart. Even when he was in high school, when others misunderstood him as a student who liked to stir up trouble, Xiaoyang was too lazy to explain. It can be said that today's Xiaoyang has completely broken through King Xuantong's perception of him. She looked at Xiaoyang blankly. Was he angry because Fang Jingyuan confessed to him? All of a sudden, many thoughts appeared in King Xuantong's mind, and she didn't even have time to think about it and distinguish between true and false. I was already obsessed with Xiaoyang's handsome figure. She couldn't help but think of the dark and windy night 3 or 4 years ago when Xiaoyang suddenly appeared and saved her. Although there is still a big difference between this time and that time, at this moment, they can be equated in King Xuantong's mind. What is love? This is love. King Xuantong suddenly stepped forward and grabbed Xiaoyang's hand. Xiaoyang, you're here. Listen to my explanation. There's nothing between him and me. He's the only one who's been pestering me. Xiaoyang looked confused. What happened? I just came here to beat up Fang Jingyuan. I don't care about your money, etc. Xiaoyang understood by now. It seems that Fang Jingyuan's targeting of me was because of King Xuantong. At this time, Fang Jingyuan, who had fallen flat on his face, was already grimacing. The kick was quite heavy. Most importantly, Fang Jingyuan was holding a bouquet of roses, and when he fell, the thorns of the roses all pierced his body. Blood spots suddenly appeared on his arm. He turned around angrily, only to see King Xuantong holding Xiaoyang's hand with a sweet smile on her face. 1 If being rejected when confessing his love was already a great shame for Fang Jingyuan, and King Xuantong holding another man's hand after being rejected was no longer a shame for Fang Jingyuan. Killing people is heartbreaking. The eyes of the people around him were all on him. At that moment, he just felt uncomfortable all over, and there seemed to be a little more color on his head. On this side, the younger brothers were quite perceptive and quickly came up to help Fang Jingyuan up. As for the others, they surrounded Xiaoyang with unfriendly looks on their faces. King Xuantong only then remembered what Xiaoyang had done just now. He beat up the most famous rich second generation in Jiangdu City, young master of Fang Group. The sweet smile suddenly turned into a pale face. Xiaoyang, Xiao Yang let go of King Xuantong's hand and walked forward before Fang Jingyuan could speak. You are the one who had my store smashed up, right? Smashing the store? Fang Jingyuan was stunned for a moment, but soon reacted and said in surprise, it's you. You are the one who owns the Volkswagen. No, you are the wild man of King Xuantong? Fang Jingyuan's face turned pale in an instant. Damn it, what is Lao Dao doing? He can even hit the wrong person. Fang Jingyuan glared at Xiao Yang and the other man. King Xuantong. To say that he likes King Xuantong is true. After all, who doesn't like a beautiful and pure girl? But this flower, in Fang Jingyuan's place, has become dirty. He was no longer the same as before, and his face became distorted. Damn, you bastards. It was me who ordered people to smash your store, your car, and beat up your people. Fang Jingyuan did not deny it, but admitted it directly. He waved his hand and took a half step back. Kill him for me. I'll be responsible if anything happens. Fang Jingyuan